he got really far ahead early on. And Cloud9 just played incredibly, and I love the choice from Envy to go for the Rapier. Of course, it's a fan favorite item, but in the situation, I think it was the right read on the game. Like, he had to do something extremely drastic, and to have the confidence to do something like that in a game like this I think is a really good sign.
Yeah, and that move is what kept the game going quite a bit longer. And so, yeah, you're right. I mean, looking at the early part of the game, the fact that this game went over 60 minutes is pretty darn impressive. On the side of Cloud9. But unfortunately, the bottom line result is that LGD do take the 2-0, so they'll get 3 points. We do have some updates from the other matches. Of course, we do have Complexity getting the 2-0 against MVP Phoenix, and Fnatic and Secret splitting 1-1, so they only get 1 point each.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's...
that second game, though.
Yeah.
Fnatic Secret. We honestly didn't get to see it because this game went so long, so we didn't... I don't even know if we have many highlights for that game. That game was an absolute
but I mean, we do have many more matches to get through, but of course you can catch the VODs if you haven't seen it, so that's something to look forward to. I've heard it was pretty crazy. We caught some glimpses of it. You guys were watching on that side.
I'm pretty sure Winter would like to talk briefly about the game because he knows why the game was so one-sided, because he knows Fnatic very well.
Mainly, I feel what happened and went wrong for Secret is whenever you play against Mushi's team in general, they tend to have this tendency whenever they beat a much stronger opponent, they trash you in all the 3 lanes. All their players are really good in the lanes, and what happened was, I think they did a Bloodseeker off lane. I didn't really see the laning phase, but he has as much net worth as the safe laner. After like 10, 15 minutes, there were 3 on par on the net worth. So that is a classic Mushi type of team game. They win all their lanes and they trash you.
Yeah, that is pretty much exactly what happened. Secret wasn't able to come back from that game too, so they do tie at 1-1. So that's our first set of matches. But we are just going to move straight in because we have 5 sets of matches going onward on 3 different streams. Now, before we go forward, of course, LGD just won. They're looking good. A lot of people are thinking LGD possibly top 3, maybe even a contender to be the champion of TI5. Now, in their next match on Stream C, they will be playing against, I believe, Complexity. But before we go on, of course, there's one of the players on LGD that a lot of people are looking forward to, Xiaowei, leading newbie to that championship title last year at TI4, now coming back, possibly looking for another title for himself and then LGD as a whole. Let's look at Xiaowei's story before we jump into the second set of matches.
我第一次见小巴大概是在5、6年前吧，当时我们是在湖南，然后一起打 DOTA 认识的，然后做什么事情都特别的认真，然后会投入100%的精力。行业的压力、竞争，然后包括舆论各方面都很大。
我觉得不能盲目的来就是做职业选手吧，因为其实职业选手也有他辛苦不为人知的一面，然后他一定要付出自己的努力，还有很大的天赋才能成功的。我感觉是一支很规范的强队吧，然后每天一起训练，一起生活，一起研究新的录像，其实都是为了比赛想拿到好成绩。我这次回老干爹的原因，主要还是因为以前我们都是队友吧，我跟沙拉跟瑶，然后觉得 TI 有些可惜，再回来一起努力，再打一次 TI。
他在完成了一系列的成就，甚至说可以说拿到了这个领域的巅峰以后，然后还选择出来跟我并肩作战，然后那一刻是我很感动的。
我觉得心里特别温暖吧，觉得有了家庭的支持，就希望自己能努力，不会让他们失望，就特别大的动力。
然后无话不说，然后干什么都一起，就像一个团队，像一家人一样。我觉得一个队伍的队长最重要的是以身作则。我觉得蓝队最强的强项是团队的执行力。因为小巴是我们的指挥，他说1，我们就不会说2。然后就他的付出，我们也是看得到的。
小巴是气场蛮强的一个男人，然后作为队长来说的话，队友们都很信服他，然后很靠谱，所以之后在生活中打 DOTA 也是蛮令人信服的一个好朋友、好兄弟嘛。
TI5的话，只想就自己能带这个队伍做到自己该做的了。
So Xiaowei returning to LGD, trying to lead old and new teammates to a championship title here at TI5. I mean, already 2-0 against C9. They're feeling good, but of course, a long way to go. So if you want to catch more LGD games, definitely head over to Stream C. They will be playing against Complexity. But for this stream, we just talked briefly about Fnatic versus Secret, how Secret just got absolutely beaten in Game 2. They tied 1-1, but now they're coming here onto the mainstream to play against IG. Let's have some quick talks before we go into draft of Game 1. Now, the players are pretty much all set up, but let's talk a little bit about IG, right? Because we've talked enough about Secret in generic terms. Like, all right, they've been doing well in the past couple lands they've been at. They've been winning, what, 4 major lands in the recent months. Coming into TI, they are the favorites. But what about IG? What are we thinking about IG? Where do they stand, Winter?
At the moment, I feel sometimes it's like C9, sometimes they don't show up. Like, it's the same for IG. Their draft sometimes seem very uncertain and they have no direction in the draft, but sometimes they are able to pull everything together and get the whole team rolling. I feel the main and strongest point of the team is the 2 supports, Tron and Faith. I feel the strongest playstyle they have is when they roam a lot early and they get a lot of kills and they make sure all 3 lanes are taken care of. They can't just take care of, okay, we're just going to focus on taking care of Ferrari or Burning. I feel all the 3 cores, Burning, Ferrari and Luo, they all need attention. They can't be just left alone because all of them, they are able to actually roll the game by themselves. And so if you give them a little help and give them a little advantage, they're able to dictate the play.
All right. So we talk about certain teams, for instance, obviously EG comes to mind when we talk about who can take games off of Secret and potentially even take a match off of Secret. Ben, would you say IG is up there in those ranks?
I haven't seen them adapt too well to 6.8. I think their team actually doesn't have any new blood, which is very unusual for a top team. They have 5 legendary players, and I mean, none of them have like recently come up within the last year or so. Luo, Chuan, Faith, Ferrari, and Burning. Of course, everybody knows about Burning and Ferrari. And I would say that a couple of them have like adapted real well to this new patch, but as a whole, I just haven't seen it. At the beginning, you know, they looked really good picking up Solar Crest and Glimmer Cape before it was like supremely popular, but sometimes they fall back to like a Carry Naga, which, you know, as an experienced team, you want to fall on strats from prior eras, but I think they do that a little bit too much.
Okay. So Sin, you think maybe this is where Secret jumps back in and says, all right, we're gonna just go back to our kind of groove, maybe one could say, and try to take this 2-0, or do you think IG is still going to put up a fight, maybe throw another curveball like Fnatic did?
How was it? It went at. They didn't face each other at ESL, right? IG and Secret. That was never a matchup.
IG did. Yeah, they did.
They did?
Yeah, Secret crushed them.
That was okay. So I was going to say if they met, it was not very memorable for me.
Yeah.
as a close series. So I feel like not only that time but also the previous time. I can't remember the exact event, but I have to go back quite a while before I feel like IG put up a really good challenge to Secret.
Right.
That being said, we just saw Secret get destroyed by Fnatic because of an incredible laning stage, and that is something IG actually sometimes pull out some really early aggression, and they can make it work. We sometimes see Faith and Chuan go dual roaming. They have like some interesting pocket pick in the Kunkka, for example, with Shadow Demon, and they could go for something like that, try to immediately, from minute 0, just start destroying lanes. And I think that's a really good recipe that Fnatic obviously made work. If they do that, I think they have a good shot. If they play like Ben said, the standard strategies of IG, and they just try to slow play, I think they're going to lose 2-0. I think they need to do something a little different. And going into the tournament and being their first match, just starting out aggressively like that and trying to get the ball rolling and get some momentum can be a good strategy. So,
in general, is that? I mean, I feel like we talked about that at ESL 1 too. Of course, you two, we were there, and Winter, we talked about this a little bit before coming into this event. But just because Secret is so stable and they're so consistent, oftentimes the strategy that comes up to beat them is to be aggressive early. But I mean, is that really the only method that is kind of known right now?
I think it instills a lot more fear in your opponents when you dominate in the lane and you dominate the whole game. I think like a slow kind of back and forth win like LGD, it's not super scary for future opponents. Like if you're up against Fnatic, they're like, oh my gosh, did you see what they did to Secret? Right, but if you're against LGD, it's like, you saw what they did to Cloud9, but you're not going to be like super scared of it. So I think the level of fear and mentality that teams have going in facing Fnatic is, it's really something to be worried about.
All right. Are there any picks, Winter, that you would like to see that would allow this for IG, that kind of fit IG specifically?
I think like what Sin said earlier, the Kunkka, something like very early roaming potential, maybe the Mirana we might see coming. Like stuff like this, there's a lot of uncertainty. Like you got to land the arrow. Like there's going to be a points of game where you land some random arrow and you get some bonus kill or an unexpected kill.
Right.
Stuff like this might happen with a pick with Mirana, and all these things going to throw a team like Secret off because they are used to everything being so like stable and going according to plan for them, and a random arrow hits some important target and it changes the game from there.
All right, well, we're about to find out. Draft for Game 1 is ready, so we'll continue discussing it as the draft pans out. Secret coming off of a 1-1 tie with Fnatic, and of course IG now entering their very first match of TI5. Top 16 in the group stages, and we do have the whole best-of-2 system, point system. 3 points for a 2-0, 1 point each for a 1-1, and then 0 points if you lose 0-2 for each one of your matches. So this is pretty important. Seeding into the main stage event, you obviously want to start in that upper bracket. Well, let's jump in. First 2 bans, not too surprising. Tusk and Lash, I think, for any team. Generally, we're more surprised if either of those go through for kind of a niche ban or whatnot. But going forward, certain things we've discussed earlier, right? Undying has come up quite a few times. Ember, obviously not necessarily ban-worthy early on, but do we think that's possibly going to be a priority in picks in this matchup?
I think Naga
is
very
super high
priority. Yeah. It's a very safe tool for Secret. Like, even if they fall behind, they can either prolong the game or turn around the team fight, or set up. Like, it's good if you're behind, ahead, or on par, and I think there's not that many supports that are like that, and Secret utilizes that ultimate like way better than most teams that I've seen.
And it's also one of IG's, like, if we're expecting them to try to go for something like standard IG, it's just such a classic pick for burning. So I would definitely agree that Naga is going to be a hot point of contention here. There was another hero I was thinking about. No, I think I lost it.
Shadowfiend for
It's already banned. Yeah, I mean, just got banned, yeah.
They're going to ban Naga. So
there we go. I was about to ask one of you guys, do you think then it's worth banning for IG because they don't have that first pick? Is it that high in contention?
I think so.
So, yeah, they go through with it, and then
Queen of Pain.
Okay, this is a classic Secret opening, Queen of Pain. And, I mean, the Shadowfiend ban is mostly because IG is on Radiant and Ferrari plays a very good Shadowfiend. So, it's very good to remove that off the...
A little bit of an advantage when you're on Radiant side. For sure.
And looking at the remaining picks that are strong right now,
Gyro?
Gyro and Undying is still in the pool, but
that was the one I wanted to mention.
Yeah, but Secret is not afraid at all to fight Undying.
Exactly. I was going to bring up Undying because I think Team Secret, out of any of the top teams, they're probably the team that picks it the least. At least that's the impression I have. They don't really pick it.
They only pick it once and they lost.
They don't pick it and they don't mind giving it away. So. Compared to other teams we've seen, especially like the Cloud9 LGD matchup, I think it was banned both games. Or it was picked one game, banned the other game. This is going to be a different kind of matchup. And IG actually like playing Undying themselves, so they might want to grab it later. They're going to take the Bloodseeker, though.
Well, they had a game off last game, so they probably watched Fnatic. And
Fnatic
this is
these
the
heroes, right?
This worked.
Yeah,
they had Bloodseeker.
Yeah, these two were in the top 3, like in terms of net worth. Like what, 10 minutes into the game? 7 minutes?
Yeah, so just after the laning phase, they were crushing all the lanes.
So maybe trying something that they saw just worked.
And it's a good hero to catch out a mobile and blinking hero like Quap. But there's a way you can actually dodge the rupture damage, right? I saw a video on it. Like, you have to blink and move.
It's 1300 range and 0.25 seconds. If you move more than 1300 range, then you can actually, it doesn't do it.
So
or else you could like TP.
But Quap's blink is the only blink that can do it.
Is it difficult to do it every time you get rupture?
No, because Quap's blink is 1300 range max, and it doesn't have the 4/5 roll with blink.
You just need to click move a little bit first and then blink.
You usually blink first and then click move.
Or click, okay.
Yeah. So the 0.25 second interval like starts as soon as you blink.
All right.
She's the only hero that can actually do that. Now, Dazzle is an interesting matchup for this for a couple of reasons. First of all, they take it away. We've seen teams like to play Dazzle with Gyro, so that's not going to be an option for IG. And it's a nice hero in general to have against Bloodseeker in your lineup because the way he thrives is by other lanes taking damage, and then he gets really strong because someone on the opposite side of the map is at half health in a tri-lane or something. But if you have Dazzle in your lane for Secret, you could keep sustaining the lane, so if all your heroes are at full health constantly, then Bloodseeker is not really that scary in lane, but that's what happens most of the time is you can't really... If you're used to playing your lane, you're like a very comfortable player playing a one-on-one matchup, you're playing against Bloodseeker, and all of a sudden his damage is just like 30 higher than it was 30 seconds ago because the top lane just entered a fight, right? It can really throw you off and make Bloodseeker way stronger. So I like this as a possible solution here for Secret. It's quite smart.
Okay. Then we have the Bane ban. I mean, Bane generally obviously pretty good lockdown. Then Razor coming out as a ban from IG.
Bane goes because Fnatic used it as well.
That's true. Maybe Team Secret's seeing this right. Oh, we don't want to play against that lineup again. Let's just ban out everything else that Fnatic had earlier on. Wouldn't be the worst of ideas. I mean, playing at your comfort zone, obviously something
I
we've
think
discussed.
playing against a Bloodseeker, generally you want a hero that can just stand there and fight as opposed to tank the rupture damage. I think Razor's actually
And also
really good at
heroes
that.
that do a big amount of burst. So when he's blood raging himself, you want to just take him out immediately.
Yeah.
Like Laguna or Finger, stuff like that.
Okay.
I definitely like the Razor Band. Secret turns to it a lot. It's a great mech carrier. It can secure, the early game so they don't lose terribly hard to IG in the early game like they did to Fnatic.
Well, so Winter, you were bringing up what possibly, like, obviously heroes like Lina and Lion being good against Bloodseeker
Bloodseeker.
here. Now, with the Quap already picked and then the Dazzle picked, which one would you favor for Team Secret?
Do you mean either Lina
Yeah.
or Lion?
Or neither? I mean,
They might not even pick any of them because,
Right.
like, judging by the lineup they have right now, it's quite difficult to fit either one of them in. And
Mhm.
as a support, Lina or Lion at the moment with the lineup doesn't feel like it will work together. So it's very low chance that we'll go down that route, I feel.
What about Keep It Light for Secret? Do you think they're going to pick that? I mean,
that's
it's a hero that they pick often. It's a
Yeah.
hero that can sustain
Good.
through Bloodseeker.
It's somewhat good versus Bloodseeker because
Yeah.
you mana leak him and he can't really move around.
Blinding Light is also very good against
Yeah.
both these cores.
It's
Okay.
it's quite a
It's
good
decent.
pick against these two heroes, I'd say.
The question is how much is at the back of Secret's minds because of that. Like the last game against Fnatic, they're a very experienced squad. They are not scared of picking something again, even though they lost. They are generally good at identifying, okay, we lost because of draft, or we lost because of play, or a little bit of both, and this is here where it went wrong, but they might still have it at the back of their minds. We just got absolutely destroyed, and maybe part of the reason was that one of our supports was a Keeper of the Light who couldn't like actively
Yeah.
engage and fight back, but has to
Maybe.
play defensively. So in that sense, yes, he has abilities that are good against Seeker, but at the same time, he can easily be abused by the early pressure that a lineup like this can put. So Coddle Dazzle to me is just not a good call.
Yeah, it's just
Too
very weak.
defensive.
It's very defensive, and yes, it's a very strong in mid game, but early game it might be too much of a handicap that your team has in the laning phase.
Now, you guys discussed earlier, I mean, the importance of the supports roles for IG. What are we looking at for supports? What are we looking to round out here? on
Usually
top of the
Chuan
trend?
plays a pretty aggressive hero.
Yeah, like a roaming hero
Yeah.
or something that can do stuff alone, like Rubik with boots or Mirana going around shooting arrows. But yeah, this is the classic Zeus plus Berserker. I would say it's more or less likely it's maybe a offlane Zeus, and if they want to do some Bloodseeker jungle. But I don't think Zeus would be a support this game for them.
Yeah, I would say either offlane or mid. I mean, they run Spirit Breaker a lot for Luo, I feel like, though. And I would also like to enter the lineup and kind of run at the
Wow,
end.
okay.
All right.
Oh, wow.
As expected, Secret,
Team Secret
who never
with-
play Undying, will now
Team
play
Secret
Undying.
with Undying. I mean, that makes their team fight really strong. They have Tombstone plus Weave and Quap that does a lot of damage. And I mean, I guess it's good versus a Bloodseeker in a sense where he can't just run in to your team because you have a lot of damage. But then
Right.
again, Bloodseeker can kill the Tombstone
Yes.
very easily with Blood Rage. So it might be something that doesn't work against them.
So what we're getting at here is whenever we talk about Bloodseeker, we're like, this is good, but then again. It's like the follow-up to like every
Yeah,
single sentence with
Because
Bloodseeker.
that's how the hero works,
Yes.
right? He might be good against you, but
Yeah.
he might get killed by you as well.
I mean, you could own him, but then again, if your team is low, he one-shots you. So that's
Yeah.
also a problem.
I mean,
That's why the hero is unpredictable.
Yeah, he is
Yeah,
really
yeah.
frustrating to play against, actually.
all right. Well,
I think Invictus Gaming are looking at some sort of disable.
Yeah,
or
they need setup of some sort.
Oh yeah, there's still a mid roll. I forgot to mention there's also the mid roll for the Zeus if they want to put him that way and the Bloodseeker towards the jungle. So that's that's something that we shouldn't forget about as well. If they
Yeah,
want
'cause
to
I
play
mean-
greedy.
but as you guys are saying right now, I mean, they can simply just run at them. They can't really lock them down or secure
Mm.
anything necessarily.
I mean, Rupture's a great way of starting off a fight, but
Well,
versus
right.
all those defensive abilities, they need something more.
So they have
And so
now
the
their primary support might be their roaming support. Hard to say, but
classic IG would be Rubik Lina. They've played that so many
yeah,
times.
that's what they did when Lore was drafting. Now they changed drafters now. It's Faith drafting. Back at ESL it was Lore drafting, and he would always open something plus Rubik, something plus Rubik. Very strong. It literally makes the offlane life miserable because live into Rocket Barrage is
Yes.
death most of the time.
It's extremely good. Now, what Secret could try to do is, one of the scariest dual lanes actually to play against is like an aggressive dual lane of Dazzle Undying is very hard to play against. You
Yeah.
can heal the zombies, Undying is sustainable. Even if you get him low, you can still Grave and keep him going, and then he can build up more
Right.
decay stacks. But a lane like this that IG can run can actually kill him so fast that Secret
Oh.
might not even be interested in running that aggressive dual lane
The
here.
traps plus the zombies. And they're on the dire side, so a lot of synergy together. And Dazzle as well, minus armor. So they have a very strong like timing window type of draft where they're gonna more of like snowball. They're gonna take Roshan at some point. It's gonna be hard to contest it, and they're gonna use Aegis plus Tombstone to just take towers and objectives.
There's a couple. Really quickly. So TA Rupture does not remove refraction, right? Because the damage instances are like really minimal, but it's based on your
a
movement.
few seconds, I guess.
I think it doesn't remove it,
doesn't
at all,
remove
right?
at all?
If you run with refraction on, the damage the Rupture deals is like very, very little, but
I
very,
think
very
it's in
fast.
quarter-second intervals. So I think it.
So you can remove
I
refraction.
think you can remove
Okay.
it very fast.
Then, in addition to that, every time Zeus casts a spell, it's 2 damage instances because it's static field and the spell itself. And there's also Rocket Barrage. So I don't know how good a TA
refraction.
game it is. It's a good lane.
Refraction is not good. Okay, it's not good this game, but
It has a good lane.
I think in general the hero itself has a lot of synergy with what they have, being on
Yes.
Dire, Roshan, and it works really well with Tombstone. So I think based on that 2 facts alone, it's still a really good pick for their lineup.
She can also just burst Bloodseeker down really
Yeah,
easily.
with the melt strike.
Yeah,
So
Bloodseeker cannot play like super YOLO this game.
Okay.
That is true.
super YOLO. I like that.
Yo,
I mean, if YOLO wasn't
Bloodseeker-
YOLO enough, you could
It's
go
like
super
Bloodseeker's a
YOLO.
YOLO hero.
It really is.
It really, actually is.
All right, well, waiting on the last ban for Secret, using up all their time there, and then the AA ban.
Yeah, they have a lot of heal, so it's a good ban, and it's a Chinese team. Chinese teams tend to like to pick A a lot against a lineup where you have a lot of heal potential, sustainability.
This is actually a really, really good ban the more you think about it. That would have been an incredible pick for them.
So they have a lot of spam from far range, I'd say, with Zeus and Splinter Blast and Rubik Fate Bolt. So they are going to be able to defend against the 5-man and drag a lot of time when they are sieging.
And they're going to be very quickly able to deal
With
spread damage to multiple
Yeah.
heroes. And then Bloodseeker just starts.
And
Right.
Wyvern is somewhat good counter towards TA as well.
I feel like it's one of Dazzle's weaknesses, like having so much spread damage from their whole entire team. Like you can only grave one person.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that we've seen Dazzle shine is versus those heavy, really single target bursts like Tusk and whatnot.
They also have Cold Embrace against TA. That's very, very good counter.
So,
It's a good pick.
what does Secret need? I mean, they've only got 3 seconds left. Oh,
They need more fighting.
apparently.
They have 0 stuns.
I was just about to say, don't they need more stuns or something to help?
They have level 4
If-
Poison
if-
Touch.
If you talk about
And
a
Shuriken
team that
toss.
plays without stuns, this is the team.
I mean, that's true. That's true. But it just looked a little odd.
Shuriken
But,
toss is a stun.
Poison Touch level 4.
okay,
Come on.
yeah. So they're gonna go with it.
Which
There's
he's not even going to
Puppy
skill.
rarely skills that actually.
So they're going to run with it. They rounded out with the Bounty Hunter. Secret coming off of a tough loss against Fnatic. But again, I mean, just one map and so many maps that they're going to play here for Dota 2 in the group stages. But obviously, everyone's going to start to matter more and more. So this is game 1 between Team Secret and IG. Best of 2, whoever wins. Maybe they can get that 2 or get that 3 points. Obviously, it would be great for IG to start it off, especially against a team like Secret. But for Secret, if they can get the 3-0, I mean, that's just them being like, all right, we're back in the groove. We are the favorites. Anything else, you guys? I mean, I feel like
Look
we've
out for
broken through-
careers. Look out for careers.
Look out for careers.
Yes, this is what I wanted. Ferrari is playing Bloodseeker. That is the
Oh,
perfect
I was
name.
wondering who it was going to
The
be.
perfect
All right.
nickname for someone playing Bloodseeker's Ferrari.
All right.
That's-
Well,
yes.
we are in game. So game 1 of Team
IG or
Secret
Dank.
versus IG.
Who have now joined us from the stream. Those wonderful people tuning in through Dota TV.
Nice.
You've been with us from the very, very get-go. We're here for game number 1 of round 2 of the group stages. IG versus Team Secret, where Secret are looking to post. IG is their first game to kick off the tournament.
Yeah, truly amazing. And I mean, one off, like, just really off the chain feeling about this TI is the fact that we already breached 3 million viewers concurrent in the first day of TI, really. We had wildcards yesterday, but it's just so hard to grasp.
Love your Dota, man. Love your Dota. So what we get from IG is a little bit different here. We have Ferrari on the Bloodseeker. So this is not being played by Luo. In fact, Luo is going to be put into the Zeus role.
Yeah. Yeah, Luo has that boots first Zeus running around. He does have a sentry as well with him. I think he could put that sentry to someone else since he will have the Thunderbolt anyway, but maybe he just wants to have it available if he runs into Pantheon so he can chase him down.
IG are really looking for the first blood.
Yeah, they are.
S4 is not going to give it to him.
Oh,
Like, going for the bounty rune doesn't make any sense. They realize on the bottom no one's down here. Zaya's watching him. Now they do see S4. So first room will go the way of Ferrari. And this will turn us in to now a Zeus safe lane.
Yep.
We'll have a middle lane Bloodseeker with support Chuan at the start, or at least for the block. and then a dual offlane of Burning as the Gyro and Faith as the
IG
Rubik. I'm
mixing it
liking
up.
this combo.
Yeah, IG are mixing up a lot, and it's a really strong combo. You can pull up and just pull them back into the Rocket Barrage, of course, hurts a lot. And we're going to see what Secret do with their Bounty Hunter, because he can't really find that much on bottom, I believe, against the Zeus with just Undying down there. He does have the Orb of Venom, though, but...
I like how he drops a Sentry Ward at the very start, too. So he'll see Kuro now on the bot lane and understand he's got to keep his distance.
Yeah.
Remember,
He could even attack him and just force him away and say, hey, I see what you're doing. Like, get rid of this Bounty Hunter. Because he's going to pester him as much as he can.
Okay, so if you're in RTZ's shoes right now, you're going one-on-one with a Bloodseeker, with Wyvern harassing you every now and then. What do you do to stop this?
I mean, you just gotta Sideblade, dude. That's the only thing. You have to pull the creeps from the Bloodseeker into yourself and then Sideblade onto the Bloodseeker. That's how you need to lane. Because if you just try to last it against him, it's very difficult. And he won't be scared of you attacking him because you're attacking the creeps. But if you pull the creeps back, you get an angle. That's how you actually can lane against it.
Oh, Lure, this is just not his day. Koro is getting really up in his face. And with that Orb of Venom, he does some serious work against the Zeus.
Good thing
he
has the
cancelled his
boots
clarity.
at least. Yeah. Good thing he has his boots available at least, so he can do something there. But yeah, getting really, really pestered out here. And this tower is gonna go down fast. Like Puppey is here with the heal on bottom lane. They're gonna push this.
Yeah, just creep skip it out. This is also what I think Lua was really scared of, and the reason why he backed up from the tower, because he realized it wasn't safe just to sit back behind the tower. It could be like a tombstone leveled up, Zai could throw that down, and then the push would just be so easy to kill him, claim first blood, and then momentum will ensue. Instead, though, they bring Lua with a TP, Chuan harassing into Zai, and there's that tombstone drop, so Zai has the advantage at the moment. Lua is trying to get rid of the tombstone, but Puppey harassing him down. Chuan,
they can't
he's trying to do the work. They're bringing him more help, but the burst heal actually hitting into Chuan, and now Lua, he might have a bolt of Valuable Faith, try and take away a little bit of the damage, but they're chasing Lua into the tree line. Kuro right behind him. He's just having to juke it around. This movement, the boots, is doing the work until he gets body blocked by Faith, but Kuro picked up, thrown back into the tree line. He's still right on top of Lua. The lightning bolt down. Kuro is dropping. He needs to get away from the tower, but he cannot do so in time. IG get the counter kills out.
Yeah, they get the counter kills, but that was a lot of TPs as well, and expensive ones this early on in the game.
But should flag the fact that we just saw a Bloodseeker kill off a Templar Assassin in mid. You have to remember, when the rest of Secret's dropping low, he gets buffed up.
Yeah.
He brought down Arteezy.
That is true. When you start fighting, especially running around on low HP for that long, that makes the Bloodseeker really, really strong. So hard to lane against on the mid lane. And he's playing really well. He is winning against the TA pretty hard.
Yep.
He's 14-7 right now.
Well, at this point, he's just wishing the Puppey would heal up a little bit quicker.
Yeah. And top lane, though, Queen of Pain, after the Rubik TP'd away from top, he's actually going to be taking over a little bit more with the Queen again. But Gyro did get a nice farming start, at least. So up to 12-7.
And Ferrari's expecting more attacks. He's gone 3 points up in the Thirst.
Yeah. I think that's reasonable in an aggressive game like this.
Yep.
Definitely a good start.
Now, I suppose what really is like Blood Rage or the Blood Right going to do up against the Templar Assassin in the laning phase?
Yeah, not that much. It doesn't really do anything. Top lane.
S4, they're having a crack on him on the top lane. Kuro trying to stay right in his tail. You don't have another blink available and not enough damage to kill the Gyro.
Yeah, that's very difficult. Very difficult to bring him down early, as he has so much armor really on the hero and just able to run away with the Basilius as well. And mid lane, I like to see what RTZ is doing. This is something I've been doing for years. Is just skilling up 2 points in Sideblades. It makes it so much easier to use the Sideblades, because 1 point is just not enough.
And Zai's committing. He drops the tombstone. He's actually taking up a lot of damage from this. Trying to keep the undead minions up so it takes the attack from the tower. No soul rip available, so the tombstone's just going to drop. Puppey attempting to deny it, in fact.
Oh, they're going for a tower deny. Are they going to dive in here? But the Arctic burn being used. So they secure the deny. Very nice. I didn't think they would be able to actually recover that lane and secure a deny down there. But with that big fight they took, they actually did.
They are going to start to lose a little bit of map control because of this. With the tier 1 tower dropping, IG's going to...
Oh, I missed TP by RTZ. He wanted to Magic Wand and he accidentally TP'd to mid lane, which he was already on.
Whoops.
So no TP and he wasted a lot of mana there. Well, that just means that he can't react now. Maybe IG will capitalize.
I think S4 is getting in a position where he wants to attack on the top, but the sentry ward's been really nicely placed by IG, ready for that bounty hunter.
Yep.
So they know when he arrived on the top lane just to back it up. And another sentry ward placed in the mid lane in case Kuro then tries to move to this region. And in fact, they see him with the Observer Ward, always pinging his position.
Yeah, he's trying to run around everywhere, this bounty hunter, just trying to find whatever he can. But I think he crucially needs level 4, because that's when you have 2 points into the Shuri Toss, which is so much damage, 225 at a level 2 nuke. Normally what you see on a level 3 nuke on most AoE spells. Oh, mids, they're gonna try with the Rupture. No, they don't do it.
I think they're a little concerned because they scouted out the fact that Poppy's sitting right behind him.
They've seen him, yeah.
Yeah, so they know it's not a guaranteed kill. You get the Rupture, and then you just, under Shallow Grave, walk back behind the tower.
Yeah.
You'll still be insanely low, and Bloodseeker will see you the entire way.
Yeah, level 1 Rupture you can pretty much run from. Level 2 Rupture, that's when you can't run anymore because it doubles the damage output from it.
Yep.
So,
I'd be a little concerned there once Zeus hits level 6.
Yeah,
Getting away with Shallow Grave is not going to be as easy.
yeah, and he's getting plenty of experience now as well in bottom lane. Look at all that push into a tier 2 tower.
That's an easy level 5.
Yeah, he's gonna reach plenty of experience and levels here. 900 gold as well, so despite his early game being tough, he's still 1-0-0. He never died, and he did his job.
Yeah. Now he can just buy, well, whatever he wants. It can easily be Arcane Boots, which might be a nicer way to go.
Yeah, Bloodseeker going for the Midas. Very standard build on Bloodseeker. Try and propel your farm even more, or particularly your levels, as level 16 is such a big thing for him.
And so, top lane, we kind of have ignored S4. You're talking about momentum on S4. Is this one of these games where you want to just see Aghanims, you want to see the ability to have a team fight, as we have seen previously through most of the wildcard matches? Or is this one of these awkward games? Is this one of the ones where you jump in, you try and nuke down the Zeus, even though he might actually go Yules?
I think this is the Orchid game, or... Actually, you will be solo HP. Nah, I think Aghanims is better still. Like, Orchid would be good for them, but however, the Orchid targets are probably going to be hard to see, like Winter Wyvern being the best one. He will stand in Fog of War. Sometimes Rubik or Zeus will also be hard to reach. You don't really want to silence a Bloodseeker. It doesn't do much. Same with Gyrocopter.
Yep.
Especially if they get their BKBs. So we'll see. I probably think he goes Aghanims after his power treads.
Kuro's having him wander down.
Oh,
They're going to try and
Luo.
crack at Luo. Zai's making a big move. There goes your Tombstone. Decay. Kuro's still got a Shuri toss up his sleeve, and that's going to be the death
Not
of
even
Luo.
needed. Yeah, so he preserves his mana there, very nice. Not wasting the 120 and able to get a good kill there. And very close to level 4 now. He's going to run up into jungle.
Ferrari's actually going to get himself... This almost looks like a 9-minute Midas if he doesn't...
Yeah, which is very fast from a mid lane. Considering the fact that you're going for power treads first and poor man's shield, quelling blades, and, you know, still getting a 9-minute Midas or so is extremely fast.
Observers and sentries being dropped on the bottom rune point. Looks like Zai has had enough of pushing out the bottom lane, while the top lane, S4 is adding some chip damage into that tier 1 tower. The man on the defense duty is burning.
Yeah. I'm looking over to the side of Gyrocopter right now, because he's been playing the off lane. He has 32 CS. It's not too impressive, but look what they have done for him. They have been preparing the jungle. There are stacks on the big camp, so he can recover once again, despite the fact that he was not having a very safe lane. He has a mechanic to make a comeback.
Surprisingly enough, I thought Luo was going to go for a bigger item, but he just went for Soul Ring after his death. Tombstone, that's a double decay over on Faith. Kuro trying to slow him down, and with a Shuri toss, he's going to be able to get it. The blood right, maybe Kuro, not so healthy. Undying will find the kill.
Yeah.
Bloodseeker finding the one back on Bounty Hunter almost directly after, however, and that's his Midas.
Yeah, they trade 1 for 1, but the important part for Kuroki is that he actually died second, so he got experience for the death of Rubik, because that can be one of the things that set you back when you play Bounty Hunter, or when you draft a Bounty Hunter, rather. If he doesn't get level 6 quick enough, he can't really play his hero, because you want to run around, track, and just make sure that the enemy cannot group up and smoke gang, stuff like this. So, super crucial for him to die second instead of first. Oh, it's going to be a Midas TA? No, it's just power treads. I was wondering. RTZ used to run Midas TA way, like, all the time back in the days, but it's not good anymore.
It must be a nice catch-up ability, but...
No, it's just terrible. And we see Bounty Hunter sneaking down into enemy jungle here, Midas being used by Bloodseeker, and Kuroki, of course. There's no shared experience when you use a Midas, so didn't get anything from that.
Poor man.
Elsie's just sneaking around here trying to leech.
It's a leech, and it's also trying to be an intimidation factor if they can do it onto Chuan. who's trying to find his level 6 on this bottom lane against the Undying. A bit of a dangerous lane to be in, but Zai just needs that little bit of extra protection as well. 200 gold away from having the full mech. And then Secret's teamfight's going to be nice, even to a point where we have to remember they are dire side with a Templar Assassin. So they could try and take Roshan and still be ready to take a teamfight against IG.
I mean, he's going to take Ancients now, so they're going to go for that first. He has 3 points into the side blades. Never really tried for going that, but it makes it very easy to kill off these Ancients as you just pull them out on the line. So with this is so much gold going his way. He could go into the early Blink, which we have seen previously in the tournament.
Is it worth going Deso in this game, however? Or do you feel like you need more life?
I think going Deso first before Blink is definitely justifiable, but...
Especially if you get like an Aegis behind it, because then you get like the double negative
exactly.
armor.
It's also the fact that when you go Deso first, you can go and take the Aegis easier, whereas if you go Blink Dagger, you delay that kind of power.
Top tier 1 tower, the Bloodseeker's going to come to defend it.
Deniable.
Catapult's brought it within deny range, and it's up to S4 if he really wants to try and have a crack at this. It's at 44.
It's 2 hits.
And with the new creep wave coming in, there's one dose for the Blood Right. S4 gets it and blinks away to safety.
Wow. I also thought he had that deny on Ferrari, but he actually missed it, and S4 claims it. That's a very big deal as well, getting the last hit on the tower as opposed to it being denied.
TT spending his money. It's a Mithril Hammer.
Yep.
The mech is also now fully completed. At the same time, I'm also seeing Puppy walking around with a chainmail. So we're starting up the medallion. For Dazzle.
They definitely have a game plan. Like everything is prepared in detail that it's gonna play out like this. We're gonna get the Ancients, farm that. You're gonna make an early Desolator, then we go Roshan. Like they have a script that they're following, just the same as the director's team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they know what they're up to. Right now, like IG's team is looking fantastic where they can chase out Zai. They need the extra damage. Lightning Bolt's going to do it, and that gives them the vision for the Rupture. Zai, a straight TP out, but
actually,
you've got Chuan right behind him. That'll provide the cold embrace, which will cancel the TP.
Very
but
nice.
he still bought the mech before death.
The Winter's Curse, Toby.
The Winter's Curse,
Cold
sorry.
Embrace is a friendly spell. It would never kill you. Except for when like someone does that and it just sets up for the enemy AoE spells and you're like, yeah, thank you.
Yes, correct.
Thank you so much. They're actually stealing the enemy Ancients now, and they were quite well prepared. There was 3 stacks of Ancients, and Arteezy is now going there and taking it from the Gyrocopter. Oh, this is a big blow. Even the Shadow Wave coming in and healing, as it does deal damage to Ancients. That was a big steal.
That also gives bounty level 6, so you got track on the
God.
field, and they're going to find Chuan.
Okay, he's probably safe.
It's worth a track. The TA throws a trap down as well, so IG now will not want to move anywhere near that.
Yeah.
But they have to understand their Ancients are gone.
They have good heroes for vision, honestly. Both teams. I mean, there's the Zeus ulti, there's the Bloodseeker, and on the side of Secret, of course, track and TA traps. Both teams know that, you know, seeing your opponent is half the battle, knowing where they are.
Oh, tier 1 tower now. Time to attack it. It's the last tier 1 tower remaining for IG. Secret have just systematically taken out these front buildings of IG.
They have, and they don't have any real reason to stop. The Tombstone is down. Level 4 Tombstone.
As the minions, which are just pushing Luo back, they've tracked him up too, so they got perfect vision. Denial of the tower did come out from burning. And they're not looking to fight this. They will not come under the Tombstone, and they'll be quite happy to fight if Secret come to their tier 2, though.
It was very brave and nicely done by Burning to time that deny and going up. That's enough. Now just spread out again. They need to farm.
If Arteezy takes... there's actually another stack inside the Dire jungle. When he takes this,
he has the
full Desolator.
Yeah, it's going to be a 14-minute, or actually before 14-minute Desolator.
That's really quick. And with an Aegis, the model then behind you.
Yep.
This is really scary for IG. Like, they may have a wonderful combo, but he's getting big.
Yeah. Does he have the medallion as well prepared? He almost has it. So he is going to buy it up now, I believe. Yeah, he is 115 gold away.
He'll get that from the top lane, Puppy.
Yep. And then it's Roche time.
And look where IG's moving. They're trying to predict it. Like, there's an invis room, but funnily enough, you're tracked Ferrari, so that's not going to help you at all. In fact, they sentry ward out the Observer, but they're actually trapped on both sides. Like, Zai and S4 are on the Radiant side of the jungle. They throw the Tombstone down, start with a decay into the ulti, and Faith actually stealing decay, but that's not going to help with the Sonic Wave from S4. Perfect positioning. They're getting track kills. Ferrari will try and TP out of here. Will he be in time? He gets back to base, and he will survive.
Just barely.
But you lost 3 heroes for IG after Secret just picked up the Desolator, now taking Roshan.
I mean, that was just Secret walking in with, what? Basically just Queen and Undying, like the 2 of them made short work of 4 heroes pretty much, as Bloodseeker just TP'd out. I know there was like the track played a big part in it and the Dazzle was there, but still, that was just the Tombstone and the Queen playing perfectly. Wow. And that secures their early ages. They have more stacks. This is starting to look like an old DreamHack meta, like
No.
way back in No Tidehunter kind of days.
The Sven play.
The good old Wisp Sven meta where stacks on Ancients was everything.
I'm very happy for it not to be the case, but this is different though. Like that meta was okay.
It was very mindless.
We're not gonna fight. It's just stack, 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 farm, 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 farm. Where in this case, it's we push, we move, we farm as we go. It's not a we prepare and this is our life. It's you know what? We're in the neighborhood and we just capitalize on the situation.
Yeah, this is, I mean, this is starting to look really grim for IG because they're not taking control over this game. There's 4 and 6 kills, which is not very much, but the fact is, stolen Ancients and just the way that Secret are outmaneuvering them with the help of the track, it's looking tough for IG.
It is. They need to get some footing somewhere.
Yeah, but they can't do too much when you go Midas on Bloodseeker. Like, you need to
there's
wait for the first item.
There's smoke moving.
Yeah.
They're actually smoke moving to try and... Are they trying to catch, like, Secret of the Ancients?
They were hoping that, you know...
Oh, they're warding the Ancients. They're moving in force and warding up the Ancients to try and stop that kind of farm. I hate to tell them, though, but that's not going to stop Secret.
Well, it's at least something, because the Ancients have been used, very, very frequently, especially considering the fact that Secret does not have a Helmet Dominator. They've just been stacking with their supports relentlessly, all the time. Every time they got a chance with Puppey, he has been stacking something. And once again, they're going to farm up the Ancients, but this is going to be no respawn after it. Man, I'm trying to look at the timings for IG here and what they can do. They still are far away from any real item on Zeus. Their Gyrocopter, I mean, he's farming up, but he's not farmed up. He just has Drums and Aquila. And Bloodseeker as well. I mean, he's working on PKB, I suppose, but it's not really going to protect him as well.
Luo's in trouble. Luo's in a lot of trouble. Templar Assassin wants to run it. They use the Weave to get vision, and they actually have no stunts.
He will buy the Blink Dagger now. That's 17 minutes, Deso and Blink. That's like the dream game. Just free farming. 128 CS, 17 minutes. And that's actually with him being solo killed on the lane. Talk about a recovery, because the Bloodseeker was manhandling him.
I love how Zai is just trying to force issues.
Zai is just like, fight me!
Chon put himself under, and then thought he had the opening. Arteezy, bottom lane, there's your jump on Luo. The first strike, he's going to get picked up by Faith. Throw him back as Meld will be stolen. Like, it's Puppey off the front lines too. But there's a lot more help coming.
Level 4 Meld is amazing for Rubik to steal, and of course Refraction is also good. I would say Meld is possibly even better though. That minus armor and the range, because Rubik has a full range Meld, as opposed to the short range Meld.
These towers are just too easy to bring down. With the tracks from Kura, they see everything in Chuan. Well, he was alive.
Yeah, he got deleted, and with the Aegis, Arteezy's just playing brave here. He knows I can force the issue.
And he's getting rotations to come. Like, that's probably even the bigger thing, because now you just see S4 has a little bit more fun on top lane. He's almost got a Scythe of Vice straight up. He's 200 gold away from Scythe.
Yeah.
So you've got his disable.
That's a very popular build as well among some safe lane queens, just rushing into the Hex like this. I know that a lot of the Chinese teams have done this in the past, and it is super effective. So 1845, he's going to have a Scythe of Vice. That is crazy fast.
Oh, there it is.
Like a pre-20-minute Hex is just insane.
And even Kura.
Pipe?
Yeah, he actually buys a full pipe.
He has a pipe. Like, I haven't even seen a pipe in a long time, but that's a great counter to the Zeus lineup here. And could also be really good against the Winter Wyvern's Splinter Blast in the team fights.
Ferrari actually bought a full Solar Crest. Doesn't complete his own BKB and just goes into a Solar Crest. He goes for the Rupture now on S4. S4 going to blink. Wow, that's a lot of damage on him. He's going to be careful with that. But the Undying Tombstone makes it very difficult for anyone else from IG to chase down. And in fact, he doesn't even kill the Tombstone. He has to move over to help out against Zai. But Zai getting Soul Ripped. He's still got 10 stick charges. Now the Shallow Grave keeping him alive. S4 actually
S4.
Scream being stolen only. But Arteezy, the man in the front lines, can't kill Burning. The Cold Embrace keeping him alive. Now they've gone through the Undying. But Arteezy still with the Aegis Immortal, wanting to force the issue, going through Chuan, getting a double kill before the Aegis will finally pop, and now they move over to Luo. Puppey and S4 chasing him down.
Mana.
Puppey is just so low. They get the track kill at the end of the day as well. A triple kill for Arteezy.
Yeah, as he kills off the Bloodseeker there in the end. So much gold. 3,000 gold. They only lose the Undying. in all that fight, Secret just playing it, I want to say perfectly. It was just very nice execution. The only one who died was the Undying, who died to Rubik walking all the way in with this scream of pain and killing him.
The only way you could do it is sacrifice yourself.
Oh, it was hard commitments. He actually didn't even die. He walked back after he did it. He just got away with it.
We're actually at a position of the game where none of the Tier 1 talents of Secret are below 50%.
Yeah. They have been so unpressured in this game. I'm not sure if it's just their proactive moves and how they are actually on top of things before they happen, or if IG have just been playing a little bit laid back and their weird laning didn't work out that well. Because it feels like IG haven't been up too much in this game.
No. It's it's the Arteezy move. I still find it hilarious that this guy died solo to Ferrari, and now there's just nothing.
Oh, you can't tell at all. Like, it looks like he has been stomping the entire game. When you look at his money, look at his item progression, and his
60 CS in the space of 21 minutes.
a lot of those being ancient creeps as well.
Yeah.
Should be kept in mind. It's probably at least some 25 or even more ancient creeps.
Look at the confidence from Arteezy. He bought Crystallis.
Yeah.
So it's full damage output from the Templar Assassin and a level 16 TA.
I mean, they have pipe, so going straight into the Daedalus here, I would have done the same in this case, because BKB, when you're stomping, it still doesn't protect you from Rupture, still doesn't protect you from the Winter Curse, so, I mean, damage is the way to go.
And if they actually didn't ward up the Ancients, he would have an easy way to get that extra 1,000 gold to finish up the full Daedalus.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Kuroki might be finding some track kills for him soon.
Maybe. Well, they find Faith. He's trying to kill off the trap, but he's not fast enough to do so.
Oh,
Luo
God.
in the neighborhood, and they just jump up. Faith hit once, and the Shuri toss from Kuro finishes the job. Now they can move over to Luo. A new track over on him. And with the Tombstone behind them, they've got a lot of cover fire available. S4's also waiting for that perfect Sonic Wave moment.
Very disciplined there to just kill that guy and then get out. A lot of people would have gone for Zeus as well, but that would have been a terrible mistake, as the Winter Wyvern would have been able to Winter's Curse there.
It's also because Puppy's not even there. Like,
Yeah.
Puppy right now is trying to find a little bit more farm and levels on the top lane.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, they realized that, you know, we could get a quick pick off, but then our resources are used. We used up the Shuritos, we should just back out.
Yep.
And
Should also
very
flag
nice.
too the fact that Roshan could be up within the space of 10-20 seconds. So with this, you don't really want to commit yourself too heavily into any kind of engagement and run the risk of giving IG away back.
Yeah, no reason. No reason for that.
Well, there's that Solar Crest now up for Puppy. And the weave onto Chuan as well as Ferrari.
Man, full Solar Crest. That is dangerous. And he also uses the aggressive weave all the time, putting them at so much minus armor over on the side of Radiant. So you think that TA already hits hard, just imagine with the weave as well. This is, even the zombies from Tombstone will deal a lot of damage.
Chuan trying to move up, they trigger the drum charge, IG.
They went in, they took the Tombstone, and probably gonna prompt Secret to play a little bit defensively till they have it.
The Secret really only just want the tower. Like,
Yeah.
and that Daedalus is now being bought. Like, that Demon Edge, the courier's coming out for it, but at the same time, IG, they're out. They pop instantly, Puppy. He couldn't get much off. In fact, they even stole the weave over on the Rubik while
Oh,
Zai
they should kill
out
him as well.
walking.
Yeah.
He mechs and into the trees. He's very visible. Do they have a stun? They have Faith with telekinesis. They just got the damage output to find the kill.
Yep, they got a lot there. The creep wave was still cut by Secret, but still, they can just push the tier 1 tower.
Yeah, no backdoor regeneration on a tier 1 tower.
I think Secret still want to fight that, though. Arteezy's going to make his way up there and try to fight, because there's some
Secret
cooldown.
could trade if they wanted. They could just run the mid.
Yeah, true.
That tier 1's lost anyway.
He's just taking their Ancients.
The fortification buys some time. Like, you lose the tier 1 tower, you lost a couple of heroes, just count your losses. Five players are up on top for IG. So you're fine with that.
Yeah, Kuroki's going to snipe the courier. They saw it fly there with the side traps. He's going to try for it? No, he's not. He wants to move in there, but he would be visible doing it.
Yeah, getting out would be pretty rough. Roshan's alive as well now. So this could get scouted out pretty soon. IG do have an observer ward around here, so they'll realize when Secret move in for it.
Yeah, they should really throw down a trap as well, so they see instantly when it's up. Want to kill Roshan as quickly as possible when it respawns, so you can use the Aegis as many times as possible.
TZ's too busy like focusing killing people. Now you actually see the ping coming out from Zeus of It's not even from Secret, but they're chasing down after Kuro. The Dust and Sentry Ward both being used, but Kuro too far away.
Yes.
They still see him, though.
He's running back in. He's a cheeky little bastard. He's gonna die for that, I think.
Yeah, that's that ulti from Wyvern in for the Bloodseeker. He is toast. Rubik gets the cash.
Yeah, they're just sneaking
And he actually
around.
he stole track.
Look at S4. He's like, yeah, can I stay here? Do you get angry if I get this close? And again, like, I think Arteezy has farmed the Radiant Ancients more than he farmed the Dire Ancients by this point. He's just kind of liking these creeps.
Why doesn't he just jump in and take Roshan by himself? He's got more than enough damage to do so.
He hasn't thought about it.
Like, just like trigger your bottle charges or your one. Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah, there we go. There's the trap. Kill the Ancients and then go there, I think.
I know.
Let them respawn again.
Wait, hang on. Are we selling and buying and selling Solar Crests?
Yeah, what actually happened there?
Okay, he bought a Solar Crest and then he was disassembling.
Oh, I see.
He was looking for the Heaven's Halberd.
I see.
So that's why the Solar Crest was up so early. Now Arteezy will go in and try Roshan, but because track was stolen by Rubik, he sees Kuro.
That halberd is really big. Like, there's no BKB on the TA, so he could actually stop her.
At the same time, though.
They have to rush in, though.
They might stop her, but Roshan, they can't stop that. Look at the Solar Crest over on Roshan. They'll start the fight. The Tombstone up on the higher ground, but Arteezy already with that Aegis, the Immortal, attacking into Belling, and the Sonic Wave! Hitting so hard, even with the Sideblaze build damage. Arteezy chases up. They want the Gyro. Now they can move over to Ferrari, even if Kuro has been picked up by the already dead Rubik. This is a slaughter for Secret. 17 to 8.
I would not be surprised to see a GG call, honestly. That felt like now we have to win this fight. We have to go in and turn it. But S4 has been like perfect positioning every damn fight. His ultis are just amazing. And Kuroki, you have to get cred for the vision that he puts into that as well, because he keeps just tracking people up.
Like, the only breathing room that IG kind of felt like they had was when they took the 2 hero kills and went for the top tier 1 tower. That was the only time when I felt like IG had some control of this game. At all other points.
There was no controlling Secret in this game, Toby. There was definitely not.
There was no controlling this Templar Assassin once. Dude, just get the death out of the way and then all hell just breaks loose after that.
Yeah, it's working really well for every team.
They're just getting more tracks, and there's the jump in Faith. The Ghost Scepter will keep him alive. Arteezy still has the Aegis of the Immortal. We have to bear this in mind. In fact, Bounty Hunter, he gets the bounce through, and he just keeps the track up. There's 3 heroes who are tracked right now, and S4 back into the fray. S4 being controlled for the moment, but Luo so low. In comes Arteezy with the ulti. Arteezy, there's your Aegis popping. Finally, but S4 still standing his ground. He's going to kill off Chuan. Arteezy back to Olivia with a side blade!
Oh my god!
Arteezy, just man of mana, takes out IG by himself.
Are you kidding? That perfect lineup.
And now he buys a Monkey King Bard, toast his victory.
I'm feeling pretty good about this, Toby. I'm pretty happy with this.
Oh, you could see it coming too, like S4.
Yep.
When they lined up, it was a line.
Oh god.
Like, it's a one game, like it's a Templar. You go up against Templar Assassin. Do not conga line.
You wonder how IG feel right at the moment when they realize that he's respawning and they're like, how we're standing? Oh yes. Oh yes.
Someone's taking the courier.
Dear
we have a
God,
we have a
Toby.
Lotus Orb over on Zai, a full Monkey King bar over on Arteezy. Because all those kills were track kills. Look at Kuro. This guy's got almost 6k gold.
Yep. Buy Divine Kuro. Let's do it. Pipe Divine.
Puppy bought a straight Glimmer.
Puppy is rich. All of them are rich. Like, what is even the gold advantage at this point, looking over to it?
Man, Donald Trump's got nothing on these guys.
Yeah,
Investment pays off. Aghanim Scepter now purchased by the co-op and still got 3,000 gold after doing so.
Yeah, I mean, Lotus Orb, Undying, Mech, Mana Boots, and Glimmer Cave, that's just disgusting.
Is Kuro
to
buying
watch.
a Hex?
I think so.
It's an Ultimate Orb over on the
maybe
on
Lincoln's, maybe Hex. He could rupture the Bloodseeker if he plays
He's got 3,900 gold.
The Undying could rupture the Bloodseeker if he times it correctly. That would be a fun thing to see. Oh, you have a lot of movement speed? Let's see you ruptured.
The Soul Boost is heading back to base. That one belongs to S4.
Yeah, this game is all but over right now. Like,
yeah,
there has to be some desperation move by IG. Maybe if they smoke around, get behind the enemy lines, and try to do some 5-man action. But at this point, looking over to the net worth of heroes.
It's 23,000 on
It's
TA.
disgusting.
You just bought a full BKB. It was at Lincoln's for the Bounty Hunter, and the Soul Booster is casually flying out to S4.
I mean, he just bought the MKB and then he bought a BKB as well, all within 3 minutes. So, yeah, they definitely had some bank stashed up.
This is it for IG. Like, it's all or nothing.
Yep.
And they're trying to take this fight outside the base, so they're buffing up Luo and hoping they can pop someone.
Yeah, you should always buff him up before he does his ulti on Zeus. Very important. Even though it doesn't buff the full damage, it's still...
It's running out, but you just saw Ferrari do it, and they jump in. Now, S4 on the front lines. Ferrari hexed up. What do we get? Solo only Scream. S4, the Blood Ride's in a really good position, but with a Sonic Wave, the Zeus only doesn't do enough. They've lost 3. They're just trapped in the tree line. Arteezy just one hits down Chuan, and that is game. They cannot win. GG, Team Secret, with over a 35,000 net worth advantage.
And the most convincing win that we've seen so far, including wildcard matches.
Very true.
This is
That was-
very tough game for IG.
That was a crushing. That was an absolute crushing by Secret on IG. We're going to have ourselves a break.
Be right
We'll
back.
come back and compose our thoughts, as IG will also do the same. That's their first game of TI. Welcome to the International.
All right, game 1. As our casters were saying, probably the most convincing game we've seen so far in TI5. Of course, we just started, but still. And of course, coming out from Secret, no big surprise there. Now, when we were looking at the draft earlier, we were looking at IG. We were talking about what can they do, maybe some early aggression and whatnot. The game, though, eventually didn't. The draft even didn't pan out exactly like what some of us were recommending. And now Secret just goes ahead and steamrolls through IG. Where does IG have to change things? Does it start from the draft, or do you think it was also just a lot of things in game?
I think their draft was good, honestly.
I think it was decent,
they just flat out got outplayed. And a couple of things to highlight. I guess the ancient stack being stolen is a really big
Right.
deal. It's an effective. I don't know how many stacks there were. If it was
I think
like
it was 3.
so 3. So that's like a gold swing of you lose 1,000, they gain 1,000. So this is 2,000 net worth swing,
Yeah.
right there, right. Which of course has a huge impact on the game. Maybe Gyro doesn't get a key item. Maybe that's what brings TA ahead in the game, right? And when you look at like the actual engagements and the timing, I think the way Secret utilized Undying as like a sponge for everything worked super well. Like they kept surprising IG, I think, with how much heal potential they actually had between Soul Rip and Dazzle, and of course the good timing on the Graves. And S4 is always in Queen of Pain. Amazing Sonic Waves the whole game, right? But that's to be expected when you give them co-op. So.
Okay, now
just outplayed them.
something that we pointed out right before we went into the game was, okay, well, so they don't have any stuns. Like, they don't really have any way to guarantee lockdowns on the side of Secret. Winter, do you think that the reason that worked out was simply because, like you mentioned, I mean, if any team is going to do that, it's Secret and they're confident enough? Or do you think that's still something that Secret should consider going into future drafts?
I don't think stuns are necessary if you have the right lineup and right execution. Because like most of the kills they killed them so fast. Like TA just jumps in, melts, and you don't have time to TP or do anything. So you don't really need the stun in those type of situations. So I feel the lack of stuns obviously doesn't really matter too much in that game.
All right, well, let's take a look at some replays as we talk more about the game. Of course, just to highlight some of the
Tombstone
moments. I mean, a
makes
lot
it
of these
very difficult for
are gonna
anyone
be
else from
Secret
IG to
focused.
chase down. And in fact, he doesn't even
with the fight
kill the
coming in from
Tombstone.
Secret
He
here
has to move
near the
over
mid.
to help out against
And as you talked about Undying acting as a sponge up front, Rupture already blown on the Queen of Pain in the back line. And I mean, it seems like IG, they just simply didn't have enough damage. And I think a lot of that was due to the early pipe pickup by Team Secret. And you'll very rarely see teams pick up pipe, but I think that Puppy and the rest of Team Secret actually pick it up far more often than most teams. And it's a really good item. Like it shouldn't be gotten as often as Mech, but they should be at least like comparable. And
against Zeus is really good.
against Zeus is very good, and
Right.
it's I think super underrated.
It's also nice against Gyro. The call down is a lot of AoE magic damage, and even if you like, the nice thing is there's no really like you could argue that against some lineups utilizing pipe is difficult because you need to time it, you need to predict when the damage is
Right.
coming.
Yeah.
Right? You need to precast it in comparison to mech that you post cast. So it's a reactionary item, whereas pipe is like use it primitively.
Right.
I
But
think the
it's
other
very easy against the Zeus
the
lineup.
item is
It'll always be useful.
expensive as well. Like it's hard to get on like sometimes you want to get it on like a lesser hero, but you can't get it on a lesser hero because it just requires too much farm, and you need to get it at a certain like you mentioned a specific time Otherwise, it would be like maybe useless.
I mean, it's still 10% magic resist, Aura. With the
Yeah, but the biggest thing is you want to use it to push. So
Right.
you want to get it at a timing window that you can actually utilize it to push or siege high ground.
I mean, it's also just really useful for Bloodseeker and skirmishes, even if you aren't pushing, so people don't get low. Like, I feel like he wasn't able to really, get out of control.
So, I mean, overall, a situational item, but as you were mentioning, Secret does tend to kind of favor that a lot more, even in those niche situations compared to other teams. We do have a couple other replays as we're looking through. Mostly, again, Secret just dominating against IG. But as you guys were mentioning, I think you guys brought out some good points. I mean, we were wondering, where does the Undying really fit here? We talked about how Secret doesn't like to play Undying that much, and here they are bringing it out on the first day of TI5.
You can't. I think this is just a misplay from Burning. He's running into the pit alone with the gyro in front, of course. He does have BKB on, but he ultimately just gets completely out of position. He runs into a TA who's already killed Roche. That's a one-on-one he's not going to win against Arteezy right then. And then he has to run all the way back.
I mean, it just shows you his sense of desperation.
Yeah.
Like, he has to do something. And maybe he'll get lucky enough that, like, he gets bashed. Roshan's at, like, one hit away. He takes it and takes Aegis. And that's the sort of play that you have to hope for. I mean, it all starts with preventing TA getting the first Aegis. And that's really, really difficult. But once you're that far behind, you have to make those sort of plays.
All right, and we do have one last replay, pretty bloody one, where most people do end up dying and having to take a little break from the game. But as we take a look at that, just shows, again, how many fights we did have in this game where Secret ends up taking game one against IG.
This is actually the best fight IG get all game. Because they get a pretty good Winter's Curse, I think, in this one, in a moment. It isolates one target. They get S4 out. They actually, it's the call down that's really good. The Zeus ult. So they managed to finally clean up some kills. This is what their lineup wants to do. They want to get them low so that Bloodseeker can start hitting really hard. You see how he's laying into S4. But then this respawns just absolutely the way they're lined up.
Yeah.
This was actually, if that Sideblade hit doesn't like splash all the way back, they actually get a decent trade. But Arteezy ends up cleaning up instead. And that's just, in the heat of the moment, it's difficult to position yourself against an Aegis. You're not really paying attention to it.
Very true. I mean, especially because, like you said, it was the best fight they've had so far. They were very focused on the initial part of the fight. And then, unfortunately, didn't take into account the Aegis. And then, of course, TA coming back up, Arteezy cleaning up. Only last man alive, last man standing.
I
Secret
think
was pretty happy about that.
Overall, the concept of not having enough stuns is a little overrated. I think that their lineup had a lot of positives. You mentioned like they can kite people constantly with the tombstone and the traps. Like they have great chasing potential with the track, and they just have a ton of damage output. Like who needs stuns when you just kill people in like half a second? It doesn't really matter. So I think yes, having disables is important. Sometimes maybe you need to lock down an Ember or a Puck or a Queen of Pain, but having a lot of damage and other utility, because obviously you're sacrificing something if you don't have any stuns. But I think the benefits that they showcase in this lineup was definitely worth it.
The thing about this lineup that Secret is running is if you think of stuns, I like to think of like ease of execution. Like when you have stuns, it's more determined. It's more defined how you're going to play, right? It's like this stun selects a target. This is the guy we go on. This is how we play it. But because Secret are so good at playing this style, they don't actually need it. But I would say you take the lineup Secret has, like, and you put it on lesser teams, they would have a really hard time making this lineup work and come together.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned it's harder to execute if you don't have stuns and you don't have direct lockdowns. But it doesn't mean that it won't work. It's just harder.
Right. Yeah, it's not a necessity. It's just generally, if you have the choice, most people would choose to take a stun in that last spot. But Secret, proving that they don't necessarily need it. We do have some updates from the other matches. We were watching a couple of them outside. LGD is up 1-0 against Complexity. And then between Navi and C9, the game isn't over, but Navi seems to be ahead. But we know that can go either way when C9's in the game. So we'll have to wait and see until the game ends, and then we'll find out when we get a secure
you only needed
update.
to get like 2.5 hours into TI before you made that comment. Very impressive.
I caught right on to that one. Hey, after watching the first match, I was like, all right, I see what's going on. I got you, C9. All right, well, game 2 coming up here between Secret and IGA. We were just looking at the players, obviously going through just a couple last-minute reviews. And something we discuss every time, I mean, how much do drafts need to change? So far, I mean, someone was calculating on day 0, so yesterday for the wildcard play-ins, we had, 50 heroes that were picked and banned, and 44 of them were played at least once, so picked at least once. So already a pretty big diversity, so generally that means that we have been seeing changes overall. It seems like most people are taking that advice to heart, where you don't want to run the same lineup twice, whether you're winning or losing, especially in a best of 2, right? Because it's not like we're up 1-0 and then we have another shot. It's like you want to secure that 2-0. You want to make sure you bring out something new. On the side of IG, you guys already said that draft-wise, we're looking at Tron being pretty pretty aggressive about something you wanted to point out in game one. But in the draft, if the draft wasn't the problem and in-game was an issue, do you still think that they should try something new just to give a change of pace for the team, for IG, I mean?
I mean, I think it's more Secret's flexibility that's overcoming IG rather than something that IG is doing. I mean, IG is just playing their, like, you know, sort of standard game Ferrari, trying to do heavy damage, burning, you know, on a hero like he normally plays. And I don't know, it just doesn't seem like anything unusual, right? Whereas Secret, like, you never know what they're going to pick. We saw them run like Keeper to Light. Elements. Like, I haven't seen TA on Arteezy in like a pretty long time. And it's just always unexpected. And we, even during a draft, we're like, oh, they never pick Undying third pick. And then, you know, they roll with it. And it's just like you never really know what's coming from Secret. And I think that's why they're one of the most formidable teams.
All right. I mean, Winter, any thoughts on IG, whether, you know, something they can look for a draft, something that you might even advise if you were there?
I think mainly it's the support. So I feel as much as you talk about Ferrari and the other cores, but I think the primary issue is whether you give Chuan and Faith supports that can roam and kill. Like, Wyvern is very, in my opinion, very defensive at times, and you can't really be very confident in initiating fights. Sometimes you want to wait before you drop your ultimate instead of using your ultimate as a first move spell or trying to make a gang happen. So I would much rather see something like what I've mentioned before, a Mirana or even a Kunkka, like more aggressive play.
Yeah, that's something you guys kept bringing up. We didn't see that in game one. While we wait, we do have this beautiful scoreboard behind us for the group standing so far. It's quite lovely, but we only have a couple matches to show. But at the very least, I mean, Complexity actually up there with 3 points. They did get that 2-0 against MVP Phoenix. So starting off on strong footing, but they are up against LGD right now. Doesn't sound like it's going too well, but we'll find out in game 2. Of course, Group B, all zeros yet. We haven't gotten to the Group B matches. We'll get to that in the later half of the day. But right now, I mean, still anything can happen. But we were talking about this earlier, right? With this kind of point system, not only does every match obviously matter more and more, but if we have more ties, then suddenly the 2-0s become like double in value. Because if every other team has tied, your 2-0 is just way more valuable because no one else has had those 3 points. And you're 2 points up ahead of everyone else.
If you have multiple draws, immediately game is hard.
Yeah, well, that's true. So yeah, that does say a lot about where the teams are. All right, so right now we are waiting for Secret and IG to decide, you know, who's going to take those points. Secret up 1-0. Do we expect Secret to be able to take it just 2-0, given what we saw in that last game?
I just think they're generally paired very well versus IG. Just because I think IG relies on like superior teamwork, not necessarily like superior drafting or overall strategy. I think they try and outplay other teams, and Secret is really good at outplaying other teams. And I think when they get caught off guard, like Fnatic strong lanes, for example, or get outdrafted, which I don't think IG outdrafts very often, like by let's say EG, I think that's when they're most vulnerable. And IG, I just don't think that Secret views them as a big threat.
Okay, what about you, Syndrin?
Once again, I think they have to play early aggression way more than they do. I think the double roaming is a solution. I like the Mirana suggestion by Winter.
Do you like Chen plus Shadow Demon? Something
Chen
along
Shadow Demon.
Something
if
along
you
the
want to try
lines.
Chen, Chen has kind of fallen off because of the nerf.
Something
to the
that
jungle.
can bring aggression, you know, for the first few minutes.
Enchantress.
Yeah, Enchantress. Like, I would still like to see the Kunkka. I also think it's a hero that actually could work very well against Secret because they like playing. They like taking these fights where S4 generally puts them ahead. With like something like a Queen of Pain, you burst and then you follow through, and the Ghost Ship, of course, can buy you that time and get a little bit of mitigation so that you can actually have a chance at fighting back. I think it's an underappreciated support hero, but it kind of is a niche pick. But if a team is pulling it out, it's probably going to be IG, who have played it a couple of times. So I would love to see that, but maybe they're saving that for later.
And Winter, I mean, I assume just given you guys have kind of been on the same board the whole time about early aggression.
I mean, as long as it's something that helps to secure kills early and get control of the lanes and the general momentum of the game from the start, you know, that's something that IG should look to go for, I feel.
All right, so let's assume that, Secret goes in 2-0s this game, maybe even the next one that they play. Do you think Secret will ever have to look back at Fnatic's game and be like, all right, that was just like a fluke, or will they be like, all right, we still can't ever let that happen in the draft and give them all these early aggression
Well,
heroes?
Secret generally has well-rounded drafts, which means that their early game isn't super strong. It's generally strong, but not super strong. So when a team like Fnatic like really commits heavily to that part of the game, I think they need to adapt their draft to be less strong late game and more strong early game. And I think that is one of the very few issues that they have in their drafting.
All right, so should, you know, regardless of the results of their future games, definitely something to look back on and improve upon if they want to be that champion that most people are expecting them to be. But again, we've had quite a few upsets in the past TI. So
Yeah, it's like a gentle reminder that you shouldn't forget about the power of your lanes. You should make sure that you somewhat decent lanes. You can't go for lanes that are too greedy and and you get punished by that.
Winter's so nice. He's just gentle reminder. He's not like it's actually just stabbing you in the truth that lanes matter, but it's like it's just a gentle reminder that you might want to care about your laning phase.
I feel like gentle reminder would not be 33. It's like a little,
Okay, it's
it's a little rude reminder.
it's a reality check.
Reality show.
At best,
Okay.
it's questionable.
At best,
That's one of the lines that he likes.
at best questionable. All right. Well, hopefully we're not going to see that from Secret this game. We are going into draft of game number 2 between Secret and IG. Waiting to find out if IG can bring, again, what you guys have been mentioning. Maybe that Kunkka, something that brings that early aggression, that secures them those early kills to snowball the game into their favor. We'll find out. The Naga being banned out right away by IG, though. And they do have first pick this time.
Let's see if Secret are up for letting through the Lesh. So far, 100% win rate. Both times it's been played support,
Right?
which is actually interesting. It was played support by LGD because they got mega counterpicked on core Lesh, so they were just like, okay, we'll support. And the other one was in the wildcard round played by
Vega.
Vega
against Archon.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
say it was
It
Vega.
was the
yeah.
Ursa game.
Yep.
And I think
so far
mainly
it's
like
available.
teams coming in this event, they feel like, okay, Less Shock is something that everyone's going to be looking at. So
Yeah.
everyone's thinking, maybe you take that and some team is going to have like tons of way to counter it. So
It's true.
a good solution would be to just make sure that it goes to the support position. Then it mitigates a lot of that idea.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, at this point, because so many people are expecting it, it's
Yeah.
actually another different mind game of, hey, if we pick it, is it going to be core support? We've already had 2 support games, like you guys mentioned. Definitely something to consider now. This is the moment to Secret let it through. Now, if Secret lets it through, do you think they will also be in a position where they'll be like, we're just going to hard counter it and then assume that it's support, or will they actually try to wait and see?
They will definitely not pick like Cloud9 did. I think.
Well, that was
they
as
just went
plain as
way
you can be.
overboard on it, and it was still incredible how well Cloud9 did in that game. As,
Yes.
as we talked about, they actually drew it on to 66 minutes with so many heroes, which we're maybe not giving them enough credit for the synergy between the lineup Cloud9 had in that game. But to me, it seemed like it was a little bit too much of one thing.
Right.
Of
How about
countering.
this, Sin?
Oh, it's
You
never-
just pick one hero that counters it. Like you don't build a lineup that counters the specific hero. Like maybe you
Right.
just pick Nyx just to deal with Lash.
Nyx is
And
decent.
If the Lash is like support, Nyx is still decent against it.
Right.
And if it's a core, obviously it's better because of mana burn.
Or you just ban
Sure.
it.
Oh, the Viper got... I mean, well, the Viper's always been kind of a second phase ban for...
against the Quap most of the time, because if you pick Quap and you don't leave Viper, I mean if you leave Viper in the pool after, like generally the opposing team would try to pick Viper against Quap.
Yeah, so Secret, one of the first teams we're seeing, at least here on the mainstream, to secure that right away after seeing
Yeah.
Quap. I mean, in general, I guess we haven't seen Quap really either.
They banned it as
oddly
well. Like the last game, when they picked Quap, they banned
Yes.
Viper in the second
Yeah,
phase.
so-
So it shows you the mentality of the team. They don't want Viper against Quap, and when they pick it, they try to make sure that it doesn't happen to them
Right.
as well.
Very
And
good.
it seems this pairing of cores for Secret is one they like to go to, the Gyro plus
Yeah.
Viper. They've used it multiple times before.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the idea is that Viper is a very tanky frontliner, so Viper forces a fight to happen where the enemy team has to engage onto itself, and then that sets up for a really easy call down, some good flat cannon burst, and just generally draws attention to itself across the game so that the Gyro can get farm. And
It's also lane dominating.
Yeah, lane
it's a lane
dominating.
dominator, and
Yeah.
it's less farm dependent too. So
Yeah.
Gyro can take the whole map, and it's okay because the
Yeah.
mid laner doesn't need to get a lot of items. So I
And
like that pairing.
Generally, they pair Zai into a team fight composition hero when they have Viper and Gyro, like Dark's here. So
okay.
they have a lot of combination play available if they go down that route again.
All right. IG, meanwhile, securing Razor before we go into the second phase of the ban.
So IG themselves have good lanes. Like Razor and Quap are known for being good at lanes as well. So like both sides with the first 4 picks are prioritizing heavily on having good lanes and having a good early game. That's generally a good thing for IG.
Yeah.
Being aggressive early and having good lanes. Having good lanes means that your support can roam a lot.
There you go.
Yep.
Yes, and that's what we've been talking about. You guys have been mentioning that's what we want to see from IG to see if they can change the pace a little bit, put Secret, or put some pressure on Secret, rather.
Yeah, last game I feel like they really didn't have too much kill potential in the lanes, and that's
Yeah, it was Zeus and Bloodseeker. Yeah, the other 2 lanes.
Yeah.
So Bloodseeker is like you can only roll maybe if he reaches 6 or a potential dive happens to Bloodseeker and you TP in. Otherwise, it's really hard to get early kills when you have Bloodseeker as a mid hero.
Yeah, and I mean, especially against the Queen of Pain. And of course, the support duo having to do something with that. But as you said, Chuan having a lot more success. He's known for his Enchantress as well as his Sand King, I think, is one of his best heroes. It wasn't the greatest pick last game because Tombstone is very difficult to fight into as a Blink hero. But in general, I think that those type of heroes are the ones that he's best with. And, you know, he like sets up the foundation because Burning doesn't actually move as much as most other carries. So
Yeah, if you compare it to, remember the game, Sylar was Gyro?
yeah.
He TP'd in when he didn't even have mana for ulti, just one Rocket Barrage, but he
Yeah.
TP'd in and he got 2 kills. Like, you would see that less from Burning.
Right. All right, Dazzle also being taken out, and Darkseer being banned out by Secret.
Yeah, that's not expected. I thought they were actually going to go for it, but it might actually mean they want something else. They might want something like a hard lockdown for the co-op, or something that can, do better against co-op. I'm not sure what at this point. What else does he play? They can do well against co-op and Razor. Like, there's still Clock. Clock and Gyro work well together, but it's not very good at killing Queen of Pain. It's decent against Razor.
It's always Nyx, I think. So. But
I'm
he's
still
not
trying
that
to
great
understand why they banned the Darkseer.
But I'm not sure why. I'm really not sure
It's
why.
very,
It's weird.
very uncharacteristic.
Like, usually you ban it if the opponent has some superior combo. Like you see from the first 2 picks that they have something that has very huge implications with the vacuum. Otherwise, you don't actually ban it.
Yeah, because I mean it's a very combo dependent
Yeah.
hero. So
It's possible that they want to get rid of it because they don't want to have a support commit as much to annoying the Darkseer out of lane. He's a very self-sufficient offlaner and can actually get a lot if you don't constantly pay attention to him. And even if you don't, or even if you do, rather, you still have to deal with the Ion Shell. So maybe this is a way for Secret to be like, okay, we just want to open up our supports. We don't want to deal with that offlaner. We want to have a lane where Gyro can actually win, for sure. Because Darkseer can tie with Gyro. He can just creep skip. You know, he can just cut the wave.
I actually think that might be a reason. Broodmother, because they banned Darkseer and X.
oh, okay. Yeah,
that
and
might
Brood
actually
did
be
get
the
banned.
Oh
reason.
yeah, now they're
Okay.
Yeah,
and there we
okay.
go.
Totally forgot
catch.
about Brood. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
Because it was
Broodmother-
so weird. Why would they ban Darkseer? Then my brain was like, something is off. Then I realized they didn't ban Brood. So
yeah.
But they didn't know that when they banned Darkseer, right? They could have banned Brood over Wisp.
Yeah, they
That's
could
why
have.
it looked weird. Like, the Axe ban makes perfect sense when you see the Brood pick, but it's just...
yeah, it could be they're trying to
That's-
set up the Brood. You know,
Yeah.
They might be trying.
And
okay,
then if they do ban the Brood and the Darkseers, I was like, okay, we basically traded one ban for one ban then. So it's not really
Right.
a bad trade in
Yeah.
either case. So.
But Secret does get their way with the Broodmother.
This
so.
is a problem for IG.
this is a big problem. They need supports that Co-op does okay. I'd say you don't exactly win the lane, but you can defend your tower basically. But it's difficult to sustain in the lane as Co-op against Brood in the long run. So that's not a long-term solution.
Yeah, I think it's better to put him in the mid, throw Luo on the Razor, and then try and have another way to deal
Wow,
with the Brood.
Bounty again, but Bounty is a bit worrisome though. Like, if you're even in the game is even and you're able to get tracked, then Bounty is able to deal with Broodmother that way. But if you get roll over in the lane, because Bounty doesn't do anything in the lane against Brood, so that might be a problem. But another good factor about having the Bounty is they have strong lanes, right? They have co-op, so Bounty might be able to set up something in the other lanes.
I mean, we've seen the run like Bristol a fair amount. I think even with the Darkseer and the Axe banned out, there's still a fair amount of heroes that can deal with them
there's still a
decently.
couple of good heroes,
Yeah.
like maybe Tide, but
Sand King, Tide,
it's,
LC.
it's
I
about
think
the
is okay.
lineup they have though. What fits their lineup?
But they still, I think they want the Quap to lane against Brood, because they want the Razor to go mid against Viper.
Yeah.
They don't want Quap versus
Yeah,
Viper matchup.
that's true
That's
as
like
well.
the worst matchup.
Well,
for
they can
Quap,
also
so.
put Luo on Queen of Pain. If they
Yeah,
want.
they
That
could run an
depends
offlane
on-
Quap.
yeah,
I
depends
think
on the
offlane
lane.
I
Quap
just think the
is not-
Queen versus Brood matchup is it's not that good for. Queen
It's
of
not that good, but it's also not awful. So if you have like one support that can help out a little bit in the start, give Quap a head start, then you could probably work around it. And, yeah, we'll see.
Wow.
Okay, now it's
Wow.
hard for Quap.
It's hard. This
This is a problem for Quap.
this is Spirit Breaker, which means that the other lanes would have problems too.
So
So
we're-
like both sides have one roaming support, Bounty versus Spirit Breaker, but it will see who has the better lanes. And for now, I feel Secret has more flexibility in the lanes because Broodmother is a problem. They have to assign a dedicated hero for that, and you know, it's not fun to play against that with their lineup right now.
So at this point, they need to find someone to just fill that role.
I don't know
being able
about
to hold
you
Brute
know,
back. I mean, is that the situation IG?
They might need a support like something like a Sand King, some support that can deal with Brute, you know.
Right.
It's just no matter what they pick, it's going to be an exceptional, stressful game because
Yeah.
you constantly have to deal with Brood. There's constantly going to be Spirit Breaker charging your solos, and then you need to like, okay, so where's my support actually going to be? I can't protect mid and fight off Brood at the same time. And then in addition to that, they have 2 solos in their own lanes, like Viper and Gyro, who are expected
to pick
win.
something
So
that's
this is
self-sustained,
really
you know, self-sufficient against the Brute. So you don't have the problem where the supports have to be here, they have to be in
Good
mid.
call, Ben.
Yeah.
Sick prediction. I would have
Awesome.
never
Alright.
guessed that.
Would you consider that self-sustained like against Brute?
Yes.
Yeah, you've seen it a lot.
It is.
actually.
So
Okay.
Especially from the Chinese teams. It's just leave Bristle back alone and focus on the other lanes. It's pretty much a 4-on-4 and a 1-on-1 in the
Yeah,
bottom.
but without the IO, I think he might run into mana problems. Might want to get like sometimes you see players get an early bottle, like something to address that issue because you're up against Brute. Mana is always a thing that you're going to be constantly using in the lane against the
Right.
Brute lanes.
Yeah.
Okay, Bane being banned out again by Secret.
But in general, I think you want 2 heroes that can deal well with. I guess Queen of Pain and Razor can.
Yeah, they are like sort of okay
Yeah.
with the spam they have to deal with the Brute link. So I'd say, all in all, their lineup at the moment seems alright against Brute. I mean, the cost obviously is alright.
So is there any hero that can make this lineup from Secret more nightmarish? Because you guys, every hero pick so far has just been getting progressively
Techies.
worse.
Nightmare.
Techies.
Oh my.
Man, you said nightmare.
Oh. If they actually do that. It's like that's the point. You're just like
Don't worry, it won't happen. Don't worry.
Yeah.
you don't even want to play the game. It's like whatever. We'll take the O2, but keep our morale high for our next
Yeah, there you
series.
go. that does sound like not a bad idea, actually.
It's really frustrating. Yeah, but I agree. They're definitely not going to grab it.
Okay.
Okay,
CM.
that's actually strengthening the Brute mana pick a lot.
Yeah.
Aura.
Mm.
It's a huge difference. A Brute with Aura and without. Like you're actually able to dominate the lane much more with the Aura.
Even a Spirit Breaker, I think, with the aura.
Yeah,
is a
obviously
pretty
it
big-
helps. It helps in the early few levels where you have a very limited mana pool. Definitely.
Yeah, I think their whole theme is like self-sufficient all 3 lanes and try and capitalize on
And
the one that's
CM
the
is like
weakest.
jungling.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm giving you mana support.
Yeah. There you go.
I am
mean, I'm sure-
helping.
I remember Dota 1, it used to be a strat level Crystal Maiden into 7 and then quote-unquote disconnect. Oh, we lost our Crystal Maiden. What a shame. We get more gold.
Number 1 strats right there. And Lina being picked up for IG just to round things out. Doesn't sound like it's really going to change the dynamic too much.
A support that has nukes to deal with the Brute links. I guess
Right.
it's kind of good in that sense. And they have another form of burst damage to kill stuff. So it's obviously a good thing to have that.
Okay, so let's assess the situation. Is it questionable at best, or is it just an absolute nightmare right now for IG? Winter, please let us know.
I think they have to be very cautious at dealing with the Brute. If the Brute gets out of control, they wouldn't be able to take care of the other lanes, and Spirit Breaker would be like charging left and right, top, center, whatnot. Then the lanes would fall apart from them if that happens. So the Brute is a very key piece in this puzzle for Secret.
So things have swapped a little bit now. It's IG who has to watch out for the early game, whereas originally we were
Yeah.
suggesting that, hey, you should put their
They
aggression on
should be
Team Secret.
taking the initiative.
But yeah, now they
I mean,
actually just have
they
to
can
survive
still
in order
take
to
the
have a shot.
initiative with Bounty, don't get me wrong. So
But you could just tell in the draft that the Brute pick just threw them off.
Yeah,
Yeah, you could-
completely.
yeah, you
like
could
they start
definitely see
taking
that.
way longer for the picks and bans, and it's like they need to repair constantly the draft.
Yeah.
How do we repair our draft so we're not in trouble?
Yeah,
and
definitely
that's always
threw
a
us for a little bit of a loop too. So game 2, can IG survive the early game and then even try to get that win against Team Secret? We're about to find out.
Channel for your viewing pleasure or audio pleasure.
Nightmare
Here
techies.
for our game number 2 of Team Secret versus Invictus Gaming. It is the second round of the group's day 1.
I'm Wagamama, and this is Toby1 CSGO.
Hi!
The high started, and then he looks over.
Alright, damn you, Waga! Such a troll. Such a troll. Yes, I'm a Valve boy.
Oh, did he get spotted? when he
yeah,
did that?
they saw him
Faith-
quickly.
Yeah, Faith was just barely spotted, so I think they're gonna deward that.
Very deep ward on the high ground too on the Radiant side. But do they? There's one Sentry Ward and the Viper.
Yeah, he has the Sentry and the Observer, so they know where the Observer went down. He's got to go there and deward this right now, I believe. Like,
Does he place it closer to the lane as well? He might be worried it's like in this like random spot a little bit further up on the hill.
Yeah, he's not entirely sure where it is, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe he didn't actually realize the bounty warded there, but he definitely saw the bounty run away. So maybe he thought it was a mind game or something.
The secondary sentry is also on Zai. So in case they put a sentry in his lane.
Arteezy gonna run away here on bottom as he has no way of stealing this rune. Ferrari gonna get it.
And S4 takes the one for the mid. So everything going as foreseen.
Oh, already dust on Spirit Breaker, by the way. So if you want to try cheeky business in the beginning of the game here as a bounty hunter, be prepared to get punished by Spirit Breaker.
SP might be a little bit sad though, because he can't do the pull. So he won't be able to have bash from the first one. He'll only be able to get charged.
The puppy courier service on the mid lane. He's actually delivering, running out with the
funny thing is, he's here, but S4's not ready to take it. He's like, just take some damage at Ferrari. Well, starts off to start. Actually, he goes with a static link, but takes a lot of damage for his trouble.
That's not worth it at all for Ferrari. I mean, he stole plenty of damage, making...
Oh, Sentry Ward's Faith, so quick.
Yeah, the tangle.
Yep, that's the only way he would be able to get rid of both the Observer and the Sentry Ward. He got both of them in that short space of time.
That was a big play. That was a big play. He also has his ward remaining on mid lane, so very good, winning the mid ward war. And now he's going to make his way down to bottom where there's no pull available. But he's going to try and find a chance on Arteezy.
The only issue he's got is the fact that he's basically out of mana. Like, you might have a Sentry Ward available, but he's just used his last priority. They charge on Chuan, but it's Arteezy initiated on Burning. It's a good start. The flag cannon, the damage. Kuro should be able to get the revenge kill over on the Lina, which is nice for his levels. Unfortunately for him, though, he lost his core.
Yeah, lost your core there, and the first blood as well, as Arteezy gets brought down first. Very nice timing there by the bounty hunter to get all the way down there after dewarding. Already having good impact. Top lane, we haven't talked about it much. It's just Bristleback laning up against the Broodmother.
Yeah, no one should really die on this top lane.
No, it's not lane. I mean, sooner or later, we're going to expect the Broodmother to take over the jungle and farm. Actually, Luo is going pretty aggressive here and just spamming. Sai can't farm under his own tower here. This is very nice play by Luo.
But you're still going to be able to web, and you got Salve and everything else, so it's not going to be much of a problem for him.
Yeah, sooner or later he's going to be able to farm. It's just the cool spray spam is very, very real.
Yeah, not to mention the regeneration. It's nice having that little mango on the Bristleback, so if times do get tough, he can just get that quick 150 mana back again.
I never knew I loved mangoes until I played Dota. It's like, do I like mangoes? Never tried.
I would love a mango right now.
Yeah.
Need some mana.
I have a little restaurant close to my home. They
Called
give
mangoes?
No, they give mangoes when you buy something. Always a mango.
That's an amazing restaurant.
Yeah.
That's the Swedish healthy living right there.
So good. Oh, they're going bottom again?
Yep, there's the charge. And Chuan actually knocking back both Burning and Faith, but
Arteezy!
Arteezy, once again, so much focus damage when they go on him, and Chuan's still not dead. Where's that 17%?
he has the stun again.
Kuro can't find it. The Last Record Ray will be off target. There goes your dust. They see Faith and Puppey. Turns for the Frostbite, but Faith not taking enough damage to find a kill here. And Spirit Breaker, not enough mana or life to re-engage in.
Yeah, very good, but the Queen didn't aggressively blink there as well, as Arteezy was respawning and TPing in, so well played by IG. They're really doing well in this aggressive lane with the Queen of Pain, playing well around it, and Faith once again being part of kills.
2 deaths to Arteezy. 2 deaths.
Yeah, that's a terrible start for him. And we saw a game earlier where the Gyrocopter, if it gets a hard start, it's pretty tough to recover as a Gyrocopter compared to some other like Shadow Fiend, other heroes that we think are so easy always to recover.
They want to have a little bit of crack here at S4. Faith pinged it out. He's got Janata off cooldown.
No HP though.
Yeah, not a lot, but I thought it was just going to be enough of a setup when Razor would combine, but his static link was on cooldown, hence no movement forward.
Yeah, really. Bottom lane is still very aggressive here, and
they're charging top. The SP's coming over for Luo. Now, Luo's got the highest CS on the board. Now, this is a little bit...
Luo is a tough kill.
Yeah. Like, he's taking a lot of Spire links, but he's still got 300 net worth advantage over Zai. So they might be able to charge him in directly. You've got 3-level spawn Spire links, but there's no mana for it. No real reward.
Yeah. I was thinking, like, that's a very tanky hero. He has 2 points in Bristleback, and he has the Porma shield. And then he has a magic wand on top of that, so if you spam spells near him, he's going to have that available as well. mid now. An attempt here. DD Queen of Pain behind S4.
It's only got 1 point up in Scream, however, so it's going to have to be all physical damage. And you got the SP ready to charge in to help him out. In fact, yep,
DD
there it
Room
comes
brings
on
a lot,
Burning.
though.
He's going to bump back Ferrari close to the plaza field. Not enough damage to kill off S4, but actually, I take it all
Puppy?
back. With the attack, it's enough. That's 126 damage
Ferrari.
of stolen. And Puppy, he knows he's in the trees. Plaza
Oh,
Field's in 2
God.
seconds. He'll run in, but the Frostbite. Puppy's looking for revenge. Kuro's going to come in. This is not worth it for Ferrari. Fate's in the neighborhood, but the bash from Kuro, not even a bash, just a normal hit,
Yeah.
finds the pickoff.
He just hits really strong, honestly, and he brings down a solo kill onto the Razor. 500 gold for the Spirit Breaker there, or 489. Very good start for him. I mean, he's 2-0-0. So despite the fact that the bottom fights have been going poorly, at the very least, at the cost of Arteezy, the Spirit Breaker is doing well.
And the Spirit Breaker is one of those heroes where you really, you could do some Akuria. Yeah. Edgy worked it out as Zai starts to creep skipping.
Yeah, you're gonna do this always as Broodmother. Just take over behind the tower and then run in and farm the entire jungle. You can get so much farm going.
Kuro's been forced to burn through a lot of mana. Now, he doesn't have a lot of regeneration on him, but he'll have passive regeneration. Now he's finished the urn.
Yeah, the urn is so amazing as well. When you have that, you just want to have one aggressive charge available always and use the second one to heal yourself after you take your fight. Man, these wards by IG are so good. I haven't really stopped to mention that, but they see everything that's going on really right now. They see Puppy and his jungling, they see Arteezy, and hence they're on him already. And they're gonna go.
Live so hard with Burning with a blink in. Faith, however, taking a huge amount of damage. He's still visible because of the charge.
Spirit
from
Breaker
Spirit
wants
Breaker.
that. Oh, they salve him. No, they bottle him.
He can't get it. Kuro
Yeah.
knows it.
They heal him up. Very nice there. Man, vision is like half the game when it comes to Dota. Knowing where your enemy are makes it so much more easier to make good decision making.
I love how Puppy's actually got the 4th most pro games on it. That's because he was playing it from the very start of Dota 2. Ferrari now to charge in. Kuro, 17% works for him, and they got more support with the Rocket Barrage. Puppy is the man who takes the last hit. And
Yeah.
rightly so, because that Crystal Maiden is completely naked of items.
Yeah, actually has nothing. It's like watching a courier. Well, this Spirit Breaker is bringing a lot of damage to every time they go on someone, because he's already level 5, and when he has level 6, he's gonna bring even more with their ulti.
I just want to keep my eyes still on top lane. I know we said there was going to be no kills here, but Broodmother's found just as much farm as this Bristleback.
Yep.
So the Bristleback's going to be really tanky, but what does a Broodmother do? You've got almost 1,600 gold on a Broodmother. Is this a Necro Book game because you're going up against a hero like a Bristleback? Or do you think Orchid? What's the goal here?
I think this is definitely a good Necrobook game, especially as there's the Bounty Hunter as well, because he's going to be looking for you when you're the Broodmother.
True.
So just popping your Necrobook and clearing of wards, and then maybe you can find a kill on the Bounty Hunter as well. And it does add an amazing push, and Necros are just pretty strong in general.
Well, right now he's just got Treads as well as Soul Ring.
Yeah, we'll see where he wants to go in. I don't believe it's a Dagon game, really, when you're against these heroes. Maybe against the Lina, you can keep feeding on her, of course. He's looking to go mid and kill her.
Yep, coming right for Chuan. Okay, well that's one easy way to get an easy pick off. And the SB doesn't actually finish the charge, but they chase after Ferrari. Zaya's right behind him. There's no points up in Bite or Insatiable Hunger. So they don't have support like this, but they can just try and force the Tier 1 towers. This feels like a play of Game 1 again. You feel a little bit behind, and then the Tier 1 towers of IG just start falling apart for no trade.
Yeah, definitely. And Kuro gets spotted out here, but can they do much? The TP in the Bristleback, the strongest hero, getting him to a front. Burning, chasing after Kuroki, but he's gonna charge away.
Down to the bottom lane. You might get the Shadow Strike, but you've managed to drag all 5 players from IG to the mid. And you've still got the Broodmother having great fun on top, and now the Spirit Breaker is going to find more space on bot lane too.
The thing is that the Broodmother moves so quickly from lane to lane as well, because she just runs in mid and then all the way back up to top quickly and easily, whereas IG, they TP'd in mid to defend there. They bring everyone, as you say, and that gives Brood more space to farm.
You actually look at the line of webs.
Yeah.
It's this perfect little chain line.
And with the new mechanic, she can easily remove the webs that she used to get there and keep the ones that she wants, instead of just automatically removing the oldest one, which was terrible. That's the way it used to be.
Well, hello, Ferrari. That's a lot of spiders around you, and, well, the attacks will begin. Static Link's going to be there, but all Zai's got to do is just run himself away.
I mean, he's pestering him, right? It's just so frustrating for Ferrari right now.
They drop sentry wards. They see Zai, but Chuan doesn't have an ultimate, and Faith doesn't have track. So he's keeping 3 players focused on him while S4 was able to dish some damage to the mid.
Yeah, it's all about that space that he's bringing to him. Doing a really good job with that.
Solid off lane and rewarded by having the highest net worth. But the next 3 net worth still belongs to
bottom.
IG. Are they actually...
Almost.
Here in the Nether Strike go, but burning with the blink away.
Yeah, if he got the Nether Strike on him after the blink, that could actually have been a kill. Or if he just 17%ed that a little bit, but he didn't have time to cast the ulti.
Oh, hello, Luo.
Yeah.
Zai's keeping his army of Spiderlings separate. Doesn't want to get them all cool sprayed up. There's a lot of stacks as well being prepared for IG once again. So that's a quad stack of Ancients. But there's also stacks inside the Radiant jungle as now Kuro having a crack at Chuan, but slowed down. Sonic Wave, he doesn't have life to survive this. They have 1,300 life to get through, and they're able to do so.
Yeah, Faith comes in there and he's just throwing that out. And mid actually, a little bit of a fight and a TP out attempt.
Not with Zai coming in.
So many spiders. Gets brought down by them.
And this means the tier 1 tower's lost too. They actually mopping up. Actually can't kill the Spiderlings. So the Spiders will finish the tower. The TP will now come in from the Bristle back. So one more spray and he'll get a crap ton of money. But at the same time, Frostbitten up. And you've still got Zai in the front lines. He is now realizing tracked. So this is causing some problems for him.
I mean, he's still very fast. He can just run straight back.
Lewis
is like, I wonder if there's anyone in the world who can fight me right now. He's just running across the map looking for someone who can face off against this Vanguard, Basilius, Bristleback.
Who's actually building the mech for them? I'm assuming it's going to be Faith at some point.
Yeah, maybe.
Because Bristleback got the Vanguard.
I mean, it's very popular in general to buy mech on Bounty Hunter as of late, and just going for mech and mana boots. It's
and then
Slash
Reeves
way.
at some later point.
Yeah, Slash's way, Guardian Grief Rush. It's actually very effective. I played against a lot of Bounty Hunters who tried the build. It's not bad at all. But at some point, you want to have the Medallion or Solar Crest more than you want to have the Guardian Greaves. And I think it's not always the best choice. So, Broodmother still farming the enemy jungle. Can't do much against the Bristleback.
Just chilling and relaxing a little bit further out. Just keep finding the money. Like, you got so much of it on the map. There's so many neutral camps that you can just take out. And when you're ready, have a crack. And he's going to go for a Yasha. So it looks like a more of an SMY or possibly just a Mana Star build to break free of the track. And when Sentry Wall is down for the Radiant side,
that's a nice...
Faith is destroyed so quickly.
Yeah, that's a nice sentry to have there for the Broodmother, so he can actually get that pick off. And
the rest of Secret's moving up. Like, IG's in position. They're going to find Luo. A quick charge up could do the work. Zai starting his TP, and there's a lot of damage.
He doesn't have any anyone to air his
Meanwhile, on the bottom, though, S4's pushing. He was waiting for Burning to be a little bit more aggressive. Now, Burning moves all the way up to the Secret Shop, and Kuro doesn't give up on the charge. He just wants to say to Burning, remember, I actually belong here. Oh, he actually got the 17%, but with Chuan TPing in, how much damage has he got? And he's another bash, won't find it. The Plaza Field will come in. Burning will survive.
Oh, they're chasing Arteezy as well. He's tracked up, and they're really fast chasing after him.
He's got cooldown, though. He's got called down into a rocket barrage in a moment with S4 around the corner. Fate's going to be low. The Janata will bounce around, but they're just so high in life. The mech is still here from S4 too. He'll trigger it out and then start his TP. Arteezy won't be so lucky. The Sonic Wave will help to get the kill. And IG moved everyone from top down to bottom.
Yeah, that's an important track kill as well. But of course, Broodmother will be looking to take a tower and trade there. But getting track kills and just taking this action is what IG wants. So a little bit too aggressive by Kuroki there, diving so deep. Can't blame him for believing, though. I mean, we saw yesterday, he paid dividends for the Spirit Breaker to just charge in.
Yeah. And it could have worked. Like, if Chuan didn't TP in as quick as he did and had level 6 when he did, then that probably would have been successful for the Spirit Breaker and 100% worth it.
It was a pretty risky play, but
here comes the charge again. Down the middle. This time he's going in for Chuan, looking for some sweet, sweet revenge. No Nether Strike available. He's trying to slow him down. Can't find one. The call down will connect, slowing down Chuan, but Ferrari's taking 105 points of damage here, and it's still starting to tick up. And with Luo on the front lines, Puppey just has to let it go. One more attack. The bash, pushing him back. Puppey almost gets a full duration. Ferrari, he's going to drop his arrest of Secret. They've already arrived, burning the Soul Survivor once again, and they scouted out the Ancients.
Yeah, and Broodmother's just starting to like, hey, can I kill Ancients? And he's very smartly targeting down the mother dragons first as they kill the babies. The splash damage of the dragons, but this is very hard for him to steal alone. He's gonna get the help of Gyrocopter. Amazing fight there, bringing in the Broodmother behind the enemy lines as well. It was really big for him. And yes, Razor stole a lot of damage, but who did he steal it from? He did not steal it from the important heroes. He stole it from the Spirit Breaker.
And who did he inflict it on? Like, he hit Crystal Maiden twice and still couldn't kill her before almost the entire duration ulti went.
Exactly what we were talking about, right? That puppy, he will channel his ulti and he's like, yeah, you guys can kill me, but my team will take care of you.
He found the perfect tree position.
Yeah.
No vision available for IG.
He did.
There's a charge going on Faith at the moment. That's a long charge back from home, but Arteezy starts the call down once again. He will be popped, but look at Zai. He takes out Chorn. They move down to Faith, and then pushing, burning back. No blink available for him. And it's just 3-for-1 trade-off. Arteezy, he's almost playing this gyro like he used to play the Drow Ranger.
Yeah, pretty much, actually. It's very similar. And I like this way that Zai is playing his Broodmother. 6-0-1. He's like taking part of as many fights as he can. Just getting in there because he's hard to deal with. He's also rushing Manta Style to get rid of the track.
Already finished. 15-minute Manta.
Exactly. Very quick Manta Style there. So really, really nice for him. And they keep winning these fights. A lot of it is attributed to the Broodmother.
Well, she's always there at the right time. And man, it actually kind of like gives me also flashbacks to the way that EG, like I know that's actually when TZ was playing his Drow Ranger in the mid, but the way like Sumail gets killed and then you're like, yeah, we're winning right now. Then you realize, oh wait, there's two other cores in this game that are doing some heavy lifting.
Exactly.
And
There's
you've already
more
got
going on.
you got a Viper with a mech. Treads and Ring of Aquila 15 minutes in, and you can buy the point booster as well. So the Act is rapidly approaching, and the highest net worth is 8.4k on a Broodmother.
Yeah, and as you said, the Aghanims will be amazing in this game as well, because against a Viper, against a Razor, against a Bristleback, putting that ulti on them, slowing them down so much is really, really good. Two smokes now going in, and they actually smoke into each other.
The Fate's going to break it. He's actually invis the moment, but then your Dust with the Frostbite, you might have your track going, but they just instantly pick off the Bounty Hunter and retreat back out again Invictus Gaming. Now, Luo is visible underneath the Radiant Observer Ward, but really, Secret don't care that much. They're here for the Tier 1 tower on bot lane.
Yeah, Secret, I mean, not the biggest pickoffs to find the Bounty Hunter there, but they'll take it. I mean, both teams use the smoke and they get a kill out of it and nothing else happens. They're going to be able to maybe pressure this tower bottom, meanwhile, having a Broodmother on top.
Yeah, and that's probably like the more critical point of the statement. In fact, you've got pressure on the bottom lane to the Tier 1 tower. IG, if you rotate too many people down here to deal with this, the Brood just takes your top tower.
Yeah.
And then who have you got that can still battle directly against the Broodmother?
They don't have anyone that can really solo against the Broodmother at this point.
I think S4's realized that he went a hand of Midas 17 minutes in.
That's fine, actually. On Viper, this is one of the heroes that you can go for a later Midas, just so that you stay relevant. Because you have your mech, that's very crucial, getting that up nice and early so you can win the team fights. But after that, it's really only about building attack speed and farming tools. So Yasha is normally the item, but Midas works just as fine.
Faith is in a very, very tight position. He's between two different sentry
They're
walls
trying to bait
already
him.
inside. Yeah, they would love it.
He sees them. Like, look, it's so awkward.
Well, he knows.
Looking to the left, they have a observer ward.
He's got 2 cents of himself, and yeah, that observer ward, just seeing all. But the Radiant Observer Ward from Secret in the lane also sees just as much. They throw it on the Sentry Ward, but it's too far away. So the charge begins, and Faith hangs around a little bit too long. Kuro doesn't commit, however. He'll get tracked up, and then they just hold back.
Yeah, he's just gonna back off. Meanwhile, there's a big Brood army on the top lane as well. So if they can just mount some pressure on bottom, Viper finding a DD rune here on top lane as well is very nice for him.
Actually, I can't believe no one made a Spiderling plushie for the TI store. Just came to mind. Like, we got a little puck head, but where are my little broodlings?
Do you want to rest your head on this spider?
I think you would, man. Especially when it looks that cute.
I haven't actually seen it, so I'm not gonna judge.
It looks nice. Alright. But yeah, Zai's just taking all the farm out from IG2. So even if you want to pop over, like, you're looking at burning. There's another Queen of Pain trying to rush a Scythe of Ice, but you're not going to find your last 2700 without putting yourself at high risk.
I mean, S4 had his by now, just saying.
S4 also had possibly the fantastic, like the greatest start of ever, where this Queen of Pain is 117.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's different games.
Faith sees the Sentry Ward. He wants to get rid of this.
That is actually a very interesting stat. Average freezing field damage per player normally is around 1490, whereas Puppy more than doubles that in his average game. That is pretty cool.
That might also be because of the people he plays with. I mean, like, you know, I don't want to care about the Crystal Maiden. I want to care about everyone else that's trying to kill me.
Yeah, it could definitely be so. Other than him, I would also say that Ake is one of the players that understand how to position your Crystal Maiden so that you get really, really high value out of the freezing field. Because it's all about, as you said last fight, hiding between the trees, trying to put yourself where you're not in vision, and starting off the ulti. People will just realize, oh wait, I'm dying. Where's that frosty bitch?
Zai. Faith's right behind him, so at least that'll reveal it, but they've got no way to kill him. Like, even if they try.
Yeah, it's too hard. Since he has the Manta style available at all times as well, he can always just remove the track or
Yep, he's going
whatever.
for Ferrari. That's a big, big Spiderling army right behind him. Starts off with the insatiable hunger, and Ferrari just so low. The Spires are chasing down a little bit further, but they move back over to Chuan. Sai going to get himself a little bit further away, but then again, he's going to kill Ferrari. 1 second and spawn Spiderlings. He just wants to regen. So hide in the tree lines. Ferrari will TP himself out to safety. And now Zai, with a little bit of time, he could actually kill off Chuan when Chuan retreats.
This is actually hilarious. He would probably have killed him actually if he just held on to spawn Spiderling a little bit longer, because it's a Razor.
There goes the Brood.
You get purged.
And now Zai.
He sees him.
No, he's still on the other side of the tree line. He doesn't have vision there.
Yeah.
But bottom lane, they have vision there. Charge coming on Burning, so they can keep the vision when he blinks away. And that means you can get range of the Frostbite from Puppey, and that'll cancel the TP out. Burning, dead to the world.
That was a nice pickoff for them as well. The kill going the way of S4, who's started to build up his Aghanims, and he's already halfway there. This Midas working out pretty well for him, as he's looking very good on his item progression mid now.
Yes, Ferrari being charged, Zai with the Mana Star triggering out, and he's starting to link one of the illusions, but Puppey with the ulti going to go to work. Ferrari actually now moved down to throw Faith, and that's where your dust will trigger, and this is Secret. The snowball has begun, and Tuskar was even banned.
Yeah, this is really looking pretty grim already. Just the control that Zai has on this game, because no one can go up against him, no one can touch him.
Yep.
He has 4,000 gold after his Manta style.
Now we can see that Necro book.
Yeah, and Roshan could be a very easy pick here. Necro into Assault Cuirass would be a pretty normal build for a Manta style, but he's gonna go for Radiance.
Wait, what? This
This is nice. Or Abyssal Blade. You know, it's possible, but when you have Manta style, why not go for Radiance?
Yeah, Radiance makes sense when you're just going to make life a living hell for... Like, Chuan will have no presence in this game. Yeah.
If you wanted to go Abyssal, I think you go Basher first anyway. Like,
YG, they're coming in to contest Roshan, but Roshan already dead before it starts. Call down. Luo well far out of position, and they're getting on multiple sides. We can't just keep his back turned on the entire time. Sonic Wave will fly, even a double damage rune. Arteezy balls it up. He'll actually lose the Aegis to the Immortal.
but he kept the DD.
He did keep the DD.
Oh, Spirit Breaker keeping up here, chasing after Burning, almost getting him 17. No.
No chance for the 17%, but he can stay on the back of Faith. But he does have Dust available, so the second Faith goes invis, he can trigger that. But the distance, charge, he needs vision again, and he lost it.
Yeah.
Faith actually able to have time on his side this time.
They know roughly where he is. He's gonna try the YOLO Dust, but it does not hit him.
Right.
And he's probably gonna run away from
Maybe
here.
time to put a gem on the Viper.
It could be. Oh, the courier's coming in here. Does he see it? He sees it now. He's gonna turn. He goes for it. He got it.
Got him.
Sanchiasha was delivered at least to the gyrocopter, but they don't have enough vision against this this bounty hunter. So Faith doing a lot of work here.
Is there a sentry? There's a sentry on the other side of the river.
Yeah.
But that's it. And Puppey, he's going to try and stack now, and he might think he's just screwed it up, but there's an observer wall that's blocking up that ancient pull.
Oh yeah.
So he get actually no, it doesn't.
What?
It doesn't block. It's too far to the west.
Oh yeah. If you place it a little bit to the right, it will actually block. It's misplaced slightly.
Yeah.
That's a very good sentry ward spot then. If you want to de-ward the ancients, that's exactly what you want to put a sentry on, but not the if you want to block the ancients.
No. Yeah.
Oh god, he found a DD when he wants to clear the ancients. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he had it set before.
Yep, that was the one he
Activated
took. For the hello, Faith, Chuan, everyone, they're coming in. They go on Arteezy. Quick call down. She doesn't even get it off. Tries to bottle charge first though, and that's gonna be a good track kill into Puppey. The ulti goes out from him. He managed to get in return the kill on the bounty hunter. But meanwhile in Rome, Zai is taking out the tier 2 tower, continuing his push. Bought his Radiance. Not finished on him yet.
Yeah.
But bought it.
Yeah, he does have it. And
They have to come back.
They have bought a new courier, bought a walking courier, and it's gonna deliver the Aghanims to S4. He can't wait for that old courier to respawn. Time for a new one.
It's a cheapie.
Yeah, it's just a temporary thing.
Shout out to all the Pinoys. Love them.
Pinot Dora?
That's the strat, man.
Dude, I had
Double
like
courier strat.
3 bottles and 5 couriers, and just slingshotting all that.
Vladimir's offering completed up for Spirit Breaker as well. So the high ground push is becoming more and more real for Secret. If Zai does... Does he still go Necro? Like when you're gonna get a Radiance like this, you almost feel like it should be a full hunt and control.
I think you go for Assault Cuirass still after this, or BKB. BKB would probably be the most smart and disciplined choice, and Assault Cuirass is the greedy choice.
Curry's got to turn around though.
Oh, they saw him, but they can't really bring him down. They don't have the stunts.
Yep.
Looking at all these 4 heroes, they don't have stun. They only have a support Lina who's not there. She also doesn't have anything else than Brown Boots.
It's also not a guaranteed hit.
Yeah.
Like, you can still Manta style dodge that.
Yeah, exactly. She doesn't have a Yule Scepter, doesn't have items, so it's very difficult for her.
So the reins is finally on Zai himself.
Yeah, he's gonna be more frustrating now, and also makes it annoying for the Bounty Hunter to stalk him now, because he's gonna take the burning damage.
It looks like Secret are getting ready to finish this. The Scythe of Defiance is finished over on the Queen of Pain, but this is a 25-minute Scythe, and that's all she really has. And the rest of Secret are ready to push. Manta, Medallions, Radiances, Mechs, Aghanim, Scepters, Vladimir's with Urns, Gyrocopter with an SMY, plus an extra Ogre Club, and they found an opening. They found Faith. Just a quick charge in.
He turns into 4 spider babies. He's gonna push now. He joined the winning team, dude.
Does he have buyback? He's got buyback and 2 gold.
Yeah, he's a bounty hunter though, and he really needs to not buy back. He's 300 gold away from the mech.
At the same time, IG need to see what's going on, and without track, that's very difficult.
Just Plasma Field and Dragon Slave that. There's no need to buy back. Just hold on to it. Tier 2 mid though can be hard to defend when the creeps get there, but it still has backdoor region, so.
And bottom. Bottom's pushing in by just the basic creep wave. Zai, Burning jumps in for the Hex. They start the static link, and Ferrari, a decent commitment, but now the call down with a Viper Strike. Ferrari's going to take it all, including the Rocket Barrage, down for the count. Luo too far up, and Puppey just walking forward. They're looking for extra ultis, in fact, hitting everything. And oh my, not even melting, man. Their Tootsies are frozen. IG. It is double the kill count the way of Secret, and an invitation to enter the base of IG.
Yeah. And that's a pretty nice invitation. It's nice and clean, nice and empty, a lot of space in there. Wow, they just brought them all down. They can't stop this Broodmother at all.
No.
And I like the fact that Arteezy, despite not having items, he just charged in as though he did. He's like, yeah, I'll probably live, and he just charges in. And he would die very quickly if Lina got to cast her ulti, if everyone just synchronized.
Yep.
But there was no chance. Spirit Breaker was charging in.
It came so quickly. Like that fight was over in like if you had like a countdown clock on it. Like I would be surprised if you even hit 2 seconds.
It was a fast fight.
From the initial damage to IG to when they were all dead.
Yeah, that was extremely fast. And that was 2 lanes of racks, and of course they're not gonna stop there. They're gonna keep going bottom. Roshan has still some time until he can even be up. They're just gonna go, I think.
Wow. Easy tier 2. Oh, it's burning. They're coming out to fight. Like
look at the 2 couriers delivering items.
They're just so busy.
When you're so rich, you have 2 couriers just flying out BKBs.
One BKB to Arteezy, and the other BKB goes to Puppey.
And you get a BKB.
Check under your seat at home. Everyone's got a BKB.
God. He almost has a Scotty on Broodmother now. What a disgusting creature.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
And
it's not just man. Like it's fully done.
Oh, he actually has it now.
Yep.
Nice.
So Secret have more life on the Broodmother than you have on the Razor and the Bristleback.
Yeah.
And then you also get a Lotus Orb over on the Spirit Breaker.
Oh, and that's good in this game. It's very good, because you can remove track with it. If you put it first, you can also get the bounty to track himself. Of course, returning Shadow Strike, Laguna Blade, what have you. There's a lot of good stuff.
What did Kuro just charge to then? He charged and then it just stopped. I'm assuming he hit the creep wave and not a hero.
What, you mean if you put Lotus Orb and someone charges?
Or? No. Kuro started charging from back at the base and then just stopped.
The creep wave died and there was nothing near it.
He mustn't be wanting to go to, okay, well, there's your quick switch. Zai, as a sentry ward right there, triggers off the mana style to start beating into Luo a little bit.
I mean, these spiders, the illusions with Radiance are actually just dealing a lot of damage to Tron. Look at his HP.
He's actually dead. That Viper Strike and the Radiance Burn's going to kill him. So there's no way to survive this. So just going in deep. And Puppey again with the BKB ulti, forcing Ferrari back. Luo's being focused down by Arteezy and Zai. Sonic Wave will do some work until Kuro just starts bashing, burning around. This is over. There's no way they can win. GG. Team Secret will 2-0 IG. After a disappointing start to the group stage where they went 1-1 up against Fnatic, they'll finally claim the full 3 points with a 2-0 victory over IG.
That's the favorite of this tournament, Secrets, showing their strength really. Like, there was no chance for IG in game 1. There was possibly, I'm not going to say less chance, but there was no chance in second game either.
Yeah, it felt really hopeless from the start, and everything worked for Secret. We'll have ourselves a break and be back here in a couple of moments' time for our third series of the day.
All right, so that wraps up our second match of the day. On this stream, of course, a couple other matches going on. But the second set, and Secret coming back 2-0 after their 1-1 tie against Fnatic, looking, I think, just as strong as most people expected. Of course, through not only us, but IG a little off with that Broodmother pick.
I think teams should take the PPD approach. Always ban it second phase, like every single time.
Yeah, and that's what we saw in most of our matches, or most of our games yesterday and today, right? Until this one. We've seen it, I think, banned almost in all of them, except for maybe one other match or something like that. But then this time it goes through, and they were just all on top of that. Secret was prepared. In fact, they seemed very ready and expecting it to kind of go through. They expected IG to forget about that ban against the Broodmother. They ran with it. On the side of IG, I mean, of course, an 0-2 loss, but day's far from over, and of course, the tournament is far from over. Winter, how do you feel about IG so far? This is our first time seeing them here at TI5.
I think they're really flustered though. Like you could see during the footage with Chuan, he was very obvious. He's very upset, like at a lot of things. When they were going through the replays and stuff. So I mean, it's definitely not a not a good way of having your team atmosphere for your first series. It's very negative. But hopefully after this, they would sort things out. And actually, I think the draft is their main issue in the last 2 games. So they would sort things out and get back to their old ways.
Okay, so when you say the draft is issues, then do you think, I mean, are we just coming back to the same point of they just try to stick to trying to go for something a little bit more aggressive early game, or you think there's just more to, I mean, is it simply the Broodmother ban
about
slipping
what
through?
they gave away, I think.
Okay.
Rather than their lineup. It's more about the Brood.
I'd agree with that. I personally don't think they had a bad draft in game 1. I actually think their draft against Secret was perfectly capable of winning that game. They got outplayed in that game. And in the second game, I think it was... They actually played better in the second game, but they very quickly just lost the grip on the map. It's what we said before the game even started. They're going to have multiple problems to address at the same time, and the moment you lose a little bit of focus or you make one mistake, that mistake doesn't just cost you a hero in a lane, it costs you a hero in another lane, or a tower, because of Brood. And, again, there were also a couple of moments of just flat-out brilliance from Secret in this.
Yeah.
A couple of team fights. I think especially Kuro, for me, was standout player in this game on his Spirit Breaker. Had a couple of more or less suicidal charges that actually won team fights where he gets like 3 or 4 heroes in the charge, sets up for Crystal Maiden Ultimate. A very uncharacteristic combination of spells, but worked beautifully for them. And in my book, Zai is the best Brood player in the world. And I would not give this hero to Secret because they utilize it in another way than every other team does. So at least most other teams, when you look at their play, Brood is a very static laner who doesn't, like, you just stick, you build a house, right? You build a house and then you stick around your house. But Zai keeps moving his house around.
You build many houses.
Yeah. So instead of building a house, he builds like a whole city from the top to the mid lane. And then he has like this railroad that he just takes in between. And he is very good at being active and cooperating with the team, where a lot of other teams you see Brood is like, the team is 4 and 5 and Brood is doing her thing in another lane. And they have found a way of incorporating it into the style very, very well. I think it's so scary to give it away. I would never do that in the second phase, ever. I agree. Just ban it second phase no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, that is a good point you bring up, that generally when you see that picked, it's like, all right, it's only annoying because it's like, she'll always be doing her own thing separately, but as you mentioned, that's not the case we saw with Secret. We do have a replay showing again how just well Secret has been playing. Of course, it is in the second game where we're saying the draft may mattered a little bit, but I think you brought up a good point. We keep talking about how can teams do better against Secret, but at the same time, there is a reason they're a top team, is that they have their own moments of brilliance, and quite often...
Kuro has a lot of calculated aggression, and like he sees the Lina out of position, and look at Puppy's positioning in the forest, being able to set up
this charge is phenomenal. Yeah, that right
Oh, wow.
Pushing him back, Puppey almost gets a full duration.
And he eventually
He's gonna
dies to the
drop
Quill
as a
Spray,
rest
but
of
Bristleback is
They've
the
already
most farmed
arrived,
hero on the Dire
burning
team.
the
He can't
souls
afford to
of
die
Wild
like that,
once
especially when
again, and they
he's,
scouted out the
you know, the
agents.
main
Yeah.
brood killer. And
there's just-
Zai is just able to take control of that whole top area of the map because of that. And yeah, again, the web placement and moving into the mid lane and forcing the Bristle to move, I think, is a huge deal, right? Because like brute free farming is like whatever, but I mean, if she's able to dominate your other lanes, you have to react. You can't just trade free farm on the Bristle because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have another replay, of course, a team white this time between Secret and IG. So we'll be taking a look at that as we continue. Yeah, every time we come into a replay, it's just webs everywhere, right? So
This just looks like miscommunication between the IG players. They use an aggressive hex, and then the Quap actually backs off. Quap's like, okay, this is not the play, and the others are starting to move in, and that hex is like their only counterplay to Brood. It was talked about in the game. They have like one stun, which is Lina, and it's not reliable. So if they want to control, and perhaps even hexing Brood in the first place is a bad place. You need it for one of the other heroes that deals a lot more damage. So that was just, you could tell they were
yeah,
like,
I mean, they got
desperate
wiped
at
as
this
they were
point. Like, we
kind of
have to do
retreating
something
one
with
by
our
one.
hexing.
Yeah. After a little bit of a desperation play. But hey, sometimes that's what it takes. We talked about that earlier. Those are the plays where if it works, you look like the genius. You look like you had the most calculated risk. But at the same time, if it doesn't, I mean, yeah, sure, it looks a little bad, but you have to take that, especially if you're not in a good place in the game.
The chance of looking like a genius by hexing someone and running away is very low. Like, there are very few plays I can imagine.
Well,
where
I didn't mean the full follow through of that, but I meant the initial start of it.
I know, I'm just kidding.
Well, you know, we never know. Never know. We might come into a game one day where hexing and running away was the absolute most genius play. Maybe it's the last play we see at TI5.
You know what? Maybe when he hacks, he blink hacks. He saw a lot of mines there, so he back off.
There you go. That could be a genius play. You never know.
If that happens later on in the tournament, this guy has
Profit
been
winter right
predicting
here.
really, really well. So.
All right. I don't know if anyone's really excited to see that later in the tournament, but we can hope. We can hope. So we do have quite a few. The standings a little bit updated, of course, with this match wrapping up. So we'll take a look at that right behind us. So LGD actually wrapped up their match, and now they're 6 points ahead. So I think we can all assume we were trying to run through scenarios here, but if you're already 2 matches wins and 2 zeros at that, you're in a really good place, right? Because if you get, 3-4, especially, if you get 4 2-0s, like, you're set. You're definitely in that top 4, maybe even #1 spot in your group. So LGD doing pretty well. Secret has climbed back up now with the 3 points at 4 points. Complexity now at 3 points. Not a bad place to be. 1 win, 1 loss, and of course Fnatic with that tie. And then we have the rest with losses. Navi not having finished up their match yet against C9.
C9's ahead 1-0 in that one, though.
C9 is ahead 1. See, I said it. I said you can't ever tell until the very end of the game, and C9 came back and won that game. So
games with Navi against Cloud9 are just going to be chaotic, kind of no matter what, because both teams are like super aggressive and are apparently really good at like drawing out games, and it's very hard to predict how it goes. And Navi looked like they had the game in the bag actually, and then they had a couple of fights where they kind of threw away their lead and C9 took it over. So kind of the reverse Cloud9 from previous series.
right.
It either happens to them or they do it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay, that's a good way to put it.
Every Cloud9 game so far has been over an hour.
Yeah, that's something to talk
Actually,
about. I mean,
that's-
they start off the
that's pretty
tournament.
incredible.
They've played over maybe 3.5 hours of gameplay already in just 3 games. So
It's good for them. They don't have to play like 4 series in a day.
they're the ones who keeps everyone up until like late at night. Yeah, we don't want to see that. But coming up, we do have one more set of matches at least here for Group A, and then we will get to Group B. So Group B, again, not updated yet. We haven't had any matches, but we will get to them in the later half of the day. Now, we have the end of Navi Cloud9. I just heard a little bit of a highlight there. Cloud9 coming back and taking that win against Navi, so we'll get to take a look at that.
Envy with another rapier. So he's up to 2 rapiers today. He's got 2 out of 3 rapiers purchased. The last one was by Ember Spirit of Maybe, I think, against Cloud9. So all the rapier games have been Cloud9 games.
Oh, there you go. That's another
Those
point.
are also the 1 hour long games, so perhaps there's like a
bit of a correlation
connection
there.
there.
Yeah, and Envy is just huge. He is Superman right now with Lotus Orb and Rapier and Butterfly and BKB. He is nigh invincible, and I thought that Navi made the starter pick work out pretty well throughout the game, but he was just really weak when it came to one-on-one later with equal farm.
And what we didn't see in that clip, right after this happened, Envy paused the game and said, "Sorry, my headset fell off." So supposedly his headset fell off and hit the F9 key. I think Ben was like, that sounds really unlikely. Like,
I mean, some headsets are
believe
big,
it.
though, right? Maybe they hit
Sounds
like all the
something
keys, including F9. And
he got super excited, just like, yes, and then just straight down an F9.
straight on F9. That's where it landed. Only keep that or press pause the game. So a neat little trick to remember for your next game, Ben. There you go. You can keep that one in mind. So that one, of course, they have to play their second game before they can move on. So that's going to be a little while, perhaps. I think we can assume with those two. On our stream, next up, this is a little bit interesting, too, because now we're going to see Fnatic versus IG. So both teams have played one game. In fact, both against Secret. Fnatic, of course, 1-1. IG lost 0-2. But the interesting point here, I think I want to bring up, is that we've been talking about early game aggression against Secret. Fnatic has done that successfully. IG was not able to, even from the drafting phase, especially in Game 2. Is that going to play a role in Fnatic versus IG? What do you think, Winter?
I think both of the teams have, like I was talking to Ben before, like I feel both of the teams play very similarly. They focus a lot on laning and getting a huge advantage from ganking and securing kills and securing the lanes for their cause. So it should be a pretty interesting, like a lot of fights and stuff happening in the laning phase, provided there's no Brood again. So because Ohio does play a very good Brood, so hopefully IG doesn't let that happen and pick supports that can't deal with it again, like what happened to Secret, and we'll be going to see a very much action-packed early game from those two teams.
Yeah, I mean, I think going off of what Cinder and Ben were saying earlier, hopefully IG has just picked that up and said, all right, let's ban it second phase every time. We just don't want to deal with it.
Sometimes it's like, just do it instead of like, okay, maybe we can get away with it. Like, you just don't risk it, you know?
Right? Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those scenarios, one of the few heroes where you're like, yeah, sure, you can have those. For instance, we saw it with Lesh, right? It's like, all right, we could give it away and then just go straight counter bans, but then, all right, suddenly Lesh support, not so useful. So there is a risk factor in there. Could have a similar scenario with Brewmother. What do you two think about Fnatic and IG coming up?
Yeah, I would agree. I think Brood will not be seen. It's funny to me. It happens like every single tournament. There's like there's at least one or two Brood games where it's like, oh, we forgot Brood. You know, you just know. You don't even need to see the players. You just start seeing how much time they take per pick, and you just know this was not the plan. Always,
shit happens, you know.
Yeah, it really is one of those shit happens moments.
Absolutely.
I think going into the matchup, I will consider Fnatic the favorites. I have really not been impressed by IG in the series against Secret. They got outdrafted in Game 2. They got outplayed in Game 1. I was expecting Secret to be favorites, but I think they were a bit too dominant for what IG need to be playing against Fnatic. Maybe the most likely outcome is a draw, actually, because they might play a good game, but I don't see IG winning, at least.
Oh, okay. What about you, Ben?
I think IG stands a chance. I think they were just thrown off in Secret, but in general, I think for the first game they felt really confident, and they just got like all their hopes and dreams shattered by Arteezy's TA, and then that kind of put them on tilt for game number 2, and they're like, okay, we can do this, and then they got outdrafted by the Brew. So I think like they've just been really set back by Secret in games 1 and 2, and Fnatic, I think it's a team that they're much more comfortable playing against because they do play similar styles, and they won't be caught off guard by something. I would
say they know each other very well too. You know.
Right. So let's talk a little about Fnatic. We haven't seen them on the stream yet. Now, Fnatic, overall, a team that, of course, went through a team name change with Fnatic now sponsoring them recently. But just think, all right, Fnatic probably going to do pretty well in the next tournaments that they're coming up, which includes TI5 this weekend, or this week, rather. What do you guys think? I mean, do you agree with that? Because we've been talking, all right, these teams probably top 8, maybe top 4.
This guy's the expert.
I know. That's why we're coming to. We'll get to winner. But some we're saying Secret probably top 4 for sure, maybe even top 2. But then other teams, they have a shot at top 8. Where do you see Fnatic in how they've been doing recently?
I think recently the main thing they had was transitioning their roles, because they initially started with Kerchi as their mid player, and the supports were Mushi and Johnny, and they sort of, I think 2 months ago or 1.5 months ago, they swapped the roles back to Mushi mid. Because I think the main reason was like Kerchi, like their youngest player, he was like somewhat inexperienced in certain situations and having to fill big shoes with Mushi as your teammate. So I guess that sort of affected him a little, and they felt that it would be better for the team to play Mushi mid and compared to Mushi as a support. So I think that alone has a huge implication in this event, because they only played with this role for 2 months. So a lot of their support play isn't like sharp or as good as the other teams, I would say. And that's their primary weakness as a team, I feel.
I feel
the partnership is like not there, like because they haven't been playing together. It's very important to be able to have the understanding between the supports. It's like sometimes there are certain situations where you have to do stuff at and decide in 1 second, and you can't just like, oh, we gotta do this. You just do it and it works together. You know, the teamwork has to be there between the supports.
Yeah.
So it's not there for Fnatic right now.
That is a good point, and we are seeing them just kind of getting ready to set their stuff up and get ready for their match. You know, I was just supposed to say, I feel that every time I ask about a team, Winter's focus is on the supports, whether it's the supports are important or the supports are not there yet. They need to get the communication better.
Don't underrate supports.
I mean, yeah, by all means, I think that's a valid point. Obviously, all roles are pretty important, and oftentimes supports are the ones that are most overlooked, if any role is overlooked by people when they talk about teams. So I think it's a good point you bring up, but I just found it interesting that you do like to heavily focus on where the supports lie.
Yeah, it's because mainly like a lot of the strategies revolve around, like in the draft, you plan a lot in early game. Okay, guys, we're going to do this. We're going to roam. We're going to focus on shutting down the storm, or we're going to do, like, it's always about the supports, how they move around early game rather than, you know, the cores moving around. Mostly the cores are like sitting and, okay, I'm just going to do my thing, and the supports will be moving around, making decisions. That's the biggest thing, you know, in the early game. Supports are the ones making decision, where to gang, who to get a TP on early to hold, so you can back up the other lanes and stuff like that. So I feel supports are really important in the first 15 minutes. I mean, not to say they are not important later, but
no, right, but
they play
their importance really shines. Yeah,
they play a really huge role in the first 15 minutes.
Well, how do you think their two supports compare to Faith and Chuan, who I would definitely say have more experience?
Yeah, definitely Chuan and Faith are more experienced. But I want to say that Johnny and Kechi, even though they don't have much time playing support together, but at certain moments in the game, sometimes they show brilliance, like in between, separating farm between the two players. Like they have very good farm between the both of them. And when we talk about IG before, sometimes I think we discussed this about Faith. Sometimes he has too little farm, you know, like he doesn't get enough for his hero to do his job. But whereas what I find in Johnny and Kechi, they like to split farm like evenly sometimes, but depending on what Kechi gets, like sometimes if he gets a Visage or a Lashrock as a support or Lina, he gets more priority. But mostly they balance it out better, I'd say, compared to IG, which Chuan usually gets most of the farm. You know?
Yeah, so I mean, Fnatic basically not really choosing anyone as a sacrifice in that farm. They always like to have it balanced if they can help it.
Yeah.
Unless it's obviously something like
no biasness.
No bias. Oh, well, that's nice. Yeah, what a nice team. I would want to play on that team. No bias. Everyone gets equal farm. It's a place I would want to
Equal opportunity farmers.
Equal opportunity farmers. That's a. I don't know if that's really the same meaning that we were having about Fnatic, but we can run with that. Fnatic, the equal opportunity farmers.
How to not win games.
You know what? Coming back to his name, I was telling you guys about.
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you. I thought about it when you first brought it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, do tell us, because you had a little bit of explanation.
Yeah, it's
about
a little
Kechi.
story about Kechi. His name actually means in our Malaysian native language, the first word is Kechi. It means small, and obviously the next one everyone knows Imba. It means imbalance. So his name means small but imbalance. I kind of have this idea that why he chose his name, because he probably got bullied a lot because he's quite small.
But he's imbalanced.
Yeah, but
he's imbalanced.
He's imbalanced in Dota.
Right. So this is where
he's not
he
only
gets
small
to
but also
shine.
tilted.
Yeah, and I remember when he started playing tournaments, like when he's 19 now. He started playing, I think 9 years ago, around that time frame, 9 to 10 years ago. His mom would always follow him to events, you know. So it would look kind of like a mom bringing a small kid to a tournament, but the player is the mid player in the team. So it's like, okay, this is actually the mid player accompanied by his mom.
That reminds me of the first tournament pick Andy at LANs. He also looked like, I can't remember how old he was at his first LAN, but
I think it was with Volker Gaming.
It was with Volker Gaming. Yeah. That's like 10 years ago, I think. that was also.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting that at that time where a parent would follow her child to a tournament, it's nowadays because it's so big, so it's common for parents to be with.
But back then it was not.
Yeah,
the
back
same.
then it's not something that you see often.
Yeah, I mean, we even saw earlier with No Tail's video, right? I mean, ran into some, issues or conflicts with his parents until they were convinced that, okay, this is something you really believe in and whatnot. I mean, yeah, you say it's more common now, but even now, it's definitely something that people note. It's like, oh, your parents are here to watch you. That's pretty cool. Like, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's more acceptable, I guess.
Right, but back then it was like, whoa, your parents are here at a tournament? Like, what's going on? Like, why are they here? But yeah, that's actually really just sweet of them, obviously, to have that connection with his mother. And then now, look at where he is. He's here playing TI5, just having another shot for the TI Championship title and in Fnatic. So and Fnatic, again, pretty high hopes for a lot of people. We'll see how they do against IG. Obviously, that will give us a better read. Talk a little bit about IG. Of course, we saw them against Secret, but we did have to jump into the game a little bit earlier. And you guys mentioned, again, IG, bunch of old school names. most people, even if you've only watched like TIs in the past, you've heard these names before, even if you're not a complete like Dota 2 veteran fan. But do you think, because is that going to affect them anyway in terms of either being overconfident or maybe being a little bit worried about playing against a team like Fnatic, where they're known for their aggression and they have these younger players that maybe could be a little bit more volatile in game?
I think they'll try to draw as much as possible on their experience and just try to play their own game. So they've probably, I would be surprised if they haven't seen the, I'm guessing they would have read as much as possible into the win Fnatic had over Secret, because obviously they just came off a 0-2 loss themselves. And they will isolate 1 or 2 key heroes that they felt like were really important, and they will ban them out. I think it's very likely we don't get to see the Bloodseeker, for example, or that they will pick it themselves in the first phase like they did against Secret Game 1. And then apart from that, just generally just play their own standard style and believe that they just flat out are a stronger team based on experience, which right now I don't think I would agree with IG being stronger than Fnatic just now.
Okay, yeah.
That's the mentality they need to have themselves. And if they get off to a good start in the series, I definitely think they will.
That's an interesting point you bring up. I always find it very interesting just if or how teams adapt from game to game, especially in such a long tournament where it's going to be 2 weeks. You have to play so many matches in round robin during your groups, and then even then you're not knocked out, right? You're seeded into the bracket stage. So we saw IG picking Bloodseeker. We were like, hey, did they do that because they saw Fnatic having good success with that against Secret? So now on the flip side, is Fnatic concerned at all about possibly IG taking that if they leave it open? Do you think that's going to be a contention point for both teams, or maybe a little bit more skewed for IG? Anybody?
I think most important is they don't just pick hero like based on, oh, this team is actually picking this and it's strong. you pick based on what you feel is most comfortable and you feel that your team can play at the best. Like just look at how, for example, Secret is picking, like the moment you look at the heroes, you don't have to see what team is playing this set of heroes. You know this team it's an identity, you can't just like copy paste someone's picks and bans and you just, oh, we can do the same thing. Because most of the time it doesn't work because you have different mentality. Every team has their own mentality. Even though you might be playing the same lineup, but the approach would be different. So the result would obviously be different as well.
Yeah, I think the mentality for IG, I mean, they're struggling right now a little bit, I would say, compared to what you would expect from a team with these 5 names. Prior TI champion as well, and a lot of these are like fairly older players. And I think like when you're in that sort of position, you just have a lot more pressure to perform. You don't have, 8 or 9 years ahead of you, like RTZ or Sumail, let's say, who are like, okay, if they don't win the CI, they have a lot more shots. But Burning, I mean, he was rumored to have retired after last year and didn't play for quite a period of time. And, people speak that this might be his last TI. And, when you're in that sort of position, it's like, oh, man, I might not get another chance. And, there's a lot of outside pressure and influence that comes into the mentality of these players.
All right. Yeah. So, again, I mean, I like that you always bring that up, Winter, that it really depends on how you feel about your picks and whatnot.
I think it's very important to be confident on your own play style, your own believe in your own ability instead of just trying to go into a tournament. Okay, we'll just see what's good and we'll just like blend into it instead of like sticking to your roots. Like we believe that this is our strongest play style or our strongest lineup. You have to have a lot of faith in yourself to be able to do well in this sort of event.
That's a good point. Before we jump in, I mean, I was just getting a little curious off of that one. We've talked a little bit about heroes that we weren't perhaps expecting as much, like Ember, coming into TI5. Do you think there are any teams that definitely stand like really far away from the current meta in their color? Like their color is so distant from the meta, but that they should still believe in that. Is there any team that really stands out that way at TI5, or do you think still? I mean, obviously they're all top teams, so they've been keeping track of the meta. I mean, how does that balance work out?
I think Cloud9 stands out for me as a team that maybe doesn't play like unusual playstyles, but certainly unusual picks now and then. And I don't know, I find them one of the more unpredictable teams just like all around, except that their games will go past an hour. Other than that, like it's just like the Batrider, for example. The Batrider, I would have not expected to see it at all in the group stage.
So the destination is always the same for Cloud9.
I mean, the idea was there. You could see they were gearing up into a pushing type of lineup, heavy team fight, and they needed someone to draw the attention towards the tombstone. So Batrider obviously fit the job.
It's they have very novel concepts and I think keystone part of their strategies.
That's interesting.
Other than that, any other teams? I mean, we haven't seen half the teams play.
Yeah, so. I mean, so we'll of course have to wait. Maybe someone has more pocket picks.
I think maybe MVP Hot 6 play some different stuff. I have to admit
Right.
I haven't seen that much, but like the first thought that just came to mind for me was MVP Phoenix, because they have a history of playing different
Yeah.
stuff, like picking outside the meta. Like Warlock, they've played a lot of Slark on QA in the past and stuff like that. And obviously their practice partner in MVP Hot 6 might also have like they obviously developed like their own little isolated meta, as
Yeah.
we talked about, because they don't have that many scrimming partners in Korea.
But overall,
I'm not sure.
all right.
Yeah.
I mean, when are you really outside the meta? Is the question.
True.
It's
Yeah,
difficult
you do have to draw
define,
the line
so.
somewhere. So maybe we'll talk about that more if it comes up as we look at future matches. But we are now into the draft of Game 1 between IG and Fnatic. And the first ban's not too surprising just
we
yet.
see a common ban already every time the team that's on Dire. They're taking out Shadowfiend every time. No
we've
one wants to
mentioned-
give away Shadowfiend. If you can play it on Radiant, any team, most of the team have a Shadowfiend player, so
Right.
they try not to give it away to the team on Radiant.
Yeah, I don't even think it's worth trading for a Quab, let's say. Like, just the Radiant SF. He can actually win the matchup versus the Queen of Pain. I think if you get a left track in return, it's fine, but that's that's being ambitious.
All right, and the Gyro also being knocked out by IG.
Well, that opens up Tusk.
Tusk is open, yeah, for the first pick. Quap has been banned out, so that's kind of the swap out there. Tusk generally being banned out over Quap.
There's Tusk, there's Undying, yeah.
Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, basically most of the fighting heroes are available.
Tusk will be the choice of weapon for IG.
Don't you think Viper is going to be like... I feel like both of these teams pick Viper. a
Yeah,
decent
because
amount.
they focus on lane dominance, so Viper is a hero that he's built to do that.
Viper
Dominate the lane.
was Viper one of the 3 heroes that Fnatic used that was
Wow.
dominating in that game against Secret?
I remember
Along
it
with
was picked.
Gyro
I
and
don't remember which
Bloodseeker.
side.
Okay.
So the
But the
response would
Bloodseeker
be
goes to-
Bloodseeker again.
This is really funny to
Huh.
see, because, okay, so Fnatic picked Bloodseeker and they ran over Seeker with it. Then IG tried to pick Bloodseeker against Secret, and one of the problems Bloodseeker ran into was playing against Dazzle.
Yeah.
So now Fnatic are just like, okay, so we like our Bloodseeker. Oh, Dazzle was actually pretty good against it, so we'll just get both, and we'll be done with it. I believe they didn't have Dazzle against Secret, right, in that game? I don't think they did. Or they had
No,
Bloodseeker.
I don't
No,
think so.
they
I'm
didn't.
pretty sure. No,
They
so-
played against it.
This is a hero. This is one of the biggest surprises for me draft-wise so far in the tournament, including the wild card, is how high priority Dazzle is getting compared to what he has over the last month. Like, he is really becoming just a
Yeah.
flat-out first-phase pick and ban, as it would seem. So that's pretty surprising for me.
The
Or
biggest,
not first-phase
the
ban.
biggest strength of the heroes, I think, is lane. It's very good in the lane, even though he doesn't provide any stun, lock, disable. But he's very good team fighting, and he doesn't give away. Like, the more important thing is he doesn't give away what direction the team is going in with the draft. So
Right.
I think that's a very important factor on picking the hero early.
Yeah, that's been brought up. I mean, especially at the caliber we're looking at for TI5, the versatility and kind of leaving your options open, making sure the mind games continue into the further phases is pretty important. I mean, the other thing I want to point out is, of course, just think about in our past games, how many times has a game been extended because of the shallow graves from Dazzle, right? That
Yeah.
alone has really changed the flow of many of our games in the past, as we see Undying now
Okay,
returning
the
again.
typical Chinese fragile lane.
This is a very
The two double durable heroes.
it's a very dangerous combination to play against. So first of all, it's a great dueling, like Winter said. But in addition to that, the ability to block off a path with ice shards and then have a tombstone in the area. It's like if you imagine to fight on a
It's a
clutch
nightmare.
on a clutch spot, right? You fight on a high ground, and you block off the exit path, then you have to run through the tombstone, which is absolutely that's just death. Like, that's not happening. So. This pairing is really good, and you have the frozen sigil on top of the tombstone as well, making it harder to destroy and slowing down even.
You have to ban the Naga, though, I think, if you run
Yeah, the,
Sasuke on
the
Undying.
Naga is important to
Yeah,
take out
Yes,
of the
and it's
equation.
happening.
So IG goes through with that. Storm being banned out by Fnatic, and then Lina also being banned out by IG.
A hero that I've seen picked probably a little bit too often is Skywrath. I think Skywrath is just too one-dimensional when he does. He gets owned by BKB and provides like little to nothing in the later game and just dies in a couple hits without like even Dazzle. If you just get weave off, I think that's often good enough if you end up dying.
It's a
in the
big
fight.
contribution.
It's
to
a,
the
it's a
team.
huge contribution. So I think that Dazzle should be as highly prioritized as he is.
And you look at what Fnatic is gearing up, like lane dominance, a lot of physical damage. So they're going to look to take the fight towards, even though there's a Tusk and Undying, but they have the tools to destroy the Tombstone right now. A lot of physical damage in between the Razor and the Bloodseeker.
Yeah, you guys were mentioning, especially for Bloodseeker, how fast he can get rid of that tombstone. So maybe they're not too concerned about that.
Interesting to see. I think it's like it kind of goes both ways, right? The tombstone zombies are super annoying for Razor's ult because they just keep absorbing it, but they don't die since they need to be attacked now.
True.
And the ult strikes the target that has the lowest current health, not the lowest percentage-based health, right? So the
thought it was
Tombstone
good,
Zombie will always be the target. Or is it?
I'm-
I just feel like I have this memory
it
of playing
percentage?
Razor
I think
against.
it's
I think it's percentage.
It is
based.
percentage. Okay,
Yeah.
so then you will never hit the zombies. Because that's a really big difference.
yeah, that is a very big
I just have
difference.
this memory of playing Razor against Undying, and my ult just keeps going to waste.
It's
by
like
hitting
you never
zombies.
skilled out.
Because it doesn't make sense, right? Because the old one would have killed the zombies because they were damaged by
Yeah,
physical damage
physical
spells.
damage.
Right.
So, all right, I guess we'll get that.
Well, I mean, we'll find out.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll
It's gonna
definitely
happen.
find out as we say. yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure it's going to
definitely
happen at
gonna
least
happen.
once. And then Witch Doctor being picked
More
by
team fight,
IG.
and it's it's really good to have Witch Doctor with Undying because it's sort of like it protects the Tombstone. You're trying to kill the Tombstone, but you're running into a possible coconut bounce or Death Ward, so it's gonna be difficult to run into the Tombstone with the Witch Doctor and the Tusk on the field with the Sigil.
I feel like he's pretty good versus a tanky hero like Razor too. Doesn't really get affected by the unstable current too much.
Wow,
And-
this is
oh,
wow, more stuff to kill the Tombstone.
So they just keep going back and forth. I mean, hey, we're going to kill the Tombstone. Hey, we're going to protect it. Well, here's another hero who can kill it.
Next, we need the Pugna man.
Fighting into Fnatic's lineup is actually incredibly difficult. If you're engaging into
Okay, they're not gonna try and fight.
yeah,
They're like, all right, you win. You win that battle. We'll back off.
fighting into Plasma Field and Razor ult,
This
Serpent
was
Wards
similar
and Blood Right is
Yeah.
extremely good.
similar to what happened with the game. Remember with CDAC where they had 3 picks with Undying. Then they're like, okay, this is not good.
Oh, yeah.
Remember
you're
the other
right.
day? Yeah, yesterday, in fact.
And that didn't go so.
And they
yeah.
went on to proceed Plan B, which is also PL.
Yeah, they did go with PL.
Yeah, it's like a similar transition,
Yeah.
during the draft.
Viper just being
Could
banned out
be-
right away by Fnatic.
What about
Looks
Ember?
like we-
Ferrari Ember?
We have a little bit of an update right now. Navi just
What is
beat
it?
Cloud9, so
Okay.
that
Ooh.
one is a 1-1 draw. It was a very short game,
Yeah,
25
that must
minute,
have been
25
super
minute
short, yeah.
crush. So as our predictions, Cloud9 games go beyond the hour. 25 minutes is what it took Navi for that one.
Wow,
so.
that feels
So
really
that's a
good.
draw.
Okay.
Which means they both have 1 point currently, right?
Yeah, both of them only have 1 point,
Yeah.
so evening out there in Group A. The Brood
Well,
does get
the
banned.
Brood actually,
It made it through the second
yeah,
phase.
it actually made it through far.
But I mean, I think they figured, especially just given how much they were emphasizing the Undying and the synergy between that,
Yeah.
Fnatic would have to react to that.
But
and
then
now they
again,
wanna
it
take
was the
out.
same player who played Brood and Bloodseeker for Fnatic, so it probably
Ah.
played a little into that fact that we might not have to worry about the Brood so much because it's the same person playing it.
So, but if that's the logic, why ban it now? Because still, just in case.
Yeah,
Is it
just
like a
because
in case
Phantom
move?
Lancer is particularly weak against that, so
Okay.
you don't want something like the last game to happen again. So there'll be
My
one Shaker to finish. Okay, it's
Wow.
an offlane. What? Offlane Shaker?
My question right now for IG is, what are you going to do when Fnatic come to your base and they
Yeah.
plant the Serpent Wards? How are you going to get rid of them? Like, what's your actual counterplay? The moment it just looks so ridiculously difficult
Yeah, they don't
to
have
engage into this
anything to
Fnatic
fight
team.
into that, and they need to like somehow they don't have enough spam. I feel right now looking at the 4 heroes, when a huge creep wave comes in, there's the cask and there's the shards. That's about it.
Yeah.
You need to be able to clean out the wave. So, okay, this is not
That
clean-
is
Whoa.
a possible solution.
that is fighting into it with the tombstone and the split. So
This is like two
Alright.
teams.
So they went back on it. Now they can bring out the
I think the PL is more maybe going to go for a battle build where you join your team early with drums. I don't think it would be a Boots of Travel build like
Right.
what Envy likes to go for with his PL, like the greed in farming. This game he might have to be forced to fight early and join his team because it's Serpent Wards, and at some point of the game there'll be Aghanims on the Razor, so you have to defend your base no
Yeah.
matter what.
Yeah, I
I
mean, I
think
don't-
Brew Ultimate is really good at doing that, though. I think
Yeah.
he's been a forgotten mid, and he did get quite a few nerfs, but he's still really, really good at getting past that 5 through 25-minute phase of the game, which it seems like Fnatic's lineup is really geared towards.
Yeah.
I like this last pick a lot. Just
Yeah, it actually makes a lot of sense
Yeah.
with their lineup as well.
I'm actually surprised they picked it just because, I mean, that's on nobody's radar.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. But that was something perhaps good to see, because otherwise we were worried, like, all right, now they switched to plan B and now Fnatic's just going to run them over. IG comes in with a plan. They still had something in their back pocket. IG versus Fnatic game 1 in a best of 2, ladies and gentlemen.
Fnatic versus IG. The third round of series of games today is the first day of the group in on Dota TV, as well as on YouTube live streams, the stream platform, and anywhere else around the world. However you're tuning in, greetings and salutations.
Warm welcome to everyone, of course, who enjoys watching Dota, and there's going to be plenty of it. This is our last series, but there will be people taking over after us as well.
Yeah, we have Mon Capitalist as well as Blitz coming in. They'll be replacing us at the end of the day. But we're Toby and Waga. We're the bling bling combo.
Yeah, we get the morning shift every day. We warm up the booth for them.
That's right. When we wake up in the morning, we wake up to the foghorn.
Yeah, all right, so let's see what they're actually doing here on the first minute. It seems that Fnatic are completely going to control the bottom rune. They have also been spotted by the early ward drop by the Tuskar on bottom. So they have seen that Fnatic are powering down on that bounty rune, whereas Ohio is trying to sneak and steal this top rune, but it's going to be dangerous to do so. He's going to block off the Brewmaster, maybe?
He'll just let it go.
It's too risky.
There's no reason to really try and contest that. Just let him have it. It's almost a pleasure. No, it's not almost. It is a pleasure to watch the Brewmaster. I'm just really worried it's going to turn into a bitter sensation in my mouth when Ferrari just gets nailed so hard.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it works, but he's not on the lane that he would be dreaming of, as it's not the Bloodseeker mid. It is, in fact, a safe lane Bloodseeker with the Dazzle as well. However, he has Faith. Faith is here. Gonna help him out a little bit.
At the same time, Johnny's also here with KOAXY. Leech a couple of the early levels. The static link forces Ferrari off the lane, but he does get his early bottle, so we're gonna turn into like this, what, clap farm kind of style for Ferrari?
I mean, he just wants his bottle as early as possible. He got it immediately when he picked up his bounty rune, and if he gets to boots as well, he can pretty reliably take runes and farm just with the spells that he has.
Is Johnny overstaying his welcome here? Like Ferrari's gonna get up in their face, but what is Johnny really bringing to this lane as a Shadow Shaman?
Yeah,
Mushy actually trouble bottom lane. Looks like he got caught in Ice Shards underneath the tower, trying to run away. Decay dropped him low, and Lure just punches him down. And that's first blood going the way of Invictus Gaming. Good start.
Terrible start there for Fnatic. They're safe lane Bloodseeker. You cannot die on that roll. That's super crucial.
The Dazzler was busy trying to do counter warding.
Yeah, and that's going to give such a good start to Luo now. And of course, Faith is happy to be part of that kill as well.
And now Johnny comes down. They snowball under. It's all on Kerchik. They get the tombstone down. This will help them fight. In fact, Johnny he might even be in more trouble. They're getting rid of the tombstone, but Mushy is losing so much life. The decay does the work. And is there any more damage? No more snowball. But Johnny, Shadow Shaman is just such a slow hero. 1 second till decay. They already get the kill. It's 3-0. Invictus Gaming just opening up a new one on the bot lane.
We're like, yeah, Tusk and Undying, but how are they going to lane it? Yeah, they just go down there and take over. They show it's their lane, they own it, and they're running this now. Haste Rune is going to be picked up by
might be in
Faith.
trouble too. Chuan? No.
Yeah.
Sorry, once I saw the Paralyzing Cast come out and also Ferrari moving in, if they got a clap, combining with the first level up in Malediction, Ohio would have been licking his wounds. He's already down to 1 tango on an off-lane Earthshaker.
That would have been very.
It would have been more than a snowball. It would have been an avalanche for IG.
Yeah.
Like you would have lost your offlaner. You've basically lost your safe lane already.
Yeah, definitely. That was a weird fissure by Shaker, just holding the neutral fixer. I don't know. I'm just watching the other lanes as well, trying to look for some salvation here for Fnatic as their safe lane is just crumbling already.
Ferrari getting up in KOXY's face. KOXY is going to be able to steal a lot of damage every single time, but that's why Ferrari's trying to clap farm. But he's 5-1 up against 15-12. KOXY has destroyed this mid lane. That's your upside, Waga.
Yeah, KOXY has this on lock. He definitely does. Doing a good job. He had the help from the Shadow Shaman in the beginning, so doing really well. Top here, just John being annoying.
They're TPing in. Johnny's on the way in. The Fissure, though, on the wrong side. So Johnny, this TP is for nothing. They need to have the shackles go to work.
Yeah. Too bad he couldn't get the proper Fissure there. Nice try, though, with the TP. But yeah, this Brewmaster is really struggling to get anything at all. He does have the Haste Rune, of course, but the last hitting from KOXY has been really good.
Maybe it's a point, too, where IG have to consider... Well, they can't really rotate Chuan into that mid. Like, he's not going to be able to do that much.
Yeah, no. I don't think Chon should run there.
Do you just wait for level 6 Brew? Like,
Yeah.
is that all it comes down to? Ferrari, in the meantime, just gets as much farm and wait for level 6.
It's nice to get Blink Dagger early on Brew, but the main reason that you put him mid is to get levels fast. If you get level 7, 6 is nice, but 7 is really when you start killing people so strongly, because your nuke is just phenomenal. It deals so much damage. But of course the ulti is a major part.
Johnny coming back to the middle. He still needs to find some levels here. He's got Shackle as well as his Ether Shock, but that's all.
He's not finding a lot, is he, on his Shadow Shaman?
Not really. Well, she's actually found a hell of a lot of CS for this bot lane. All things considered, 20 for 2 up against an 11 for 1.
I actually don't know how he did that, but yeah, he has recovered the last hit really well.
I can tell you it's not from just jungle farming. That's just not possible for him.
Yeah, I mean, Bloodseeker is extremely good at lasting, and he played very aggressively farming when he died the first time there. So it's just, it's more like you farm a lot, but you also give away a lot when you die there. And now rotation bottom coming in here. Tron is being brought in. No lane ward for the side of Fnatic.
This is
This could
a
be bad.
potential chance for IG. But what are you going to be doing right now? Is it a roll in and then with the paralyzing cast control
yeah.
on the back? Oh, that's exactly what it is. It's just a roll into the decay with the blood right. Mush is trying to make it difficult, but the paralyzing cast is going to bounce around. The malediction's already on Mush. They need a little bit more damage to help him pop. Now that Shallow Grave's going to wear off before the malediction
That
does.
was too
So
early,
one more
Grave.
pop
He has
isn't
magic
enough.
wand.
And with the shards, he's actually been blocked in. Luo, there's no way to chase it. In the
Pio
meantime,
solo kills.
yeah, he actually kills off Earthshaker by himself.
Yeah, he definitely did. Nice. Nice solo kill there. Peel is so dangerous to go up against. The amount of spam they can throw the Spirit Lance, super dangerous. He didn't even have to use his Enchanted Mango there, so he keeps that as well. Very nice for him.
So another kill for IG. They rack it up to 4. Overall, they've already got, in just the space of 5 minutes, already managed to pick up 2,000 net worth advantage. Experience is 1,500.
Yeah, that's pretty big considering how hard they were losing mid. Like, mid is definitely not going their way. Still only looking at 12 CS, 13 now, just slowly pulling his farm in.
Well, Ferrari's actually doing pretty decently, considering his lack of CS.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough lane. It's very tough.
Yeah.
You can't even spam Drunken Haste that reliably because there's the unstable current dealing damage to you every time you do it. So there are downsides. Oh, the rune is denied.
That's frustrating. Ferrari is coming down to pick that little sucker up, and it's an easy move up from Kerchik. And attacks from the high ground.
Yeah, very nice there by Dazzle. And Peel is having good control over the top lane. The ES, despite being 1v1, can't really touch the creeps that much.
Well, it's kind of difficult, man. Like
79.1% win rate on Brewmaster. So he has the highest win rate on Brewmaster out of any player with 25 games or more.
He's a talented kid, Ferrari.
He's very, very good. If he gets his Blink Dagger and Aghanims, he can do wonders with it.
Mm-hmm.
Or even if he just gets the Blink and BKB, because sometimes you need that against Rasta, Instant Hex.
Should also point out the fact they're going to flash farm Ferrari in a moment. Once they got the 4 points up in the clap, they've got a triple stack inside the Dire jungle.
Yeah,
So-
they are stacking up and preparing for him.
While on bottom lane, Luo and Faith coming back to the lane, but Kerchik as well as Johnny, they're just waiting in the wings for their time to shine. As Mushy, Decay, just a little bit of shard harass, nothing more.
Yeah, Sadly doesn't do much as he just denies 2 creeps immediately and
Actually,
full
they
HP
spotted out.
again.
This Dire Observer Ward on the side. Now, this is actually one of these weird wards to talk about, because Undying walked down the river to this point and then threw the ward down, then backed up instantly. So the second you do that, you should be flagging the fact that Observer Ward was going down.
Yeah.
But Fnatic weren't looking for it, so they didn't ping it at the time, and they haven't dewarded it since.
Yeah, it's always the mind games. You gotta keep your eye on the enemy supports always. If they have a ward on them, just, you know, keep good track of that. Click your opponents as often as possible.
Yep. Keep tabs.
And he's gonna rush straight into Blink Dagger, of course, on Brewmaster, by the way. Oh, okay. I thought the Dazzle was stuck there for a second. He's gonna be fine.
Try to shut him down. That should reveal the fact that the
They need
ward's
to
there.
use the Brewmaster ulti. They should try and force a fight bottom. He wants to run around and go down here.
It would be nice, because they're getting a lot in the other lane. So you start off with your shards,
is
just
spotted
harassing
now.
into Mushy. But,
They're gonna back off.
yeah.
Oh, Rasta is actually kind of stuck there, so he's gonna stay for a while.
That they realize, because you got Chuan farming mid. So Chuan's finding some really good levels. Also notice too what he's prioritizing. 2 points Malediction, 2 points Paralyzing Cask. So you don't actually have the ulti yet, obviously. We're waiting for that in the mid. But there's no Voodoo Restoration. So Kerchik, a quick TP out. They drop the Tombstone. They're sacrificing the tier 1 tower.
Johnny is just trying to hide the best he can, but oh boy. Jigs up, Johnny.
Can't stay in the trees forever.
No, he was listening, trying to listen.
Alright, in return, Fnatic, they can at least do some damage to this tier 1 tower. Fortification is going to make it difficult. This Undying Tombstone's made this a lot easier for IG to force down the tower.
Yeah, it's just tower trades going on right now. Not much that Fnatic can do to teamfight against the Undying and Brewmaster ulti.
Yep.
So they're just respecting that, but at the same time, they're not punishing the PL. He's been just farming away as well. So.
Well, how are you meant to punish a PL? You don't have enough control. He's just going to doppelganger away every time.
Well, you have to do something though.
True.
Right now you're losing towers and PL is free farming.
So,
this is losing out too much. You need to.
But what's the
try
something?
And smoke up.
What's the something? Like you've got an Undying as well as a Brewmaster. You don't want to team fight into that one.
Yeah.
The PL you can't just
it's
gank him straight.
No, it's pickoffs. You have to go for a disable gank. But right now it's very hard as the Shadow Shaman is only level 3. He doesn't have a single point into the Hex yet. So all of this is very, very difficult.
So many stacks everywhere.
They're gonna steal these
Ferrari
stacks.
found a triple. Actually, he found a double stack and made a triple. Johnny's the one who's in trouble. They drop the Tombstone. Malediction will actually kill him at this point. Johnny knows he's dead, so does as much as he can before death.
They're gonna try and fight for this stack. They don't want to have it stolen. KYXY and
That's a
Mushi.
dangerous fight to take, though.
Yeah, I don't think they can.
You
They're
still got
actually
PL
just helping
farming top. Like, he's not stopping. And he actually bought BTs to start with. Ferrari, straight TP out, and they do take the stack.
Oh, nice to see that the good old TP out against Bloodseeker still works sometimes. Most of the times nowadays, it's just, oh, you want to TP out against Bloodseeker? Oh, he just runs up and punches you 2 times and you're dead. But luckily, he's a Brewmaster. He's immune to that kind of stuff.
Kind of surprised Burning goes for such a build. Like, it's very split push orientated, like, comes in at the very, very last moment.
Burning knows his farming. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, I believe him to know the fastest way to get high farm in a game like this.
It kind of flags the fact, though, like, IG do not want to fight early on.
Yeah.
Well, until this,
Well,
blink in from Ferrari, in for the split, and the paralyzing cast holding Ohio and KOX by Ohio! Echo Slam off, he'll get a revenge kill on the Witch Doctor, he's still not dead yet. Trying to run away from these PL illusions, and not successful, not while the Brewmaster is there, throw out the Boulder Dash, and now the Tombstone also being dropped. A 2-for-1 trade-off. It was a lot more messier, primarily just because of the Echo.
Yeah, it definitely was. Also, speaking to the Bridge of Travel and as to whether you want to fight or not early, I think he just realizes we already have so much for team fighting. We have the Tombstone, the Brewmaster split, we have Tuskar, who innately is a very good fighter. I don't need to buy fighting items early, I can just focus on getting at a critical point of farm as soon as possible. So, smart itemization, I think. And all of them looking to do pretty good now. Brewmaster has his power treads and blink, which is respectable considering his lane definitely.
Well, they managed to get the stack inside the Radiant jungle, and then the stack inside their own jungle, plus the being involved in the 2 kills in mid.
Yeah, they also have 2 mana boots up already, which is really nice for their entire team. All of them can use that mana pretty well. Sometimes you even want to go mana boots on Brewmaster, but he doesn't have to since they have Undying and Tusk.
It's kind of also nice when Faith gets so much farm, because he can just go into Greaves later on too.
Yeah. Oh, Greaves would be amazing in this game, negating so much of the physical damage, and there is plenty from Fnatic.
Fnatic got really need some time too. Mushi's on a good timer, like the Hand of Mice isn't too late.
Yeah.
But it's just that window of opportunity where IG realize, okay, well, Bloodseeker, what does he really bring when he's Treads, Poor Man, Shield, and Midas?
Yeah, that's true. He does not bring much right now. Burning, he was spotted down as he ran down here, and now they see him again with the ward. Maybe they will be able to pick him off. But they need to get the Rupture on him, and they do have a defensive ward as well.
And he's got BTs. Like, doppelganger the BTs out all the time, or he's actually just going to go straight to the top lane.
He runs away.
More farm to be had.
And he baited a lot of people to just try and go on him there. However, they will try and transition into push down here.
Difficult. Paralyzing Cast is going to slow this down.
15 seconds, Primal Split, almost up again.
Mass Weapon Ward's going to be committed, which means Fortification's going to delay this push. They kind of need to, or else this tier 1 tower just drops. So yep, there it comes. So Shah's to get rid of all those range creeps, also locking KYXY in a bit of a pit. PL still forcing out the top lane.
Not looking to commit.
Well, not going to fight into it.
Don't care that much against the tier 1 tower. maybe they can punish when someone TP's away, but they're not gonna go for it. I think they should go and farm the wards afterwards when the enemy back, because it's so much gold.
Problem is, I don't know when the enemy backs. Actually, they're gonna smoke. It's a
well,
three-man smoke to gank.
Yeah.
And where do they go? Like, KOXY is going to be the first man, but he's standing in the perfect position. Blink up from Ferrari, gets a double, and straight into the split. They'll isolate KOXY while sending Dazzle up into the air. No Shallow Grave. He'll hit the ground in a moment. The one charge from KOXY bought enough time that the Shallow Grave can come off, so they move over and Kerchik. They stun him to TP. There's your Storm Ruling. Up into the air. The Shaman's down as well. And this will be KOXY joining him in death as he hits the ground finally.
Yeah, and 2 kills there for Faith. Again, really gonna speed up that mech timing on Undying. And this is fighting without the PL at all. So he's just happily farming meanwhile. And he's gonna go out and find actually the Bloodseeker and kind of scare him out of his jungle. He's like, this is my place. Get out.
Too easy for IG, really. 11-1 in their favor.
Really tough start here for Fnatic.
Yeah.
And once again, we see Bloodseeker struggling. Like, I mean, as in the secret game as well. It's just having a very tough start here.
A tough start for him when PL's had such a fantastic beginning. Like 1,200 gold over on this PL. With PTs, you know he's going to be farming faster. Ohio, the lance on him, but at the same time, Tuskar's going to arrive. He doesn't want to actually fidget because, well, Snowball protection backs up. They're waiting for the last lance from Burning to just get the last hit in.
Oh, those deaths are so painful when you have 1,500 gold after a death. You know that, you set your Blink Dagger timing back by dying there. Really hurts.
It's the 2 cores now for IG with 2 kills apiece. So Burning's got 2, Ferrari's got 2. Obviously, there's still 12 kills on the board, but most of them belong to Undying, who's got 5.
5-0 and 5 Undying. He really has been part of a lot of action top. We see now Mushi gonna get brought down here by the Snowball combo with the PL as well.
And when you get the Walrus punch up, PL now with a level 2 in his Juxtapose.
He was gonna play safe there, but the Blink Dagger caught him off guard. He thought he was safe.
Life is just so hard. So hard for Fnatic. Like, KOXY tries to force him back, but he doesn't even have mech. So his survivability is purely based on what Dazzle gives him.
I mean, he's gonna have the same mech timing as a support Undying. So that's not looking good at all for them.
Brew ulti up in 13 seconds time.
Yeah, and that's also talking about Razor had a very good laning stage, so this is very tough. And as you said, Brew ulti is up, always look for action. Keep going, just look for these opportunities.
Yep.
And they're actually gonna go for Roshan here, or at least try maybe. They have the medallion, and they're actually gonna keep turning, they're not sure.
They want kills. They got an Invis rune on Ferrari, which is just a ticket to kill.
Yeah.
Because you highly doubt Fnatic will have enough money for sentry wards.
And Ketchik Imba seems like he could very well go out there.
He's using Weave to scout. Now, the scouting was nice, and it does see Chuan and Faith because the Weave remains, but they just blink down and they find Mushi again. This will be his 3rd death of the game. You get a Blood right off. Actually, the Shallow Grave keeping him up, but you've got a Tombstone, and there's that Brewmaster ulti going to go to work again, sending him up in towards the air. So goodbye to your Bloodseeker, goodbye to your Dazzle, and probably goodbye to your Tier 1 and potentially Tier 2 tower in mid.
Yeah, they did take the Tier 1 top, but again, losing the Bloodseeker and losing the Dazzle, this really hurts them. And Ferrari just playing so well as well on his Brewmaster, immediately cancelling the TPs when he splits.
They go on top. They won't see Johnny in time to cancel off the TP. Well, we had to reach him because the Blink was already used to get these shards out. But that Earthshaker is a Blink Dagger. If IG kept pushing then, it would have really backfired on them.
He managed to farm that entire thing. He got last hit top on the tower, I believe. Oh no, actually that could have been Rasta got that. But still, the tower gold will team get closer. Oh, they smoked under an observer ward. They get pinged out as well, so 100% IG knows what the Rasta and Shaker are doing.
And if they wanted, they could just, like, if Ferrari gets his Blink Dagger back off cooldown, he could just get to a point where they can break the smoke.
Yeah.
With the Vladimir's up on him, he's already very tanky as it is, and maybe even be able to fight directly.
Maybe. You don't really want to risk that, though, against something like Fisher that can stun you out from the Fog of War range.
This feels like Fnatic's final like YOLO play. Like, if this doesn't work, there's no way they can really win this game. Observer Ward comes down, and Chuan, he's even going to be able to deep ward it straight away. That's just really unfortunate.
Yeah, they're backing out, running into their own jungle with the tail between their legs. Just like, yeah, we couldn't find anything.
You don't want to have this happen. With the Vladimir's on Ferrari, they can just pop into Roshan IG because you got the Medallion to Courage over on Witch Doctor.
Yeah, and Vlad's works so well together with their team as well. It's going to buff up, of course, the Brewlings when you split, but also works really well for the Tuskar, works well for the PL. It's just a beautiful item pickup.
Fun times ahead for IG.
Yeah, definitely. Well, 1 in 15. Let's have a dream. Let's have a dream, Fnatic.
The dream is IG going for Roshan. They have almost like 75% of the weave effect on, and then Ursha gets a 5-man Echo Slam, the Mass Weapon Wars trap all of IG inside the pit, and Razor just Plasma Fields and Eye of the Storms as they try and come out. And Bloodseeker Blood Rights them. That's the dream.
I was gonna say the dream was to get one more kill, but yeah, that would be also that's also a nice dream.
I dream big, Waga.
Yeah,
I dream big.
Never stop, Toby.
Oh,
Bottom
Highest,
lane, they definitely want to go on Burning here. If they run up with Johnny now, they are going for it.
This is not going to be enough. Johnny's too far away, and now the blink up to Snowball. They weren't expecting him to be there. The Master from towards Cast. It's Luo who's taking all the damage until Vecton arrives and Soul Rip. Ohio, TP, not in time. Johnny now will also try his luck, but both are coming up with Snake Eyes.
Yeah, he didn't have time to cast his Fissure there. If he had 4 points into his Aftershock already, then he could probably have done that, but Shaker just didn't have time before the Doppelganger. There's quite a bit of casting time for the Fissure. So,
PL is now basically finished up. Like, it's almost his full diffuser blade.
Yeah, and he already has the Yasha and Travels. We're talking before 20 minutes, so with this Roshan, if he gets the last hit on it, he's going to have the entire diffusal.
He's actually dropping his bottle for the Aegis the model. And he should be looking to sell that bottle, because that will let him just have the whole shebang.
Yeah, it's very nice stuff going on for Burning. He's enjoying this. He never says no to some free farm.
I'm trying to remain positive, Waga.
Okay, well, on a positive note, they always have the possibility of killing the enemy team, Toby. If IG mess up, if they go like, oh, look, a penny, and just stack up as 5, Shaker can just wreck it.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Do you have a penny, Toby?
I do not own a penny. I am not from England.
Damn.
Or from America. Pennies are in both countries, right?
Casters do not own single pennies.
I have a cent. 1 cent piece.
Yeah.
It's tiny.
Honestly, the comeback mechanic for them in this game is really, really hard to pull off. There's no good way to clear the stacks. There's no, they're really good deep wards by IG as well, so they have full track on where they're moving. Top lane now trying to pursue onto the Bloodseeker. He has to TP out immediately and still loses half his health to this army of PL. This is looking grim.
When Burning gets a little bit more damage behind him, those kind of TPs won't even be possible. You talked about it before. Normally a TP out from against a Bloodseeker doesn't even work. In this case, TPing out from a PL is soon not going to function either. And in fact, he TPs into the mid. So the Bloodseeker TP'd out. There's nothing that's really being expended by Fnatic apart from the fact that Echo Slam's still on cooldown for another 7 seconds.
Yeah.
But that's IG was forcing it anyway.
IG want to get a chance to use their primal split. I think they're going to go for the bottom tier 2 push though, as that tower is a little bit easier to force than the mid. There are less places to hide for a Shaker, for example. So we'll see if they actually go there. Seems that the 5-man Dota is going to start now. With the Aegis on PL, I see no reason to slow down. Just keep going here.
Yeah. And let Burning go nuts. Like he can just like throw out Lances, Doppelganger in, do as much damage as he wants, take away all the mana from Shaman.
Yeah,
Earthshaker as well. Like if he gets 1 Lance on Earthshaker, then the team fight of Fnatic is basically dead.
Definitely. And he's very high level as well. He's level 15. Soon gonna have that max level ulti, and when he gets 1 more point in Doppelganger, that 10-second cooldown is also brutal.
Every team fight, just... You don't even have to... Not enough yet. Yeah.
That's the 2nd time in a row. That's literally what Mushi has to do right now. He runs up top, tries to farm a little bit, PL is there, he has to TP out. That's the play now, the last 3 minutes or so. And meanwhile, PL has also been part of taking bottom tower, going for objectives, doing so much more, being more productive. And this is a struggle. Look at KYXY hiding in the trees.
It's the only thing he could do. Like, he went to the dark jungle to find a little bit of farm and then just get the hell out. He needs to find the BKB. Like, even then, that's not going to be enough.
I'm pretty sure there's a point to be made that the more TPs you have done to your base, the worse the game is going for you in general. When you TP out, that's when you're a winner. TP the base, that's when you're in a bad spot. That's all they are doing right now, Fnatic. Pushing out and then getting scared and having to TP away.
But what else can you do? Like, you have every right to be scared. This team has almost a 12,000
goal
advantage at Earthshaker. Yep, they blew him up.
They're gonna hex him
Do
instant.
they have
will
more?
get him.
And Doppelganger,
Oh.
jump out. Which one's real?
He
They
got
actually
him.
hex the real one,
Nice.
as well as chain him up. Rupture's there. Bernie's got nowhere to go. He just tries to create a couple of illusions, buys up his Sanj before he dies.
Oh, that is a lot of golds.
Not the full thing, though, just the recipe as well as the belt.
Yeah, interesting. They started buying the Sanch instead of waiting for a full Manta, but against the Shaker, you don't really want to add more illusions necessarily.
Yep.
So you're fine with that. That's 1,640 gold for killing one PL.
That's nice, man. But there's still so much money on the rest of IG. I'm looking at a Witch Doctor who's 2,000 away from having an Ags upgrade.
Yeah. But more importantly, they also achieved their dream. Or my dream.
Your dream? To get one pick off.
My dream was that they would get one pick off.
My dream's a little harder for him.
Yeah. So demanding.
My dream is almost like Mission Impossible style.
Yeah, I've seen your Mission Impossible Furion.
My Mission Impossible Furion's amazing! Don't you dare. Don't you dare, Waga.
Okay, so see, they're actually gonna smoke up now on IG, trying to go with Ferrari and Faith and John going into the enemy base here.
Well, again, it's back to that
top.
point we're talking about. You've got Brewmaster split up. At the same time, Shadow Shaman's always had his wards up and never really found an opening.
Well, they have seen that everyone's teams do playing very aggressive on top. They keep going there, they ganked their carry on top lane and just trying to find anyone here farming Ancients, but there's no good Ancient farming hero. They need to go deeper.
Well, they got the Dire Observe ward to remain on top, so at least they know if anyone's going to be there. And Burning will be the bait in mid.
Yeah, smoking in for the wards is very nice. So, yeah, that is a good point at least.
They break it up. And now the tier 2 tower. The Blood Ride's going to take care of the first part of the creep wave, but it's a little bit early, so the next wave just comes in all right. So there's no problems whatsoever. While the Mass Serpent Ward's on the top tier 2 tower is forcing a TP back from Invictus Gaming. So Burning will come. Where there's money, there is Burning.
Yeah, definitely. He's always going to keep farming if he can, and these wards actually give so much gold, and he's cleaning it up very easily. They're trying to set up a trap for him. 13 seconds for the ulti, but they're actually in a trap themselves. They see it, though.
They need to run away. The blink's up. Where's the shards? Where's the vision? There's the shards. There's the TP.
Yeah. Well,
okay, they didn't realize the TP happened. They dropped the tombstone just in case.
yeah, they just drop it, trying to find anyone really, clearing some trees and see if it spawns a zombie. So seems that they might just be going for the top push now. IG looking pretty ready to fight, it seems like.
Yeah,
What do they? Oh, they have 3.2k gold on Brewmaster, so he's stacking up. I'm curious to see if he's gonna go for that Aghanims. He does have the gem on Brewmaster, which is very, very nice. You can deward so much, and even when you pop your ulti form, you still have the true sight, of course, from your Earth Panda, as it sticks on that hero.
Fisher on Luo with the jump up from real high. He's really committing to this. Echo Slam still available. He can throw it out and kill off Luo. And actually, Snowball protects him. IG's going to leave him alone. The Blood Right's also there. And Blink up, but he is so totally dead.
Blinking with Rupture gives you some damage. Yeah. Well, when you blink with Rupture, though, it gives you only 1 damage instance. So, you know, if you had, for say, a hero that blocks damage instances, you could get away with that.
Unfortunately, Tusker doesn't have that.
Yeah, what a bad hero.
Obviously, terrible. Should never be drafted.
So, almost full BKB on KYX by now. And he does have the full thing. Oh, picked it up and gonna send it out. This could make the fights a little bit more doable for them. Because right now, they're just struggling with everything.
The fights might be a little bit more doable, but at the same time, I'm also looking at a Tusker who's obviously not as close because he hasn't completed it, but he also bought his items while he's inside that snowball. So the BKB is approaching. The Witch Doctor now is 1,500 gold away from the Aghanim Scepter. And the Undying, like, he already finished up the mech, didn't really get much more than that. And goodbye, Johnny. He'll TP up.
And we are comparing a Tusk to
a Razor.
A Razor. That's, you know, not really fair. So the fact that he almost has a BKB just kind of tells how this game is going. Very, very tough game.
It is, however, a core Tusker.
It is. Well, it's a semi-core with the Undying taking a lot from it as well on laning stage. So they're kind of sharing it. They're buddies, mostly. But in this game, I think if IG can only get like 5 more kills or so, they can probably just push high ground.
Yeah, it would look good. Burning's almost at a point too where he'll look at his next major item. Like, it could be anything. He wants to go high ground. Like between Harp, between Butterfly, either will work. Brewmaster with his BKB up and running, so Ferrari He'll jump in. That should be a brawler before he goes in for his ultimate. And Ohio, well, they at least control Burning. And where's that? Oh, he's snowballing a creep. I didn't think he actually managed to get in range of Ohio to do that. The Sigil will scatter to Ohio, but it also watches him leave.
Yeah, he's gone. And this is buying a lot of time for Fnatic. They're pushing out bottom with their 2 supports. The Dazzle and Rasta are just shoveling this creep wave as much as they can, trying to keep their tier 2 safe, because they still have 2 tier 2 towers, and hold on to this game pretty well. The downside, though, is that it feels like PL is the ticking time bomb. No one else.
Yep.
So you're holding on, but what are you holding on to? Is it something that's going to save you or kill you?
Well, you could hope the Undying will be less effective. Maybe that's one way you could look at it. Because when it comes to your supports, the Earthshake is always going to offer so much.
Yes,
to Fnatic.
definitely.
And the Shadow Shaman's Mass Serpent boards, while... Oh, wow, they just blew double smokes. That doesn't help you. But the supports from Fnatic still do a lot of work.
Yeah, their offlaner and the supports are really good. They have the disables. Disables become more and more valuable the further you go into a game. And it's just very nice to hold high ground with. So we'll see if they can take some good team fights against IG. They're trying to smoke up and pick up anyone. Of course, we already know this jungle is empty.
Yeah. Not only do they commit 2 smokes to do this movement,
Yeah.
but they miss all of IG.
They do.
It doesn't get any saltier than this. You put up aggressive warding, but IG is either ready to take the tier 2, take the tier 3 tower on bottom lane, or just swing themselves into Roshan. If Chuan stays an extra 2-3 seconds, he will see Roshan spawn up as he just did now.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But they dropped their Rasta wards here on top lane, and actually they are the ones contesting a tower.
No fortification. It's on cooldown, so yep, they have to let it go.
I have to say, that was a very free tower for Fnatic. The smoke gank failed, but they got a tower and there was no fight going on. They didn't lose anything. Roshan was not taken. They probably thought that they were going to trade. They believe that the enemy are on Roshan right now.
Yeah.
That's why they're pushing this aggressively, but IG are coming.
Well, then again, like the weave from Kerchikimba was so deep, it didn't hit any of IG, and they could chase this one down. Snowball into KYXY, the Lancers are following too. You've still got Diffuser Blade charges, which will slow them down. And Burning, got to get to the front lines. KYXY, TP out. Where's your punch? Not available. Hence he does the TP.
Yeah, he used the punch very early there. Maybe if he held on to that, but it's tough to say. The BKB TP out is also fine for him. It's definitely not a bad thing. 10-second BKB used to TP out. You never want to do that, really. You're fresh, pricey BKB used like that.
So KYXY is going to be building into a little bit more armor as the plate mail is now purchased from the secret shop.
Yeah, stacking up armor is definitely going to help a little bit. There's mostly physical damage.
Goodbye mid.
Yeah.
Dazzle was trying to survive it, but...
Hey, that's what you get when you keep trying to push out lanes all the time as a support. Sooner or later, someone's got to call you out on your shenanigans.
It's also going to be Roshan time. Finally, Faith's going to walk in. It's like, okay, yeah, he's up. So Burning with just a couple of illusions can let the bottom lane do his pushing. And then Ferrari jumps in, tanks it, and they take a very quick Roshan. They don't... well, they do have Brewmaster ulti up. Tusker... No, everything's fine. Like, they get everything they're required to fight.
They have the Tombstone available, so there's no way you can really contest this.
Game 1.
Yeah, I mean, Roshing as Dire when you have Tombstone as well, it's just almost impossible to go in there. That's why Undying is so damn popular. Yes, his laning phase is pretty good. Yes, he does offer a lot of, you know, contribution into the team fights, but his Roshan, that's like the biggest point, I feel.
The Earthshaker Illusion's trying to have a bit of a look in, and it will be able to see what Roshan's up to. But
yes.
As you said...
Behind the ice bars, though. You don't get to... Yeah. Visiting hours are closed.
Also, Exhibit now closed as he's dead. A full heart for Burning with an Aegis of the Immortal.
Oh, that's a very good sustainability item as well. Some people go for a Scotty, but he's going to try and have the item that allows him to keep going. Are they going to try and kill him? I mean, he has an Aegis. There's no point at all going on him.
Even with the burst damage they get from the Echo Slam, it wouldn't be enough unless you had a huge creep wave right next to him to find the kill.
You would have to get a lot of right clicks in and perfectly not overlap your disables as well. You have the Hex, the ES stuns. Of course, you could maybe bring him down, but the amount of time that you give for the enemy to react that close to the tower, never.
Okay, it's go time, man. Chuan has a full Aghanims. Once the courier hits the base, it'll fly back out again with the full Ags. You have a Glimmer Cape now also available for Faith when it flies out too. In fact, it looks like they need to get rid of some stuff. There's too many ones there. A full BKB for Luo and the Glimmer Cape coming out.
Yeah, this is a key timing, if anything. I mean, we often talk about power peaks in Dota and how you should always play to when you are the strongest, when you pick up a lot of different, you know, key items. And that's what they're doing right now. And they use the smoke to go as well. So going with the Aegis, newly acquired BKB, fresh Aghanims on Chon, they are stronger than they have ever looked, along with the Heart on their Travels PL. They can definitely gank bottom.
So, well, is it just to gank bottom and then push?
I think so. Try and gank bottom and shove all the way. But
It's a 7-second cooldown. 6-second cooldown on his TP. Actually, he has to wait 3 seconds. 2 seconds.
He's gonna get
Smoke's
away.
going to break on Lure. They realize he's further up. Gets the vision. Going to blink a bunch and too late.
That was close. That was real close, Mushi. Dear God.
But now IG could just group up and just force bottom lane.
Actually, 1 more second CD on this TP and he would have died there. But they will try and push out bottom now. But of course, the reaction comes immediately from Fnatic as they're shoving the top lane. This is the kind of cat and mouse game that you have in Dota when you are weaker, you want to dodge the enemy, you split push a lot. Of course, now Bloodseeker has to be careful about pushing top because he has 39 second CD on his TP.
They pinged out Sean's Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah.
He just walked past the Radiant Observer Ward and there's a ping directly on the Witch Doctor. Could have been positioning, but more than likely is Ags.
Yeah, okay, so these two teams average the lowest amount of kills per patch.
Really?
Or per, for this patch, yeah. So,
they like to play the, you play on your side of the map,
I would say
mine.
IG did their part in killing this game, but it's just Fnatic. They have a few kills to catch up. I'm sure they will get it.
Oh, they're pushing with 3 men on top. Their pushing power is next to nothing compared to Invictus Gaming's.
Yeah, compared to, and also PL just dives in, starts going on them.
Burning just goes for it. Johnny, well, he'll be able to TP away to safety. All 3 of them will TP away to safety. Burning's got 30 seconds before he can come back.
Nice stun, PL.
You don't have one.
3 heroes just TPing away in front of your nose. One of them graved and the rest of them
Ferrari, big jump in. The BKB baits it out of Mushy. Ferrari doesn't even care. The Death Ward, however, that's a heavy commitment from Chuan.
Yeah, that's not the Aghanim's Death Ward we want to see. It's pretty low cooldown, though. I mean, it's just 80 seconds. It's going to be up very soon.
If IG just make a run, they're going to get the haste stream before it times out too, which is really, really nice. The new one spawns, and it's a regeneration rune to boot.
Yeah.
That'll be bottled by the Undying.
No good old haste and DD rune.
So IG, they push top lane. They'll take the tier 2 tower. It's 1 minute until the Death Ward's back up again, and that should be by the time they reach the tier 3.
They're also starting to choke in Fnatic more now, because we have seen Fnatic push really far. We saw them up by the tier 3 on top lane, but right now, they're not really getting that far out. And considering the fact that there's PL pushing top with his Aegis and Heart, you can't do much against him. And the rest of the IG crew are going to run together.
I like the wall positioning from Ohio. He sees everything coming at him on that top lane.
It's the anti-Tinker ward, the gold one. It's really good.
Burning,
Plenty of
Doppelganger avoids, blood right. He can't stop this. Like, Ohio could walk in from behind, like, force off into Echo Slam, but no one else from his team wants to be part of this.
If they stacked up a lot, if they really stacked up there, he would have gone. He might still get a nice slam here since he's behind them.
But the Dire Observer Ward is going to scout him out the second he walks in the lane. That's why he has to force stuff down through the tree line, but he already used his Blink Dagger, so they're not ready to go. The Tombstone's there, but the Earthshaker is not ready to fight. In the meantime, KYXY being initiated on. The BKB comes out from Ferrari. Now KYXY, no TP this time around. This time, he dies. 64 seconds on the sideline. Buyback is available, however.
They had cooldown on Blink and Force Staff there on Shaker, and no TP as well, so you can't really help the
Ohio is still waiting. Ohio is still waiting.
Stay in the trees.
There's no good opportunity, however.
No, he's waiting for a dive, and they're like, where is this Shaker?
At least they've got Burning with no armor. So Hex in, is the weave going to work?
Here we go.
And now there's your jump in for the Fisher, but he can only control Burning. But the Death Ward from Chuan is going to start bouncing around. Fnatic, they're being torn apart by it. They have to back up. The Razor might have bought back, but what's going to be left of his team? The Mass Wars might be there, but the Brewmaster ulti is still causing severe havoc inside the base. The Fire Brewling can't finish the job. They're backing up on Ferrari, a quick blink away. Johnny off to the wrong side. The Dire Observer Ward's letting him know exactly where Fnatic are moving. And IG, even though Fisher from Ohio is off target, they're away, but they didn't take racks.
Yeah.
But they did get 3 buybacks.
Yeah, they forced the Razor as well. 3 buybacks forced. Plenty of economic damage there, and they just got away so cleanly as well. Look at the gold on Burning. Like, he's actually buying up items now. I think he's buying the entire...
It's a full butterfly.
Yeah, exactly. The entire butterfly is on the way. when he picks it up now. I don't see how you're gonna kill him. Like, your magic damage, yes, it's gonna bring him down pretty low, but it's 3k HP we're talking.
Yeah.
And then how are you gonna face the rest when he has a butterfly? It just seems very, very difficult.
I don't know, man. I don't think there really is an answer. This PL is a beast. An absolute beast.
Top lane, they're jumping in, but BKB on Tusk.
Just a quick BKB TP out. No stun to stop him, so he's fine.
Yep, gonna be fine. Getting away from this one.
But what's Kerchik meant to do in this bottom lane? You
I
see a huge creep wave coming in. I can burst heal the wave. Yay.
I think Tusk is going for Lotus Orb as well, by the way. We have seen a lot of them today, and he has the plate mail now. I don't see which item he would go other than that. So very likely, also very good against some of these heroes. Like against the static link, you can link back the damage so nothing actually happens. Against Rasta, you can stop the chain disable. It's just a pretty decent item.
Interesting to see Mushi's item choice. Going for the Mjolnir. I know we were talking about it previously. If it would be a good choice, a Mushi. Oh, there's a straight TP out. How much does Burning just want to have
God, he almost dies there.
He's going to buy a Basher. Like,
Yeah.
Burning actually has to buy a Basher into Abyssal. Like,
He could definitely. It would be a strong item for appeal. Abyssal next item would make him a monster. Or he could go for MKB, but I don't see a reason to do that.
yeah. Like, the mini bash is nice, but just having that secure every time I want to, I can stun up either Razor or the Bloodseeker, take him out of the game.
However, I don't even think that he needs to have Disable, honestly. He doesn't need to have the... He doesn't need to get these kills. He needs to be as strong as possible in the push. If he just stacks up like a Skadi on top of what he already has,
Yeah.
he's just immortal. Like, he's not gonna die to anything. So, I think that's also a very valid choice.
Many paths he can go. He's already got the Assault Cuirass aura from the Brewmaster.
Yeah, they almost have Assault Cuirass on Fnatic as well. Razor's working hard to get it, but he needs the full recipe.
Look at him come. Burning moves forward. Almost breaking the smoke of Fnatic.
Very close.
They're coming underneath the Type's Overlord. Now
Ferrari.
Ferrari's going to do it. BKBs goes for the clap and misses the target. Fnatic is backing the hell out of here as quick as they possibly can.
Yeah, that was some fast blink outs there. Getting away. Also forced a BKB from Brewmaster.
Too many PL illusions causing havoc inside the base. They're going to start to replicate themselves out as Burning. The man in the front lines, Doppelgangers, makes more of himself as Ferrari jumps in, goes for the split, taking the Dazzle out, and actually forcing the Shallow Grave to be used defensively. And this means KOXY, there's no safety net, especially for Mushi as well.
Mushi's just dying to the Brewlings.
Yeah, he's just running around on top of him. He's down for the count.
Oh my god.
There's nothing more to really be said about this game. It's 22 for 3. In fact, it's the full 3-2-2 right now.
It is. I did say 5 more kills, Toby.
They might just call GG at this point, because you're losing top. There's no way you can fight Burning. You've got no Bloodseeker available. There's no buyback up for anyone. They've expended so much money. The only thing that will give them something is an Echo Slam jump, and now this is exactly what they're doing. The fissure in, Ferrari is low, but the Death Ward, Chuan sitting on the back in the shards. It's a massacre. GG. IG take game number 1 against Fnatic.
326. Dear God. I mean, when your 300 somewhat plus CS Bloodseeker gets soloed by the Brewlings, like, you're just suffering. There was nothing going right for Fnatic this game.
It was a hard knock life. IG take game number 1 in the series. We'll be coming back for game number 2 very, very soon.
All right, yeah, so game number 1. Yeah, Fnatic not having such a good time. IG looking super strong after their loss against Secret. Of course, a dominating score. But overall, I mean, even from the draft, right, we felt that something was different with IG. They had that backup plan. They said, all right, here we go with the Brewmaster. They came in and then possibly threw Fnatic off their game. Where do you think it all went in favor of IG?
I think the first 10 minutes, things just went way better for IG than they should have. The safe lane for Fnatic completely crumbled. The dual lane off lane that they ran with the Tusk Undying, they get the first blood on Mushi under their tower with the ice shards. Then they chase down afterwards, I think a minute later, and get 2 additional kills. And that kind of just sets the pace of the game. When your off lane is doing that well, even though Brewmaster suffers in mid, they can make space for him. He gets the blink. And I would definitely agree with you. The Brewmaster was a huge part of the success. A great last pick.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that you bring that up because we do have some highlights from the early game because that's where we have felt that things really did change in favor of IG. So again, in the first 10 minutes, you have IG coming in.
So this is after they found the first blood on Mushi. They're going in here. This is the Ice Shards combination with the Tombstone. So you shard someone in and you drop the Tombstone behind. They do manage to bring down the tomb, but it takes so much effort that ultimately Johnny will... He's almost escaping here, but he will be clubbed one more time by the Undying here on his way out. So
yeah, you have to walk right by them after trying to help his teammates out on their escape. How did you guys feel, Ben and Winter? I mean, IG, overall, what part of them looked a lot better? Was it just maybe all parts? Obviously, the draft seemed pretty clean
I think
from
just
them.
capitalizing on the weak parts of the opponent's lineup. We've talked about Lion being a weak support, but I think Shadow Shaman in a 3-on-2 or 3-on-3 situation is really vulnerable. And I mean, if he's like sitting there channeling Shackle, he's actually usually a It's like you can even like snowball somebody that's getting shackled. You can just lock him in place. He's really slow. If he doesn't get boots early, he's going to feed. He can't right-click down the tombstone. And yeah, we talked about the wards being able to kill the tombstone, but so much of the damage was done before the wards even came online.
Okay, let's jump into another replay as we continue talking with you, Winter. I want to ask a couple questions going off of that. Do you think that maybe there was two? Yeah, that replay was pretty sick too. But here we go. Another early portion of the game, of course, at the 14-minute mark.
And the Cyclone from the Panda ultimate twice was so good. First he stopped the Dazzle for a bit, and then it cancelled the TP from the Razor, which was great. So it did a lot of work in this fight.
And there he just comes back one more hit.
This kind of the moment I saw Ferrari was playing Brew, it gave me flashbacks to TI2, where I think he actually had the most outstanding Brewmaster performance I've ever seen. Like, he completely carried a game. That was a very memorable moment. A big part of IG's success in that tournament was, of course, Ferrari's play as always, but he had that one Brewmaster game where he did everything right. I remember the game, and I couldn't put a finger on his play. It's like very rare that you see a player's performance just like... It's one of those games where you're just in the zone, right?
Right.
And he is an incredible Brewmaster player. I would definitely put him in the top 3 on that hero in the world, and he, once again, delivers here. That said, as Ben said, they obviously exploited weaknesses in the enemy lineup. I also think Fnatic were not having their best showing in this game. I think there were a couple of moments where it seemed like there was a little bit of a disconnect between how Ohio was imagining going in with a fissure and how the Shadow Shaman followed up. There were a couple of moments where it just seemed like they were a little bit out of sync, and you can't afford being out of sync against a team that punishes you so hard.
Yeah, even, of course, in the later portion of the game, we saw the Earthshaker just not finding that opening and then being stuck in the trees for quite some time before being able to jump in. Winter, on the side of Fnatic, I mean, when we were talking about the draft, we're like, all right, it's been kind of back and forth around the Tombstone and the Undying. That's been the focus. And then, of course, IG kind of had the last upper hand. But do you think Fnatic may be focusing a little bit too much only on what their game plan was? I mean, because I bring this up because we talked about the Shadow Shaman a little bit.
Yeah, I feel the main and biggest problem in the game we saw, which was quite evident, is the laning phase of the Shadow Shaman. He's very weak. Obviously, he's very strong in team fights and stuff. But the combination of having a Dazzle and a Shaman in the lane, it's kill potential not too high, and you're up against a Undying lane. So Shaman is like Lion. Obviously, we all think the same. Yeah, at the end of the day, he's gonna have a tough laning phase, and as a result of that, the impact of the hero got severely hampered because he died, I think 2 or 3 times in the lane in total. So he needs levels and ultimately the dagger to be able to do his job properly. But I think he got the level 6 timing I wasn't sure, but overall I feel the laning phase, he had too much to deal with in the laning phase, and they just got ball out of control.
He's really good versus like a solo Clockwork or even a solo Tusk.
Yeah, if it's
two
one
heroes
hero, one hero is fine, but if it's 2v2 or 3v2, he doesn't shine in that sort of matchup.
Which they should have anticipated because their first 2 picks were...
Yeah, it's Tusk and Undying.
Yeah, we mentioned that right away, that, okay, this is most likely going to be the duo.
So actually, it's not really exploiting a weakness. They just like kind of picked into it.
That said, though, I actually want to commend Fnatic on how well they played after the disasters early. Like, they were behind 17-1. It looked like it was going to be a complete stomp, but they actually managed to keep like the gold advantage at a reasonable level.
The Midas from the Bloodseeker was actually kicking in. That's why it wasn't as big as we expected.
And they also stopped. They stopped getting picked off, right? They just got picked off way too much in the first 20 minutes. But then they played an actually really solid mid game where you could definitely tell that had the early game not gone like as a complete disaster, their game plan could have easily come together. And to me, their draft made a lot of sense. The laning stage just didn't go their way at all.
Okay, all right. Now, just because we've been focusing here and there on certain picks. Obviously, Undying was the theme of the day for yesterday. And today, coming across, we saw some Ember. But now for these teams specifically, Bloodseeker's kind of been on their mind. They both used it against Team Secret. And then Fnatic tried to bring it out again. Didn't work out this time. Do you think it's still something that's going to be in high contention, or at least both teams are going to be a little aware of it? Or, I mean, on IG side, they just won against it. I don't know if they'll be too worried. What are your thoughts, Winter?
I think the hero itself is a little similar to Viper in a sense where he has a job to dominate the lane and he has to have a good start. He can't afford to fall behind like a hero. Obviously, SF is a hero where we talk about if you fall behind, then you can raise the jungle and you just come back. But for Bloodseeker, it's more of he needs to be on a roll to be able to be a driving force in the game. So he had a very bad laning phase, but he still managed to recover with the Midas. But all in all, I think Fnatic's lineup in that game had to do well. Like, even if they were able to hold the game for a long time, but at the end of the day, you're fighting against a PL and your safe lane your position 1 is a Bloodseeker. You don't want to go to a 50, 60-minute game against a PL. You're not going to win that matchup.
I think it's a really good point that, in a way, on paper, Bloodseeker's weakest position is safe lane. Because if you put Bloodseeker safe lane and you don't run an aggressive tri lane, you don't have pressure on multiple lanes, right? I talked about it earlier that the way you utilize a Bloodseeker and make him extremely powerful is that you just deal damage, right? You deal damage to enemy heroes somewhere on the map and he wins his lane as a result. But when you're playing him in the safe lane, the offlaner just plays passively, the enemy safe laner is just free farming with full health and the mid lane is a wash, then all of a sudden your Bloodseeker is just like a standard hero in lane. And he doesn't farm that fast. He's like an average carry in that sense, I would say, but the way he utilizes farm compared to PL, that for me is like a no-brainer. You would rather have a PL with 15k net worth than a Bloodseeker with 15k net worth. And that wasn't even the case, because PL out-farmed him as well, right? Because he farms faster. So I think if you just looked at the draft in isolation with what they had, if they could have somehow put their lanes different, I think that could have made for a much better game for them. But I don't know what they could have done. Like, they kind of cornered themselves with the picks they had.
I mean, it's quite difficult to change their lanes looking
maybe
at
Bloodseeker
the lineup. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
But it's still Bloodseeker versus Panda, right?
Yeah, I think that's even.
Probably better, maybe for Bloodseeker, I'd say.
And then you can run an aggressive tri lane with your Razor, and then all of a sudden your Bloodseeker can win because Razor's pressuring, and you're doing damage in the lane.
I mean, they could have changed their lanes, obviously, but maybe they didn't expect the lanes to go that badly. That's why they felt it was. I mean, it's easy for us to say.
Yeah, because it's hindsight. Yeah.
Yeah, we could have. They should have changed their lanes, but probably they figured that our lanes might not be so disastrous as what happened. That's why they lane it the way they did.
I think that's a good way you put it, because that's kind of going off of what Synderen said earlier. If that early game hadn't gone that badly, maybe we would have seen the game differently.
Their lineup is fine. Like, if everything is smooth sailing or even 50-50, like throughout the early game, their lineup comes together very strongly in the mid game. But sadly, they just fell behind too much in the early game. Lanes didn't go well.
All right, well, as we saw, players are getting ready for Game 2. We should be jumping in here in just a second as you go into the draft. Now, of course, Fnatic, they tied 1-1 against Secret, so they have something to lean back on. They're like, all right, well, we took a game off of Secret. That's not a bad place to start TI5. On the flip side, IG, they definitely want to continue with this game plan and try to get that 2-0 to get those 3 points so that they also have a relatively good start to their TI5 journey. Now, we're looking at a couple of our other matches that are going on, too. Just a reminder, we do have 3 matches going on at the same time. Do you guys have updates on these? I mean, I'm looking at, MVP Phoenix going up against Na'Vi. And
looks pretty close.
Yeah,
this is a pretty close game.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like MVP Phoenix is slightly ahead for now, but what I've heard was Na'Vi was farming a little bit better going onward. So.
And they had Magnus PA.
Right, I mean, that seems like that's going to be the big point.
Na'Vi are very comfortable playing late game scenarios where they have Dendia and Magnus in the melee core. And I've just seen this type of game many times from Na'Vi where their early mid game doesn't look that good, and then they have this particular combination of heroes and they just destroy the enemy. And all of a sudden they just get like a 5-man team wipe because of a good RP, and then they just chase them down. So this one could go either way, honestly, right now. And the other match was
Newbie versus Virtus.
Newbie Virtus. That was fairly close, and then Newbie made a couple of mistakes and Virtus took it. Was that a 40-minute game, I think?
Yeah, Newbie looked like they were, they've been practicing, and I think they put up a very good fight versus Virtus Pro, and I think a lot of people would rate Newbie like probably 13 or 16, but again, they were first place last year. So I rate them a little bit higher than that.
So we'll have to wait and see. But VP currently leading that series 1-0. Right now, as you can see on our screens, we are into draft on the main stream, back to Game 2 of Fnatic versus IG. So if you want to check out the other matchups, definitely hop on to Stream B or Stream C on Dota2.com. But if you're going to stay around, let's get through the draft here as we look at, Undying being banned out by Fnatic. Just didn't want to deal with that this time.
They just had, on top of the Shadow Shaman being weak and them losing that lane, they didn't have like a solution for the Brewmaster in the fights, and on top of that, they also didn't have a solution for the PL in the late game.
Yeah.
So I think at all stages in the game, they were outdrafted of sorts. And as you say, like Fnatic, they don't have a super well-rounded draft.
They had to do well in the early phase.
Yeah.
That's like their mission for the whole lineup to work. Yeah, more or less that.
So Tusk again.
Yeah, I was just say, has been left open. Fnatic will take advantage of that this time.
Probably going to see burning on a gyrocopter this game, most likely.
Yeah, you want to, as I said before, you want to have mass AoE damage against Snowball, so you can deal with that. And yeah, Gyro seems like something that IG is very comfortable with in the past as well. So
I think Gyro Shaker is a solid response
Yeah.
to a Tusk opener like this with the heroes that are banned. This would be a pretty good pick.
doesn't give away too much, and lanes are still alright. You have good lanes, and Earthshaker can be offlane, can be support, so quite flexible in that matter.
Or Gyro Dazzle. I like Dazzle.
Dazzle
Yeah,
too.
Dazzle as
Oh,
well.
that's
Yeah,
true, yeah,
Gyro
we-
Dazzle as well. Yeah.
Somehow kind of slips by the radar now and then, but yeah, Dazzle has been definitely a high priority for most teams so far in TI5.
I wonder if they're going to forget about Brood. It's going to happen again in the group
Yeah,
stage.
I mean,
it always
it
happens.
has to, right? That's just part of the rule. I mean, with this many games going
Like
on
you
too.
should have like a note you put on your screen, the screen of the drafter. You just have like a little a post-it. You just put it on there. Ban Brood second phase.
know-
You just put it.
You know, we actually had that in the past where we bring a small notebook and we would stick sticky notes on top. Like just-
That's not a bad
I mean,
idea. I mean, if you're allowed
as,
to, why
as a
not?
drafter, you would like, okay, this team,
Yeah.
and there will be a page for yourself. Okay, don't forget to pick Storm for Mushi. Don't forget to ban stuff like that.
No, that would be a good idea. But Bloodseeker actually going to be now taken for IG.
That's a bit surprising.
Huh.
That's not what I was expecting.
I'm actually pretty surprised about that.
Was that the same opening they did versus Secret? I
Yes.
kind of remember they opened the same way.
Yeah, well, in the first two picks,
Yeah.
it was Gyro Bloodseeker. I mean, it might have been reversed, but either way, it was on the same side as second and third pick, rather.
So the idea of having Bloodseeker versus Tusk is he snowballs in with his team, you silence them with your bird, right?
It's actually pretty nice, and you have cooldown too. There's like
Yeah.
two really good response abilities to have.
Yeah, but at the same time, like you can just wait until he ruptures and blood brights and then snowball everyone and avoid so much of the damage.
Then Snowball would
Yeah.
be used against Bloodseeker.
Yeah, it works both ways.
That's how Snowball always is. It's never bad. You can
Yeah.
always dodge something.
That's why he's first pick.
Yeah, it's
Right.
real.
All right, and then the Witch Doctor now on the other side, so kind of just swapping things back out.
Snowball in the Death Ward. That would actually be sick.
That would be
You remember-
pretty sick.
You remember when there was the bug where you could snowball in landmines? You could like put them into your snowball and then roll in. That was really, really good. That got hot
Okay.
fixed. That was sick.
Just
Wow.
Yeah,
Because they counted as a unit, and you could like
Okay.
pick up units, right?
All right.
Wow. Okay. Well,
The real nightmare.
That is
The real nightmare.
yeah,
That's the worst
like
Tusk
that is the
techies.
worst case scenario. That sounds pretty bad. And just so we're clear, Broodmother does get banned out.
So Fnatic is like, okay, we are not dealing
Yeah.
with Broodmother.
They don't want to give that up.
Do you think they'll spring for a Zeus again, or what other? Do you think that Bloodseeker is suitable for Ferrari's playstyle, or do you think they should put it on?
I actually
else,
think
or
Bloodseeker
Lua?
is more suitable for their position 3 player Lua because he's more of the utility type of player, and Ferrari, you would want to give Ferrari a hero that can carry or flash farm and be as a backup core or something like SF. SF is obviously not in the pool, or a Storm, like someone that can carry the game himself. Like Bloodseeker, you can definitely snowball, but it's not as strong as like a SF or a Storm.
Okay. Well, Storm being banned out by IG. Taking
So they don't want them to have tools to jump the gyrocopter.
Right.
Do IG have faith in their draft against Secret and just go for the Zeus again? It looks
Well,
okay so far.
I think it was a decent draft. Like
I mean, it wasn't really the Zeus that didn't work the last time, though. I
Yeah.
feel it's just like overall they got outplayed and
Right.
the supports were too defensive. I would say, it was less of a problem of the Bloodseeker plus Zeus combination.
So maybe it's worth a shot to continue with it. And for now, it's going to be, being locked in though.
They also had Lina that game, right?
Did they? Was that
Or was
the
it
last pick?
Rubik?
I can check it out.
They
Yeah,
had
well-
They definitely had Rubik against the TA because I remember
They had
No,
Rubik and
Lina
Winter Wyvern.
against-
Rubik Wyvern. you're
Okay,
right,
yeah, because they picked Lino against the Brood. Correct. Yes.
yes, they had Lina in the second game.
Yeah.
That's right. That's how it was.
Well, they don't really have any setup on IG right now. Like, just no way to hit Lina stuns. No way to hit, like, Blood right decently. So, I don't know. It's a little bit of everywhere right now with their lineup.
I feel like that's kind of been the story of quite a few of the Lina picks, is that you're putting a lot of responsibility on Lina's individual skill to land those stuns instead of like getting an easy setup. I think we've seen multiple Lina picks now without an obvious engage tool, which
Well, the same
is
thing's-
quite uncharacteristic for support Lina. For core Lina,
Right.
it's a lot different because she gets the Yules herself really fast, and then she can be her own initiator, right? But
If you run a support Lina, it's the same basically as a point where I mentioned earlier with the Lash, where LGD wanted to play a support Lash. So usually when you play a support Lash, it's the same like Lina. You want a partner that sets up for your stun.
Right.
Otherwise, you're just like, okay, I'm going to try and roam, but no one's there to set up my stun. Like what Sin mentioned. If you're caught, obviously it's not a problem because you have the use scepter at a decent or good timing.
Okay, so do you think then here the plan is, all right, we'll now pick something that rounds it out and definitely has some setup for Lina? Do you think it was still just a continuation to pick against Tuscan and
Wow.
Snowballs, or as we see Wraith King being picked up by Fnatic?
this is just like classic every team that Mushi is in. Like we don't care, I remember, I think it was the stat from TI3. I think Mushi played the most different heroes
18
out of any
heroes.
player.
18
He played like 18 heroes in, I don't know, 20,
Wow.
23,
Yeah.
4
Basically,
games. or
like
something like that.
almost every
Absolutely
match he's
ridiculous.
playing something different.
Yeah.
And this game, in my mind, when I see the Wraith King, I'm thinking like, Rupture me, I Blade me, and I'm running around.
Yeah. And it's also really good with Snowball because it's a hero you carry into the middle of the fight that you're not scared of getting out of
Yeah.
position with because you can actually still, you have your
You have
second
second
life.
chances with that hero.
It's just it's something I really admire Mushi for in the teams he plays for, is that he is not scared to try something that others would never even consider
Right.
picking. Like, I'm not saying Wraith King is completely ridiculous as a pick, but I remember at DAC they played a support Ricky. I could not believe it when
Oh.
I saw it. It did not work, but but they actually had the confidence. Like
That's what matters.
he was like, "This is how it's going to work. I believe in this. We don't care what the metagame is. We don't care what other teams are picking. We're going to surprise them and we'll catch them off guard with something different."
I mean, there's definitely
He
credit
goes
to
a
that.
lot with
is-
feeling, like it's like he tells you, guys, I actually have this feeling that this is gonna be good this game, so we're gonna do it.
Goes off of his instincts a little
Yeah.
bit more
If the
than
team
what
trusts
stats.
it, it's a very powerful ability
Yeah.
to have.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
it just goes to show how much how much faith they have in him, right? Because they definitely believe in Mushi's ability.
Man, I wish they have a bounty hunter now. Their lineup is like screaming track. You track and you just trade kills and you run around. You chase with TA and the snowball and the sigil. They have a lot of like fighting and small fights and chasing power. And track would definitely be something that they would want to have, might consider to have in their team composition.
At the same time, I think Clockwork has like he can counterplay them really easily though. Like isolating the Tusk and the Wraith King, who are pretty low mobility heroes after Snowball. Like Snowball usage and Clockwork hookshot and cog placement is very, very important in this game.
Wyvern's actually
Yeah,
a god
that's-
tier pick
that
against
is-
this lineup.
That is like a kick, man, into Fnatic's lineup. They have so much issues with dealing with the cold embrace. They have to maybe pick someone that has spell damage right now, or something
Right.
to counteract that.
It's not even just that, right? Of course, Cold Embrace is like incredible against Tusk ult, Witch Doctor ult, everything from Wraith King apart from the stun, which is his only
And
active
everything from
ability,
TA.
and TA, all of TA's damage is visible. So Cold Embrace is incredible, but it's also a great counterpick to Tusk, right? You roll in, and then when you roll in, you expose yourself to a good winner's curse, and all of Fnatic's lineup is actually close. They need to come in close. TA is a range carry, but she's like a 300 range carry. Wraith King melee. Death Ward is the only thing that they can probably play around the curse with, but it's actually going to be pretty tricky here for Fnatic, I
Okay.
think.
And so Crystal Maiden.
This is quite unexpected.
I mean, if we were to
They
try to
might-
find the reason.
They might actually want to go aggro try with this line. Like, if they don't do aggro try and they just do defensive lanes, it kind of feels that they are going to lose out a lot from the laning phase.
Aggro tri-laning into gyro is always
Yeah.
scary, though. That is
Wyvern, so both the supports have very long range, a lot of harass, so yeah, it's probably a bad idea. It's probably a bad idea, yeah. That is not an easy tri lane to go into.
I mean, hey, but obviously we just talked about, I mean, Fnatic, or Mushi rather, obviously being known for, hey, going with his instincts, going with his guts. So even if it's a bad idea, I mean, Riki support sounds like a bad idea. It didn't work, but went with it, and he has that faith. Teammates have that faith. So maybe we'll see it work this time. Maybe we'll be proven wrong. That's something to always look forward to when we see Mushi playing with his teammates. On the other side, IG looking like they're feeling pretty confident again with their draft, going off of that win in Game 1. So we will be jumping right into Game 2 between IG and Fnatic.
And Lure